Chapter 1781 Grasping Karma Divine Tree. These days, Western Desert's righteous path had been experiencing a strange atmosphere. On the surface, they were still creating a large number of slanders and rumors towards Fang Clan. But the truth was, their suppression towards Fang Clan became all noise and no action. After all, Steel Dao was already used, even rank 8 GU Immortals could not stop Fang Clan from attacking forcefully. Our attack on Treasure Moon Oasis has already started to show effect. Fang Clan's GU Immortals were overjoyed. Fang Dichang's expression was ugly. It is a pity, if the situation in Burning Firefly Desert did not happen, it would be perfect. We have not found the culprit even now, it is truly a regret. Even though Dong Clan was the most suspicious, Fang Dichang and Fang Gong were astute people, they did not want to take action yet. They had no evidence or reason to move, there was also a chance that this was a trap. Fang Clan did not take action, but Dong Clan had quite a commotion. These last days, Dong Luchen had been deploying people to strengthen their defenses against Fang Clan. Dong Luchen did not have an easy time, he was quite fearful. He would not be surprised if news that Fang Clan was attacking got out at the next moment. Quickly investigate it, find the culprit and clear my Dong Clan's name. Secretly, Dong Luchen was looking forward to Fang Clan's investigation results. But on the surface, he kept a tough stance, he constantly sought compensation from Fang Clan for the matter in Treasure Moon Oasis. Instead of taking revenge, they were only asking for compensation, it was already a clear attitude. The other Western Desert Righteous Path forces were also trying to guess who the culprit was. Most of their attention was placed on each other, because it was evident that if the plan to sow discord succeeds, the other Righteous Path forces would gain the most benefit. Among them, the most suspicious ones were the clans that bordered Fang Clan, including Dong Clan. Naturally, these super forces had huge mental pressure right now, they wanted Fang Clan to find out the true culprit. Fang Clan was searching for the culprit. But the truth was, they did not work hard on it, their actions were quite perfunctory. Fang Clan's true crisis was not the culprit behind Burning Firefly Desert, but the suppression by the whole of Western Desert's righteous path. Fang Clan's situation was quite awkward now. If they found out the actual culprit and it led to a certain righteous path force, would they exact revenge? They had to take revenge if they knew. Otherwise, Fang Clan's reputation would suffer deeply, and those rank 6 and 7 GU Immortals in Fang Clan would not accept inaction. GU Immortals were the higher-ups of a super force, if they died and the force did not safeguard or avenge them, what was the point of joining an organization? Would it be worth risking one's life for them? But if they took revenge, would they really go all out and fight a super force? Fang Clan had Steel Dao, but other super forces also had their own trump cards. And most importantly, if two super forces fought each other seriously, the ones who benefited would not be themselves but other super forces instead. These last days, Fang Dichang had calmed down already, he told Fang Gong about his viewpoint in secret, they should try to stall the investigation of the truth. The most important thing now was time, they needed to repair their 3 immortal GU houses and refine Divine Bean Palace. As long as they got over this hurdle, Fang Clan's strength would rise, after that when they find the culprit, no matter which super force it was, they would have a good reason to find trouble with them and have enough strength to gain the maximum benefit. Fang Gong heard his analysis and agreed with it, he praised Fang Dichang for his planning. Not long after, Fang Gong announced publicly, Fang Clan would actively pursue the truth, they already had a lot of progress towards finding the culprit. Fang Clan would not let any culprit off, but they would also not malign an innocent person. On the day of their announcement, Fang Clan's GU Immortal sent Fang Yuan a large number of soul cores, among which was one rank 8 immemorial soul core. In the previous life, when Fang Yuan extorted Fang Clan, they only gave rank 6 and 7 soul cores, there were no immemorial soul cores. Evidently, Fang Clan is trying to appease me. Fang Yuan smiled lightly in his mind. Earlier, Fang Dichang warned him and ordered Fang Yuan to hand over 20 drops of heavenly dew. If the matter in Burning Firefly Desert did not occur, that would have been the end. But after the murder case in Burning Firefly Desert, Fang Clan's intimidation plan was much less effective, Western Desert's righteous path was still full of undercurrents. Everyone was guessing which side would make a move next, everyone had a desire to take action. Thus, Fang Clan needed to ensure that Fang Yuan, who had rank 7 battle strength, was still on their side. But they could not return the 20 drops of heavenly dew, Fang Dichang could not go back on that order. Thus, they used an immemorial soul core to compensate and appease him. Fang Yuan took a risk to attack Burning Firefly Desert, this was the result he wanted. Fang Yuan did not want to see Fang clan in a stable position. If Fang clan became stable, they would not need him, he could not make use of them anymore, the development of Green Ghost Desert would become very slow, they would not put in effort. But now, Fang clan was actually gifting Fang Yuan an immemorial soul core. Additionally, Fang Yuan needed Western Desert's righteous path to draw the attention of Fang Dichong and the rest. If they had an easy time, Fang Dichong would be able to pay attention to Fang Yuan, he might be able to sense something amiss. Speaking of which, Fang clan was quite unlucky. In the previous life, because of Fang Yuan's absence, they got through the crisis and intimidated Western Desert's righteous path, eventually cooperating and coming up with a certain agreement. But now, because they took in Fang Yuan, this traitor with ill intentions was causing their situation to become unstable. For the following days, Fang Yuan cultivated quietly in Heavenly Dew Oasis. Over at Green Ghost Desert, Ying Wuxie made use of Soul Beast token to develop rapidly. As for Fang clan, they were still using the soul cores in their inventory to provide for Fang Yuan as per the agreement. Within the Sovereign Immortal Aperture, the land spirits and variant humans were all working hard. Under the light of wisdom, Fang Yuan's time path clone made deductions almost all the time without rest. Immortal killer move, Karma Divine Tree. Above Fang Yuan's head, a lump of green smoke appeared, it turned into a tiny thin tree, there were few branches on it and the 2 to 3 fruits that were hanging on them looked malnourished. If Heavenly Court's GU Immortals saw this, they would be shocked and overflowing with fury. Karma Divine Tree was Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's signature method, to think that it would end up in the hands of this demon Fang Yuan. After Fang Yuan killed Chen Yi, the GU worms in the Phantom Aperture were destroyed, he only obtained Chen Yi's soul and corpse. After searching his soul, Fang Yuan obtained 2 Genesis Lotus True Inheritances, they were Karma Divine Tree and Karma Relocation. With the original killer move, Fang Yuan used the light of wisdom to modify and create the rank 6 level Karma Divine Tree killer move, using rank 7 Mature Bamboo Immortal GU as the core along with other rank 6 Wood Path Immortal GU. Because he lacked the core Rule Path Immortal GU cuz, and the core Wood Path Immortal GU, Effect 1 Fang Yuan had to use a vast number of Mortal GU as replacement. But because of that, the steps became complex, he had to spend a lot of effort on it, Karma Divine Tree took longer to activate and it could not be used in actual battle. It is a pity my wood path attainment level is still ordinary, I have not even reached master level. And even though Mature Bamboo Immortal GU is wood path, it is not appropriate as the core of Karma Divine Tree. According to biological studies on Earth, bamboos are a type of grass and not trees too. Thus, the core was rank 7 but this killer move was only rank 6 after activation. Fang Yuan recalled how Chen Yi used Karma Divine Tree, he had a grand aura. Once he unleashed Karma Divine Tree, he was simply inexhaustible. Even though it focused on defense, being on the same level as Reverse Flow Protection Seal and Verdant Sun Flame Cloak, it was more comprehensive and had greater potential, it could be used in other aspects like offense, movement, or healing. Karma Relocation was a movement method developed on the basis of Karma Divine Tree. However, it did not target the GU Immortal themselves, but others around him like GU Immortals, plants, beasts, or killer moves. It was, after all, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's creation, it was incredibly powerful. Fang Yuan was far from recreating this killer move's true power. Karma Divine Tree was still in its initial stage, but Fang Yuan gained a new wood path killer move that was quite useful. This move was named Mature Bamboo Chest, it was a rank 7 wood path killer move, using Mature Bamboo Immortal GU as the core but having Wisdom Path effect. After activating this killer move, there would be a jade light permeating from Fang Yuan's chest. When Fang Yuan uses Immortal Essence to deduce a certain matter, if he succeeds in the deduction, a dark green bamboo forest tattoo would appear on his chest. Fang Yuan had already grasped the strengths and weaknesses of the killer move Mature Bamboo Chest. This move excelled at deducing one single matter from start to finish, that was its strength. The sign of success would be the bamboo forest tattoo on his chest. But if the deduction does not succeed, if he lacks Immortal Essence or gets distracted for other reasons, Mature Bamboo Chest would fail, that was its weakness. And because the killer move fails, the GU Immortal would suffer backlash. Fang Yuan had purposely tested it. The jade light permeating from his chest and the half-completed bamboo forest tattoo faded away as Fang Yuan's soul and body suffered injuries. His mind was intact. After all, this was not a pure wisdom path killer move, it was wood path. Thus, when using Mature Bamboo Chest to deduce a target, the range could not be too large, otherwise, the killer move would fail and the user would be injured. Other than Mature Bamboo Chest, Fang Yuan also gained a new killer move that had the same situation. It was Luck Path Killer Move, Luck Plan Strategy. This move used rank 6 Immortal GU Luck Plan as the core. It belonged to Luck Path but had Wisdom Path effect. Luck Plan Immortal GU's power was to make deductions on how to optimize the use of the GU Immortal's resources. The killer move Luck Plan Strategy was specialized in making battle tactics. Ordinary GU Immortals cultivated one path, they rarely took on a second path. Thus, there were many killer moves of these sorts which mimic the effects of other paths. But they created these killer moves while having limited foundation in the path they mimicked. Even though they were strong, they could be easily countered and the weaknesses were obvious. Compared to actual wisdom path methods, they were less useful. Chapter 1782 Comprehending Venerable True Inheritances. Fang Yuan's wisdom path methods were plentiful. He did not need mature bamboo chest and luck plan strategy. He only practiced these moves to increase his understanding of the Genesis Lotus True Inheritances and Giant Sun's True Inheritance. These last days, Fang Yuan's main body had been researching on Genesis Lotus, True Inheritances, Giant Sun's True Inheritance, and Thieving Heaven's True Inheritance. Fang Yuan had already fully grasped Long-Hair Ancestor's Refinement Path True Inheritance. It was easy to understand with his quasi-supreme Refinement Path attainment level. Regarding the Genesis Lotus True Inheritances, Fang Yuan had already started by creating the rank 6 Karma Divine Tree Killer move. But because he lacked Wood Path Immortal GU and Wood Path attainment level, Fang Yuan did not overly invest into it. He placed his focus on Giant Sun's True Inheritance and Thieving Heaven's True Inheritance. The former was Self-Luck True Inheritance from one of Giant Sun's 3 True Inheritances. It allowed Fang Yuan to control his own luck. The core of the latter Thieving Heaven True Inheritance was rank 8 Immortal GU Steal Life. It involved the method to unseal Steal Life Immortal GU. Of course, both also detailed the fundamental cultivation of Luck Path and Theft Path, especially the two Venerables' understanding of the paths they created. Fang Yuan benefited greatly from it. What was luck? At the introduction of Giant Sun's True Inheritance, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable asked this question. Next, he answered himself. To discuss luck, one must talk about fate. Before Red Lotus Demon Venerable, there was no luck path. After Red Lotus Demon Venerable damaged Fate GU, a peculiar change happened to the world. People first discovered luck path from a certain component of their human chi, luck. Because heaven, earth, and human chi needed to be balanced to become a GU immortal, the more human chi a GU master accumulated, the higher the grade of their immortal aperture after they succeeded in the immortal ascension. Therefore, by placing importance on human chi, people started to research on luck. Soon, they found some traits of this luck. After Fate GU got damaged by Red Lotus Demon Venerable, the paths of all beings were no longer fixed and constant. Changes could occur to a certain limit. People found out that luck and this deviation from fate had a profound but direct relation. But what was the connection? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable described his own viewpoint. Fate is constant while luck is variable. For a normal person, what was good luck? Good luck was a positive variable for oneself. And what was bad luck? Bad luck was a negative variable for oneself. Within a person's human chi, if their luck was good, then this person would likely benefit. Within a person's human chi, if their luck was bad, then this person would likely experience loss. But regardless of good or bad luck, they were not part of fate. Fate was a constant, it was fixed, it would inevitably be experienced. But luck was a variable, it was merely a probability. The actual outcome would only be decided after factoring in all the other possible influences. If a person had bad luck but also had great strength and wisdom to turn the situation around, they could still achieve their goals or motives. If a person had good luck but was stupid and weak, unable to make use of the opportunity, they would still fail. Afterwards, Giant Sun's Self-Luck True Inheritance talked about the sizes, colors, and shapes of the different types of luck. Some people had a lot of luck, some had very little. Normally speaking, the higher your cultivation level and the deeper your foundation, the greater your luck. The 7 main colors of luck were black, gray, white, red, gold, azure, purple. But there were also uncommon colors like pink or blood red. Luck had all sorts of shapes and sizes, it varied greatly and could be very strange. Normal people usually had common or ordinary shapes, while geniuses or champions would have greater luck that came in much rarer appearances. For example, Fang Yuan once had the black coffin luck. His luck was black as ink, it gathered and formed a huge coffin shape, completely covering his body. It emitted a dense death energy filled with thick misfortune. Or for example, when he observed Zhengshan Chuan at the Refinement Path Convention, that person had rainbow luck that was incredibly dazzling. He stood out very clearly. As for Hong Yi, Yi Fan, and Han Li, these people had special types of luck too. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable left behind the self-luck true inheritance. It had the ability to target one's own luck, allowing one to alter its size, shape, and color. For example, if one wanted better fortune with the opposite sex, they could create peach blossom luck. If they wanted cultivation resources like primeval stones, they could create wealth luck. Or if they had bad luck on them, they could use a series of methods to change it. Giant Sun's self-luck true inheritance was very comprehensive, while Thieving Heaven's true inheritance was very simple and short. Theft path is not about gaining without effort, it is the path of greatest efficiency. GU Masters and GU Immortals want to obtain GU Worms and Immortal GU, be it GU refinement, transactions, or loot. These methods have high costs and risks. Theft path targets GU Worms and steals them. One can save costs and reduce the risks, raising their efficiency. And what was the essence of GU Worms? GU were the essence of heaven and earth. Stealing GU Worms was akin to stealing Dao Mark fragments. Therefore, the killer move Steal Dao was created. There was also Steal Life Immortal GU. The manifestation of lifespan was simply a type of Dao marks in the person's body. Steal Life Immortal GU could steal those relevant Dao marks and reduce a person's lifespan. Don't think that theft path is shameless or vicious. Many things can be looked at with another perspective. Steal a hook and they hang you, steal the whole country and they make you a prince. Any clan or sect makes their members contribute towards the organization. This is an open form of thievery but is taken for granted. For example, Heavenly Court makes members who join contribute their immortal apertures. They are basically handing over their entire life's cultivation gains. In terms of theft path, this is Heavenly Court stealing the cultivation gains of GU Immortals. But people think of it as a form of glory, they would die to have this chance. Weak mortals are also able to steal the cultivation gains of GU Immortals, that is shown by the true inheritances left by all the different GU Immortals. But this world treats that as a norm, it is the culture. Thievery is merely the most efficient way of gaining something. Creating an organization and making rules, making up honor or using emotions and culture, these are all theft path methods. The most powerful theft path method is assimilation. When grotto heavens or blessed lands get destroyed, the winds of assimilation will blow and turn everything into nothingness. The Dao marks in the immortal apertures would be assimilated and absorbed by this heaven and earth. The greatest thief is this world itself. It steals the cultivation gains of countless generations of peerless geniuses. It accumulates more and more Dao marks, or even produces new types of Dao marks. It stole me from another world, making me an otherworldly demon. It steals the lifespan of myriad beings. It ensures the death of all lifeforms in this world. The theft path I created imitates heaven and earth, using the most efficient method to gather benefits and strengthen oneself. After taking a look, Fang Yuan felt his horizons broadening. His image of theft path had completely changed from before. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had a different mindset than others. He was not orthodox but he peered into the truth. He used the mentality of theft path to comprehend this world. He had a grand vision. He carried his unique trait as an otherworldly demon. GU Masters cultivate, they nurture, use, and refine GU worms. They manage their immortal aperture. They increase the attainment level of their own paths. They were simply understanding themselves and comprehending this heaven and earth. Every path had a different understanding of the world and themselves from different perspectives. Steal Life Immortal GU is the first immortal GU in my life. I did not refine it myself. The more I used it, the more I understood. In the end, I put some arrangements on Steal Life Immortal GU. Using Steal Life Immortal GU normally would steal the lifespan of others, and with the killer move I created, it can increase one's own lifespan. Of course, it had its flaws. It is inferior to lifespan GU. Using Steal Life Immortal GU in reverse would give the user's lifespan to another target. This looks foolish but it has its own profundity. That is also the deepest essence of this true inheritance. Inheritor, if you are blessed enough to reach this step, you will be able to remove my method on Steal Life Immortal GU and obtain the information of another corresponding true inheritance. These were the final words of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Fang Yuan was silent for a long time after reading it. Even though he had Theft Path Great Grand Master attainment level, he still found difficulty in comprehending the words of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Using Steal Life Immortal GU in reverse. Fang Yuan shook his head. He was not confident in comprehending this mystery. According to his deductions, he needed at least quasi-supreme theft path attainment level to be able to understand it. Before that, if he tried to use Steal Life Immortal GU in reverse, he would simply be cutting his own lifespan. Furthermore, I need to use this Steel Life Immortal GU to deal with Heavenly Court's GU Immortals. Ignoring anything else, Duke Long is especially countered by Steel Life Immortal GU. Even if Fang Yuan used the final 2 opportunities and destroyed Steel Life Immortal GU, he still had Thieving Heaven's true inheritance. It contained the recipe of rank 8 Steel Life Immortal GU. Even if I use up the 2 chances, I can still refine a new one in the future. But, according to Fang Yuan's deductions, the arrangements that Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable left on Steel Life Immortal GU were very valuable. If he could understand Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable and comprehend the core essence of this true inheritance, Fang Yuan's gains would be much greater than now. While Fang Yuan was cultivating diligently, after the leaders of Southern Border's righteous path had gone through intense negotiation and discussion, they finally reached an agreement. We need to kill Fang Yuan, he is too lawless. Last time he disguised as Wu Yihai, now, he directly showed up and harmed our benefits. The contest in the earth trenches is our internal conflict. This Fang Yuan is an outsider. Against him, we need to unite. But we need to be careful. Even though Fang Yuan only has rank 7 cultivation level, he is too devious and has a deep foundation. We cannot look at him as a normal person. That's right, especially after he defended against Heavenly Court's attack. Now that he annexed Langya Blessed Land, I'm afraid he has gained the subordination of all the variant human GU Immortals. Along with the Shadow Sect remnant forces that he took in, I need to remind everyone that Fang Yuan is not a lone person, he is a super force. One rank 8 GU Immortal leading the group is not enough. To play safe, we should send 2. Isn't that making a mountain out of a molehill? I agree to it. I agree. My Ba clan has no objections. On the surface, Lady Sha Cha should lead them. The other expert should conceal his identity and mix within the group, striking at the crucial moment. Good idea. I agree. I agree. Different from the previous life, because Fang Yuan annexed Langya Blessed Land and defeated Heavenly Court, Southern Border's righteous path felt a greater threat this time. They did not just send Sha Cha, they also sent a second rank 8 GU Immortal. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan had no idea that this was happening. Chapter 1783 Second Ambush Battle. The newest information was sent to Kai Kuyu. He stood at the window as he stared at the mountain outside. Oh, they trapped Fang Yuan already. It seems that he cannot escape this time. Kai Kuyu's gaze flickered. Fang Yuan actually tried to undergo tribulation in Southern Border and left clues behind. Even if he wants to advance to rank 8, this is too reckless. But it cannot be helped, he managed to force Heavenly Court to retreat and even made transactions with me. The journey was too smooth. He became overconfident and started to look down on my Southern Border's righteous path. Kai Kuyu felt that Fang Yuan was able to remain free because of his devious and cunning actions. He had always been on the move and did not face a superforce head-on. He often escaped the moment the situation turned bad. This time, Southern Border's righteous path colluded in a secretive manner. On the surface, they showed a calm demeanor. There were no suspicions about them. They even had Wisdom Path GU Immortals to conceal and defend against deductions. And there is that Lu Wei Yin. If he did not join the alliance, our Southern Border righteous path might not have caught Fang Yuan so quickly. Worthy of Paradise Earth's inheritor, he could actually find Fang Yuan's location from the earth chi of his tribulation. He is truly impressive. Kai Kuyu sighed internally. Lu Wei Yin interfered and caused the situation in Southern Border's righteous path to become even more complex. This time, Southern Border's righteous path pursued Fang Yuan. There were 3 rank 8s including Lu Wei Yin. The probability of success was high. If they succeeded, Lu Wei Yin's reputation would rise sharply. He would definitely become someone that they would need to place great importance on. Actually, Lu Wei Yin had already interacted with all the Southern Border righteous path forces before this, in one way or another. His Southern Border paradise was the gathering spot of many Southern Border variant humans. He had taken in many variant humans who had their homes destroyed by humans. These variant humans lived peacefully in the paradise. According to reliable information, many of these variant humans had already become GU Immortals. This made Southern Border's humans very unhappy and worried, but because Lu Wei Yin was Paradise Earth's inheritor, he carried on the will and aspiration of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. The whole of Southern Border's righteous path could not find him for trouble. All along, Lu Wei Yin had been pushed aside by Southern Border's righteous path. That was a tacit agreement by everyone. But recently, Lu Wei Yin had often shown up and even kept a high profile as he volunteered to find Fang Yuan. If this succeeded, his efforts would not be in vain. He would gain some authority in Southern Border's righteous path. Kai Kuyu did not think well of Fang Yuan's predicaments. Even though he resisted Heavenly Court's invasion of Langya Blessed Land, Everyone thought that this was because Heavenly Court underestimated Langya Blessed Land's foundation. And most importantly, Heavenly Court did not expose the fact that Thunder Ghost True Monarch and Chenyi had died in there. This made Southern Border's Righteous Path GU Immortals feel a sense of confidence. Their confidence was not without reason. They had once pursued Fang Yuan and made him escape from Southern Border like a beaten dog after all. If not for Feng Juji's interference, he would have died already. Kai Kuyu was more worried and wary of Lu Weiyin. He had already started to think about how he would deal with this Paradise Earth inheritor in the future. As for Fang Yuan, Kai Kuyu felt a little regret. Regardless of whether he lives or dies, as long as he ends up in Southern Border Righteous Path's hands, Fang Yuan's and Kai Kuyu's transactions would stop. This went against Kai Clan's benefits. Thus, Kai Kuyu felt regret. Even though Fang Yuan had once attacked Kai Clan's resource points and caused them to lose resources, Kai Kuyu did not feel any grudge towards it. In his opinion, the Dream Path research results that he obtained were enough to make up for these losses. Kai Kuyu was not afraid that Fang Yuan would target him afterwards. Like what he analyzed earlier, even if Fang Yuan took out strong evidences that could not be denied, it was just Kai Kuyu's and Fang Yuan's transaction. With Kai Clan's size and foundation, they would lose a little territory, but their roots would be unshaken. But if Kai Kuyu informed Fang Yuan about the actions of Southern Border's Righteous Path, that would be a different story. He would be a traitor. If he was exposed, even with rank 8 cultivation level, Kai Kuyu and Kai Clan would face the combined attack of the entire Righteous Path. The clan might even be wiped out. As a Righteous Path leader, Kai Kuyu had a strong understanding of his position in this situation. He would not make such a mistake. If he told Fang Yuan about it, regardless of whether he gets captured, the demon Fang Yuan would gain the evidence of Kai Kuyu being a traitor. And furthermore, he and Fang Yuan were just making use of each other. They were not close enough for him to take such risks and tell him about the plan while sacrificing Kai Clan. Kai Kuyu felt a little worry. If Fang Yuan gets captured, I hope he will not expose his Dream Path research results. Our Kai Clan needs sufficient time to develop. To speak the truth, Fang Yuan is a true talent. It is a pity that he is going to end up like this. If he could grow fully, in the future, the 5 regions would become more interesting. Someone of high status would definitely have extraordinary vision. Kai Kuyu truly felt, towards the pitiful ending that Fang Yuan was going to end up in, that it was quite a pity. At the same time, somewhere in Southern Border, Fang Yuan was surrounded by Southern Border GU Immortals. They had overwhelming aura and morale. The leader was an old woman. It was the Time Path rank 8 GU Immortal Sha Cha. She smiled coldly at Fang Yuan. Scoundrel Fang Yuan, you have finally fallen into my hands. Fang Yuan looked at her as he thought. The same lines all over again. According to my memories, he is going to laugh next. Fang Yuan looked away from Sha Cha. As expected, at the next moment, standing beside Sha Cha, Shang Clan GU Immortal Shang Huzhong started to laugh. Lord Lu Weiyin, he is truly incredible. We found this demon at last. Fang Yuan. The same lines as expected, but his smile is more exaggerated than last time. He is sucking up to Lu Weiyin publicly. Is it because Shang Clan has taken interest in the goods of the variant humans in his paradise? Kill this demon, take revenge for our Southern Border Righteous Path. Tai Ku Zhang said loudly with deep killing intent. Fang Yuan. Oh, someone finally changed his lines, but there is barely any difference. We finally caught Fang Yuan. Lu Hao thought to himself. He was Heavenly Court's spy. He had fixed space Immortal GU. It was ready to activate in his Immortal aperture. Once Fang Yuan shows any sign of using fixed Immortal travel, he would activate the Immortal killer move that used fixed space Immortal GU as the core. Lu Hao was more nervous now compared to the previous life. Because in the previous life, he only had to activate fixed space Immortal GU, but now, because Fang Yuan had the killer move Jade Flow Pearl, he could not use fixed space Immortal GU alone to counter Fang Yuan. He needed to use an Immortal killer move. Heavenly Court did not lack these killer moves, of course. Even if they did, Fairy Ziwei could modify them. Lu Hao was nervous because he was not familiar with this Immortal killer move yet. If he used it in battle, there was a chance of failure. If his activation fails, he would let down Heavenly Court. That would be embarrassing. Don't worry, I am here. At this moment, a rank 7 GU Immortal transmitted to him. Lu Hao glanced at him. Don't look at me. Immediately, the rank 7 GU Immortal shouted coldly. Lu Hao mentally rolled his eyes. This person was the Southern Border rank 8 GU Immortal, Ba Shi Ba, who had disguised his cultivation level and appearance. With this person around, we will have 3 rank 8s on our side. This battle is not inside Langya blessed land. Fang Yuan has no formation to help him if we fight. I will have a lot of chances of using my killer move calmly. Lu Hao analyzed as the worry in his heart lifted by a lot. However, at the next moment, boom, the formation activated, all of the southern border GU immortals surrounding Fang Yuan were enveloped in it. What the? Lu Hao's eyes were about to pop out, he wanted to scream, why is there a formation here? Within the formation, heaven and earth were fused as once, this was an area of blue space. The southern border immortals' expressions changed. This is a trap, someone shouted. Lu Weiyin was silent, while Sha Cha's gaze became increasingly cold, she stared at Fang Yuan fixedly. Stay calm, we have strength in numbers, what can Fang Yuan alone do? That's right, we have Lady Sha Cha and Lord Lu Weiyin, we are not afraid of his immortal battlefield. Lu Hao was stunned. That's right. How can an immortal formation be set up so easily? It activated so quickly, this is likely an immortal battlefield. But Fang Yuan is quite foolish, after using an immortal battlefield, he can't escape himself. Southern Border's immortals were astute figures, they soon calmed down and regained their morale. At this time, Lu Weiyin spoke. This is not an immortal battlefield, it is a super-immortal formation. Time path formation, Sha Cha added. Lu Hao's lips twitched. After so much talk, this was still an immortal formation. Both of you are very perceptive. Fang Yuan smiled as he nodded, before waving his sleeves. The gates were shut, it was time to let out the dogs, wait no, let out the year beasts. Howl, 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 growl, a huge spiral formed from nothingness as countless year beasts charged out like a rushing tide. These year beasts were of various forms, including monkey, snake, dragon, and tiger, they were all at least desolate beasts and even quite a few ancient desolate beasts among them. But Fang Yuan had disappeared. Wild year beasts did not have high intelligence, they soon directed their savage gazes towards the southern border GU immortals, they charged ahead. Kill them all, Sha Cha said indifferently. Lu Weiyin sighed. The southern border immortals turned around and started to fight these year beasts. Lu Hao waved his sleeves as countless flying blades shot out, slicing year beasts into pieces wherever they hit. Fang Yuan stood at a formation core as he analyzed. This heavenly court traitor is around indeed, I did not waste my effort in reducing the ink effect. Fixed space GU should be in your hands. Lu Hao thought as he thought to himself. It seems that there is a tributary of the river of time here. Fang Yuan is trying the same method again, he used a similar formation back when he fought Feng Juzhe, the resemblance is uncanny. But strange, why do I have such a weird feeling about this? Chapter 1784 Ba Shi Ba, S Restrain. Kill. Ba Clan's GU immortal shouted as his body inflated to a giant size, he stomped, blood splattered, he had directly stomped an ancient year beast to death. Whoosh, puff, a great fire spread out and set dozens of year beasts on fire, Chai Clan's GU immortal was bathed in flames, resembling a divine general. Fang Yuan remembered this person, in the previous life, this person had a decently developed fire path immortal aperture, he had several majestic volcanoes, it was quite valuable. Tai Ku Zhang was silent, his hands moved rapidly as golden light shot out with immense sharpness, splitting year beasts into halves easily like tofu. Fang Yuan thought of the edge GU in Tai Ku Zhang's hands, it was one of the core GU of time cutting edge, in the previous life, he had obtained it through Great Thief Ghost Hand. This depended on luck, it was not reliable. He had to be careful in this life. Demon Fang Yuan, we have to thank you for such a huge amount of wealth. Ha ha ha, Shanghu Zhang laughed as he used his wood path killer move, trapping the surrounding year beasts and keeping them in his immortal aperture. Fang Yuan was very calm, it did not matter how many of them Shanghu Zhang took, in a moment's time, even Shanghu Zhang himself would belong to Fang Yuan. Howl, year beasts continued to stream into the formation, southern borders GU immortals were fighting against them tirelessly, but the year beasts just kept coming. Why are there so many? This demon Fang Yuan is trying to waste our energy. Breaking apart this formation is the way to victory. The southern border GU immortals conversed, they could tell what this battle was about. But they had no way of diverting themselves to do that. Lu Weiyin and Sha Cha were the most likely people to break the formation. Roar. At this time, the spiral suddenly expanded drastically as an arrogant year beast stepped into the battlefield. Fang Yuan was slightly shocked. Oh, I summoned an immemorial year tiger. It seems even stronger than the immemorial year chicken that I summoned last time. Is it because I use the self-luck true inheritance to increase my personal luck? The southern border immortals' expressions changed. An immemorial year beast. This formation could summon immemorial year beasts, as expected. What formation is this? It is so vicious. Quickly destroy it. Lu Weiyin wanted to take action but Taiku Zhang stood up. Let us deal with it. Both rank 8s need to break open this formation, that is the wisest move. Or maybe I should do something. Ba Shi Ba transmitted. No, now is not the time yet, Brother Ba, wait first. Sha Cha transmitted and urged restraint. Ba Shi Ba thought to himself, that was not wrong, this was merely an immemorial year tiger, they had 2 rank 8s on the surface, this was not a problem, he continued to conceal himself. Taiku Zhang and several southern border rank 7 experts faced off against the immemorial year tiger. They were powerful rank 7 GU immortals after all, by working together, they had quite the strength, but after fighting, they quickly fell into a disadvantage. In the previous life, they fought against the immemorial year chicken that Fang Yuan summoned, they were evenly matched. But now, Fang Yuan summoned a much stronger immemorial year tiger. Taiku Zhang had an ashen expression, he was stunned in his heart. This is truly strength at rank 8, it is very impressive. To think I actually wanted to challenge such power. There is a formation core here. Suddenly, Sha Cha's eyes flashed as she pointed her finger, the rank 8 killer move activated, mysterious light shot out, causing a huge sound. The formation shook thrice before it stabilized. The southern border immortals were overjoyed, there was a formation core indeed, Sha Cha destroyed it according to everyone's expectations. Next, the formation core was destroyed, a second spiral entrance appeared as large numbers of year beasts rushed in. The southern border immortals' joyful expressions vanished. Howl, with a loud roar, an immemorial year dragon jumped into the battlefield. The immortals' expressions changed again, this was the second immemorial desolate beast. It is my turn now. Ba Shi Ba wanted to move. Don't be anxious, Ba Shi Ba, let me do it. Lu Weiyin transmitted as he moved for the first time, he made a grabbing motion with one hand, a huge yellow hand formed and grasped the immemorial year dragon, preventing it from escaping despite its struggles. Lu Weiyin was indeed Paradise Earth's inheritor, he managed to subdue a fierce immemorial year tiger in one move in the previous life. Now, he was able to capture an immemorial year dragon similarly. Even though he had no attacking methods, this move was unfathomable and made people feel great admiration towards him. The southern border immortals had a surge of morale, while Shadow Sect's members and the variant human GU immortals had dark expressions. The might of rank 8 was truly intimidating. Fang Yuan thought about the final battle in his previous life, because Lu Weiyin had immense battle strength, he was a huge obstruction to Fang Yuan's side. Right now, Lu Weiyin had not even displayed half of his full strength, even so, he was already one of the strongest rank 8s out there. Hiss hiss hiss. An immemorial year snake dragged its thick and long body while hissing as it slithered out of the spiral entrance, entering the battlefield. A third immemorial year beast. Ka ka ka. An immemorial year chicken came out with an arrogant attitude and raised neck. A fourth immemorial year beast. With 2 immemorial year beasts entering the battle at once, the southern border immortals' faces turned pale. This immemorial year snake was not easy to deal with, it was huge and had a greater aura than the first 2. The fourth immemorial year chicken even had the aura of wild immortal GU on it, it was much more dangerous. After the 2 immemorial year beasts appeared, a vast number of year beasts surged out of the spiral like a raging tsunami. Both sides engaged in fierce combat, GU immortals used their wisdom and killer moves as they cooperated, while the year beasts were unintelligent and fought with brute strength, but they had advantage in numbers. Fang Yuan's subordinates were all guarding the formation cores, watching the huge fight between them. This damned formation, we must destroy it for a chance of victory. Actually, as long as we destroy a portion of it, we will be able to send out information and get reinforcements from our righteous path allies. This time path formation is truly profound. Sha Cha frowned, after finding the first formation core, she could not find the second one. The formation is complete and flawless. My formation path attainment is too low, maybe I should go all out and make this formation unable to handle the attack, I can create a flaw myself. Sha Cha's killing intent surged. Lu Weiyin could sense Sha Cha's intention as he quickly urged, don't fall into the demon's trap. This Fang Yuan is very devious, even Heavenly Court cannot capture him. Shadow Sect had obtained graceful chaotic duel stage before, even though it was destroyed, many of the immortal GU were left in their hands. If you attack with your full strength, you might fall into Fang Yuan's trap, he would use it against you. Sha Cha hesitated, but the immemorial year chicken approached her quickly. A mere beast, Sha Cha laughed from anger, aura of many GU worms burst out of her body, forming into an immortal killer move. Immortal killer move, spring scissors. A pair of scissors that was jade green in color and large as an elephant flew towards the immemorial year chicken's neck and clipped. The immemorial year chicken could not rival her. After getting heavily injured from the scissors, it quickly fell into a disadvantage. Cha-Cha displayed shocking battle strength that was not lower than Heavenly Court's members. Right before the immemorial year chicken was about to die at Cha-Cha's hands, suddenly, Feng Yuan activated the formation. The heavily injured immemorial year chicken vanished on the spot. Submit to me. Behind the scenes, Feng Yuan targeted this weakened immemorial year chicken as he used his overbearing enslavement path method. Like what happened in the previous life, he succeeded in capturing this beast. Ever since rebirth, Feng Yuan had been collecting immemorial year beasts. His plan was to gather 12 different immemorial year beasts. Even though there would be many immemorial year chickens in the River of Time next year, this immemorial year chicken had superior battle strength. He did not want to lose it. Feng Yuan used the strength of the southern border immortals to weaken the immemorial year beast and enslave it forcefully. Cha-Cha's expression turned dark, but she smiled. You finally exposed a flaw, so what if you get a few immemorial year beasts? Feng Yuan teleported the immemorial year chicken away. It allowed Cha-Cha to comprehend more of the formation. As expected, not long after, she found the second formation core and destroyed it. The southern border immortals started to cheer, but at the next moment, the formation core that was destroyed turned into a spiral entrance. On the battlefield, there was a new entrance that transported more year beasts inside. How can this be? The southern border immortals were stunned. There is no choice, I need to show up now and make my move. Ba Shi Ba transmitted. Cha-Cha and Lu Weiyin continued to urge him to lay low. No rush, we are already at this step, you should continue to wait. We need to probe this entire formation, you need to act at the crucial moment, let Feng Yuan miscalculate and expose a weakness. Ba Shi Ba was silent for a moment before replying reluctantly, fine. The battle continued. Many southern border immortals were already injured. They were about to puke from killing these year beasts. The killer moves prepared for Feng Yuan and the cooperation between GU immortals were all used on these year beasts. They were truly helpless and tired beyond belief. And the killing of year beasts was simply never going to end. They kept coming. Lu Weiyin and Cha-Cha resisted the immemorial year beasts. Even though they faced huge pressure consistently, they persevered. Thanks to them, Feng Yuan enslaved more immemorial year beasts. But the quantity was much smaller than the previous life. Feng Yuan enslaved the immemorial year beasts that were stronger than the ones in his previous life. He only chose the elites among these beasts. The main reason was that his soul cultivation was much lower than the previous life. He could not enslave too many of them. Southern Border's side was making huge progress. Cha-Cha destroyed 2 more formation cores. These 2 formation cores turned into spiral entrances and the year beasts that charged in became even more threatening to the southern border immortals. A cold light shined in Feng Yuan's eyes. In the previous life, my year's flow execution formation only had 3 spiral entrances at most, but after my modifications this life, it can sustain a maximum of 5. It is about time. In the previous life, the battle lasted 2 days and 1 night. This time, there were even more year beasts. Even though it has only been 1 day and night, the southern border immortals have had even greater expenditure than in the previous life. Everyone, cooperate with me, activate the formation's strongest method. Feng Yuan suddenly transmitted. Chapter 1785 Ba Shi Ba, S Downfall. Ying Wuxie and the rest had serious expressions, their eyes shined with bright light. Some variant human GU immortals hesitated, they thought, why are we using the strongest method now, isn't it too early? Feng Yuan had his previous life's memories, he knew that Cha-Cha had already found a lot of this formation's information, she just kept it to herself. When she attacked abruptly last time, Lady White Rabbit died, while Feng Yuan and the rest were caught unguarded. This time, Feng Yuan would not commit the same mistakes. Then who do we target? Lu Weiyin or Cha-Cha? Bai Ningbing asked. The modified year's flow execution formation had one strongest method, it could shine one silver-white beam of light on a single person. Whoever gets hit by it would experience an extremely slow time flow, they would be defenseless. Lu Weiyin was the current generation Paradise Earth's inheritor, he had incredible methods and secret trump cards. Meanwhile, Cha-Cha was a time path great expert, she could destroy the formation, she was a huge threat to the year's flow execution formation. This decision was not easy to make. But once this method was used, the remaining GU immortals would be on guard, it would be extremely unlikely to hit them again. Feng Yuan's reply was very short, neither Lu Weiyin nor Cha-Cha, we will target that, rank 7, GU immortal. Ba Shi Ba was still concealed among the people. Another immemorial year beast came out into the battlefield through a spiral entrance again. Ba Shiba's eyes twitched, he forcefully held down the urge to take action. This formation is still firm, I need to wait. The time I take action has to be the most crucial moment, I need to catch Fang Yuan off guard and make him expose a flaw so that we can gain victory. While he was thinking of this, the ancient year beast near him froze as the pure dream reality seeker physique body inside self detonated, the dream realm spread rapidly. Ba Shiba immediately became alert. At this moment, a silver-white beam shot out, hitting him directly. What? Ba Shiba's eyes slowly expanded, his time was slowed down by multiple times. In his field of vision, everything outside was rushing towards him rapidly, the dream realm was close to him to begin with, after he got hit, it completely covered him in an instant. Ba Shiba wanted to scream, but he had no time to do anything. He was submerged by the dream realm, he fell asleep. What happened? This is a dream realm. Lord Ba Shiba. Damn it, Fang Yuan saw through Lord's identity. The southern border immortals were moved, many people shrieked. This attack was too sudden, they were deeply shook. There was a third rank 8 GU immortal. The GU immortals under Fang Yuan were all scared and shocked. At the final moment, Ba Shiba exposed his true rank 8 aura, but it was useless, everything was too late. Seeing this, Sha Cha had the urge to cough blood. They had concealed this trump card for so long, but Fang Yuan actually saw through it. Ba Shiba had been biding his time, he had not even used his true strength yet, but Fang Yuan got rid of him so easily. Sha Cha was enraged. She shrieked as an intense storm started around her. Crack crack, lightning flashed and thunder roared. These illusions condensed into a huge fan that she held in her hands. Immortal killer move, Summer Fan. In the previous life, Sha Cha used this move to deal major damage to Fang Yuan, the year's flow execution formation was destroyed, Fang Yuan and the rest were injured, while Lady White Rabbit died. But now, feel my fan, Sha Cha waved ruthlessly. Winds were whipped up, emitting loud noises. Good, I was waiting for you. Fang Yuan shouted as his eyes shined with brightness like lightning. The formation was activated, it emitted a buzzing noise as overwhelming silver light enveloped all of the wind and absorbed it. What? Sha Cha stared with wide eyes, feeling extremely shocked. The offensive killer move that she entrusted her hopes to actually had no effect. Again, she waved once more. Winds moved, surging powerfully as they killed many year beasts, even the immemorial year beasts were unable to hold on, they were scattered by the wind. But at the next moment, silver light appeared as the winds were blocked entirely. Sha Cha, she had an ashen expression, her heart was filled with a bad feeling, she waved her fan like she had gone mad. Whoosh, 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 an unprecedented wind started to blow, it carried immense might with it. Under the silver light, the wind was instantly devoured, the heaven-destroying might earlier seemed like an illusion. Sha Cha opened her mouth in a daze, after a breath of time, she screamed, impossible. Indeed, it was impossible. She was clearly being targeted in this situation, not just that, her summer fan killer move had been completely countered. Oh heavens, have mercy. Sha Cha cried out in her heart. She had rarely used summer fan, why did Fang Yuan know so much about it to be able to resolve it like this? Was this a dream? It was completely illogical, but of course it was logical. Because in the previous life, Fang Yuan not only obtained summer fan, he even modified it to surpass Sha Cha's version. Thus, Sha Cha's proud trump card was merely an inferior initial version in Fang Yuan's eyes. In this life, Fang Yuan considered Sha Cha's killer move and modified year's flow execution formation, causing her threat to fall to its lowest level. The reason he allowed her to act freely until now was because he wanted to weaken the year beasts using her, and he also wanted to probe the foundation of these southern border GU immortals. Thus, the truth was, even though Sha Cha attacked ferociously and had great battle results, to Fang Yuan, she was the least dangerous GU immortal out of the 3 rank 8s present. Sha Cha's emotions were changing rapidly, she quickly exposed a flaw. Using this opportunity, Fang Yuan and the rest used the silver white beam on her, they spread a dream realm to capture her as well. Not far away, Lu Wei Yin smiled bitterly, he used a certain killer move to fall asleep as a dream realm started to spread around him. All of a sudden, all 3 rank 8s had stopped fighting. The rest of the rank 7 GU immortals were going crazy. What the heck had happened? How did the situation change so quickly? They were not able to escape from Fang Yuan's demonic claws. The silver light shot towards Tai Ku Zhang, followed by Lu Hao, followed by. This sequence was specifically deduced by Fang Yuan meticulously. Several minutes after the southern border immortals went into the formation and lost all contact, a ray of white light appeared in the sky. The white light turned into a rank 8 GU immortal. This person was dressed in white clothes that was not stained by even a speck of dust. He had a pair of thin white brows that extended towards the outer sides of his face. It was a heavenly court rank 8 GU immortal, Zhen Shenguang. He cultivated light path. He was originally a supreme elder of one of the 10 great ancient sects in Central Continent. He had recently been recruited into heavenly court by Fairy Ziwei after contributing his immortal aperture. Lu Hao and the rest disappeared here. Zhen Shenguang had just started his investigation when he found many suspicious traces. This does not look good for Lu Hao. There was definitely a fierce battle here. Unfortunately, Lu Hao did not even send any request for reinforcements. Was it an immortal formation or an immortal battlefield? A moment later, cold sweat appeared on Zhen Shenguang's forehead. Shock and fear flashed in his eyes for a moment. All the signs pointed to the fact that Sha Cha and the rest had been taken down. The 3 rank 8s as well as many rank 7 experts had all fallen into Fang Yuan's trap. Fang Yuan should have made use of dream realms. Soon, his gaze landed on the only small dream realm in the battlefield, becoming even more certain of his guess. Besides using dream realms, Fang Yuan's other methods, no matter how penetrating they are, cannot create such a result. Zhen Shenguang sensed something amiss. He quickly retreated and left. After a while, clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building brought Wu Yang, Kai Kuyu, and the rest as they arrived. They disappeared here. Southern Borders GU immortals had grim expressions. Quickly investigate what happened here. My clan cannot reach our first supreme elder. Sha clan's GU immortals were extremely anxious. We cannot contact Lord Ba Shiba either. Ba clan's GU immortals were also very anxious. In this life, Sha clan was not alone, they were accompanied by the similarly pitiful Ba clan. It looks like there was a tributary of the river of time here. There was also a time path immortal level formation. The group rushed here then fought a very fierce battle. What is up with this dream realm? Someone saw that remaining small dream realm left behind by Fang Yuan. Be careful. Southern Borders immortals gradually separated and encircled this small dream realm. This dream realm is continuously shrinking. Someone suddenly exclaimed. After a while, several GU worms fell out of the shrinking dream realm. Like in the previous life, these information path GU worms contained the extortion letters that Fang Yuan had written to Southern Borders righteous path. The Southern Border immortals went into a commotion. This, blatant lies. How can this be possible? Our organized team was actually captured by Fang Yuan. HMPH. This must be a huge scam. But why can't we contact our clan's GU immortals? The Southern Border GU immortals were uncertain. They started to discuss among themselves. After a while, the dream realm continued to shrink as Lu Weiyin slowly appeared. Lu Weiyin woke up slowly as the dream realm dissipated. He opened his eyes and saw Wu Yang and the rest. He then looked at his surroundings and blurted out, "Oh no." His presence and the words he told them crushed the final bit of hope that these Southern Border immortals had. Southern Borders righteous path brought in many people to organize a troop of experts to specially chase and kill Fang Yuan, but not only were they unable to kill Fang Yuan, they were instead taken captive by Fang Yuan. Oh heavens! Why was Fang Yuan this strong? Why was there a time path formation out of nowhere? Who could explain what happened? Nothing was logical. The assault that was very likely to succeed had reversed the role of hunter and hunted. The Southern Border immortals suffered a huge loss. Discussions were happening among all of them. They were all panicking and flustered. They had lost all their face, and their material losses were also severe. If Fang Yuan extorted them now, what would they do? These Southern Border immortals wanted nothing more than to crush and mince Fang Yuan's corpse, but this accursed demon had already escaped far away. Nobody knew where he was right now. Immortal killer move, Jade Flow Pearl. Fang Yuan's body flickered as he arrived at the 5 regional mountain range. Fixed immortal travel made traveling truly convenient. Fang Yuan did not care about the reactions of the Southern Border immortals. His gaze flickered as he looked at this mountain range. He needed to obtain the true inheritance while there was still time now. Chapter 1786 A Match Made in Heaven. Rumble. Fang Yuan floated in the sky, looking at the ground below him. The huge mountain range was collapsing. 5 colored lights emerged. They shined dazzlingly. But these lights did not fuse together or interfered with one another. They had their own roots. It is not so easy to destroy the 5 regional mountain range. In the previous life, Wu Yang succeeded because he obtained the accumulation of Chao clan who had researched this inheritance for many years. Fang Yuan thought. In order for Dao Ju's true inheritance to appear, he needed to destroy the entire 5 regional mountain range. The commotion would be huge, this was why Fang Yuan had waited until now before he acted. Firstly, he had just won and captured the southern border immortals, his strength rose sharply. Secondly, the southern border immortals were disoriented currently, Heavenly Court's attention was also drawn there, he could act rapidly here. The 5 colored lights started to dissipate and break apart, they were disintegrating at a rapid speed as they shrunk continuously. Fang Yuan nodded in satisfaction. If anyone tried to change the earth vein without knowledge, unless they were extremely lucky, the lights would still exist for the most part. Only a specific method that targeted this arrangement could succeed, to change the earth vein and cause the 5 colored lights to completely vanish. After a while, the 5 colored lights disappeared completely. A powerful aura suddenly emerged. Enormous pillars in 5 colors soared to the skies, a loud voice reverberated throughout the 5 regional mountain range. Junior, you did well, you actually passed my final test of destroying the 5 regional mountain range. Now, my 5 regional inheritance is yours. Cultivate properly and you can move unrestrained and unhindered over the world in the future, don't let down my name. In the middle of the 5 colored light pillars, a smoke like will condensed into the vivid appearance of a Gu Immortal. This was the will that Dao Zhu left behind. Fang Yuan smiled coldly, he stretched his arm towards Dao Zhu's will. Dao Zhu's will froze instantly, he felt a formless force restraining him. Next, he was pulled out of the rainbow pillar like a carrot that was uprooted, he flew towards Fang Yuan and grabbed by the throat. Dao Zhu's will was furious and humiliated, he stared at Fang Yuan. Rank 7 Junior, don't humiliate me, I was a rank 8 back in my day. Fang Yuan purposely revealed a trace of his rank 8 aura, Dao Zhu's will had a change of expression after sensing it. He chuckled as his attitude turned around entirely, he spoke with a tone of being on similar status, so you are a rank 8 friend. Secretly, he was thinking to himself, this young man looks talented and has great disposition, but he actually acts so viciously and domineeringly. He is a rank 8 but he pretends to be rank 7, he must be up to no good. He is not a good person. Fang Yuan smiled. I am a current generation demon, old man Dao Zhu, I will take your true inheritance. Saying so, his sleeves billowed and he unleashed the killer move that he had prepared. The ground shook as Gu worms flew out of the 5 colored light pillars rapidly, they all flew into Fang Yuan's immortal aperture, including the immortal Gu mixed among them. Next, the 5 colored light pillars faded away, they no longer were eye-catching. Dao Zhu's will was flabbergasted. Fang Yuan's wisdom path method could sense his inner thoughts, that was not strange. The shocking thing was, Fang Yuan could actually take the entire true inheritance without his consent. The main body's arrangements were completely useless against him. Sir, who in the world are you? Dao Zhu's will had a change of attitude again, he looked towards Fang Yuan with curiosity and wariness. Fang Yuan's action earlier had already surpassed Dao Zhu's own attainment, not only did he see through Dao Zhu's arrangements, he even dealt with them perfectly. Fang Yuan looked over with a cold gaze, Dao Zhu's will felt like he was completely emptied, no, he felt like his entire body was transparent to the other party, he had no secrets left. Fang Yuan smiled. Old man Dao Zhu. Yes, I am here. Dao Zhu's will felt extremely terrified by Fang Yuan's smile, he did not dare to put up airs. Your true inheritance is quite interesting, when I dominate the world and invade Heavenly Court, it will be very useful. To reward you, I will allow you to find a new inheritor in my grotto heaven. I will not destroy your will, I will replenish you and allow you to live for a long time. Fang Yuan said. Dao Zhu's will was currently at Fang Yuan's mercy, he was like a puppet that could not move, he felt extremely bitter inside. Back then, when the main body researched upon the mysteries of the 5 regional walls, he made a breakthrough towards the end of his life, he had a shocking achievement. But the main body's lifespan was up, he had no time to become famous, he could only leave the inheritance and wait for an inheritor. It was a huge regret. Thus, Dao Zhu's main body set up this true inheritance that would cause a huge commotion in the 5 regional mountain range, he would attempt to choose and test a proper disciple to inherit this legacy. When his disciple becomes renowned in the world, he would also gain fame and reputation, that would make up for his regret before death. But the result was, Fang Yuan came and disrupted everything. Not only did he destroy the 5 regional mountain range, he skipped all of the tests and arrived at the end, even capturing the will and forcefully taking the true inheritance, he had no politeness at all, he was domineering. Dao Zhu's will felt deep grievance, this was not what his main body had intended for. But what choice did he have? He was just a will. If I am not wrong, even my main body is not this person's match. From what he said, He actually wants to attack Heavenly Court, without sufficient strength and confidence. Why would he say that? Thinking so, Dao Juzwal sighed, saying to Fang Yuan, forget it, this is life. I don't care if you are a good or bad person, the true inheritance is in your hands. You might cause bloodshed and death in the future, but that will surely shake the 5 regions, right? This is what my main body wanted to see too. As long as you do not cover up my main body's achievements, so what if you get the true inheritance? Ha ha ha. Fang Yuan laughed loudly. His laughter became intense, his black hair fluttered in the wind, his eyes shined with divine light, the surrounding winds and clouds moved with his will. After laughing, he looked at Dao Juzwal solemnly. Don't worry, why would I fight with a dead person over this reputation? If I cannot even let go of this, how can I surpass Heavenly Court, how can I surpass the generations of Venerables and pursue my supreme goal of eternal life? Dao Juzwal stared with wide eyes, thinking, this person talks big, he wants to defeat Heavenly Court and surpass Venerables. Is he crazy or foolish? Oh no, he can detect my thoughts. Fang Yuan laughed again. If I lack even this bit of ambition, what's the point of being human? Failure is fine, just try again several times. Even if I cannot achieve my goals in the end, so what? Dao Juzwal froze, he stared at Fang Yuan in a daze. He saw Fang Yuan taking a deep breath as he looked into the horizons. His eyes were dark like the abyss, but Dao Zu could see that within this pure darkness, there was a brilliant spark. Instantly, memories surfaced in his mind. The questioning and disdain of countless people. Researching the 5 regional walls. What's there to research about? He is so arrogant, this question has existed since the start of time. On what basis does this Dao Zu think he can possibly resolve it? A mere rank 6 immortal, and even a lone cultivator at that, he is so ordinary. The suppression of southern border's righteous path. Dao Zu, stop researching it. The person who warned him had high cultivation level, his face was cold as ice. Why, I did not provoke you. Dao Zu replied in anger. Don't you get it? The southern border righteous path Gu Immortal looked at him with a deep gaze, his tone was very cold. What is the true meaning of the 5 regional walls? Right now, Central Continent is the strongest while the other 4 regions are weaker. If your research really succeeds, it will cause a huge commotion in the world, the 5 regions will go into war, it will be a calamity. For the sake of all the living beings in this world, we will be taking away these research gains of yours. No, Bam, blind fool, if not for her, would you still be alive now? The southern border righteous path Gu Immortal gave him a cold stare as he left. The separation from his lover. Dao Zu, we are not compatible, let's end it here. Dao Zu was filled with sadness. Yes, I am just a lone immortal, while you are the beloved child of Yao clan's first supreme elder. No, that's not the problem. Do you not get it? Dao Zu, you are the reason. You research the mystery of the regional walls every day. How much time do you spend with me? Ask yourself this question, do you really care about me? You love your research more than you love me. The female immortal sobbed. Dao Zu was speechless. The female immortal wiped her tears as she breathed in deeply, looking at Dao Zu with teary eyes. This is the final time I will ask you, do you want me or your research? Dao Zu lowered his head, he had a hesitant expression that was filled with uncertainty. The female immortal walked closer. Be with me, marry into Yao clan, we will live together and have our own children. Don't think about the regional walls, we will provide you all the resources you need. With my father around, you do not need to fear any calamities or tribulations, darling. The female immortal spoke endearingly. Dao Ju's heart shook. He looked at her. The female immortal had an expectant gaze. He took a step back as if he was pushed by a formless force. He clenched his fists, he gulped his saliva, he wanted to say something but no words came out. He did not want to lie to the female immortal, he did not want to lie to himself. The female immortal looked at him as her beautiful face turned increasingly pale. Eventually, the hope in her eyes vanished. She smiled lightly. Turning around, as the crystal tears fell, she flew away on a cloud. Not long after, news got out that Yao clan was having an alliance marriage with another righteous path force. The bride was that female immortal. He is Dao Zu. Is he stupid? In order to research the pointless secret of the 5 regions, he gave up on that marriage. He is a lunatic. I've often seen him heading to the regional walls for his research. He often ends up injured and in a sorry state. On the night of the female immortal's wedding, Dao Zu stayed in a dark and tiny cave. He looked at the mortal formation in front of him in a daze. This tiny formation was only at rank 2 level, but it was the research gains of his entire life until now. He looked at the formation while thinking about the figure of that beautiful female immortal. Her smile was stunning and beautiful like the moon. He laughed to himself, his hoarse voice echoing in the tiny cave. He continued to research the formation in front of him with overflowing tears. All his efforts were not in vain. His stubborn nature was deeply planted into the soil that was filled with the blood of his bleeding heart. It bore fruit in the end. Yao Clan's first supreme elder came to him. As a rank 8 himself, Dao Zhu looked at him directly. Yao Clan's first supreme elder looked at Dao Zhu calmly but with a hint of pity in his eyes. I heard that your research had some progress recently. I was lucky, Dao Zhu sneered. You are here to snatch my research gains. The old man shook his head. You just became a rank 8, I do not want to bully the young and weak. Dao Zhu's sneer turned colder. Your words can deceive a naive newbie, but trying that on me. Dao Zhu shook his head, disdain was shown all over his face. Yao Clan's first supreme elder smiled nonchalantly. I admit, he sighed as he nodded. I had underestimated you, to think that you could advance to rank 8. If I had known this, I would not have hindered you and my daughter's relationship in secret, I would have nurtured you and tried all ways to get you two to be together. Even if you are obsessed with this, even if you cannot give my daughter happiness, I would still do it for the sake of my clan's benefit. Dao Zhu's expression changed, thinking about the female immortal he loved, his gaze became dark. However, Yao Clan's first supreme elder had a solemn expression as he added, I will not allow you to do any research on the secrets of the 5 regional walls. Dao Zhu's eyes shined with cold light, he regained his cold demeanor as before. HMPH, the same excuse about causing chaos and creating war between the 5 regions which would cause bloodshed in the world. Have you thought about it? Once we decipher the secret of the 5 regional walls, we can bring prosperity and hope to the world. The 5 regional walls are the biggest obstruction to the interaction between all 5 regions. If they vanish, GU immortals will be able to move more freely and unobstructed, we would be able to share our cultivation knowledge with each other. However, the possibility of war is far higher than peace, isn't that so? Yao Clan's old man interrupted Dao Zhu. Dao Zhu was silent, he did not rebuke. The 5 regions had too many differences, not just in terrain and culture, their resource allocation and population density also varied, there was also no lack of ambition people. Unlike the current 5 regions that were isolated and had economic, political, and military balance, once the 5 regional walls were removed, this balance would break instantly. So, you are here to advise me to stop. A moment later, Dao Zhu broke the silence, he snickered in disdain, you know that is impossible. Yao Clan's old man said solemnly, I must admit, killing a rank 8 existence is too risky, it is hard for Southern Border's righteous path to make a decision on this. Unless there was no choice, we would not choose to fight to the death. Thus, we are here to tell you a secret, I hope that you can keep it a secret after you learn about it. Why must I listen to you? Dao Zhu laughed. Yao Clan's old man also laughed. Because this secret involves the 5 regional walls, don't you want to know? Dao Zhu was moved, he felt a sense of anxiety in his heart but he quickly suppressed it. The look of pity in the Yao Clan old man's eyes became even deeper now. This secret is too cruel to you, but in this situation, I need to tell you. In the future, the earth veins of the 5 regions will merge and become one, the regional walls will disappear by themselves. What? Dao Zhu shouted in deep shock. This was a fatal blow dealt by Yao Clan's first supreme elder. This secret voided the goal of Dao Zhu's entire life. The 5 regional walls would vanish in the future, then what was the point of Dao Zhu's research? He put in so much hard work and effort, he took all the life-threatening risks and even gave up on his beloved woman. All of these sacrifices that he made, were they just cruel mockery towards him? This is impossible, you lied to me. Dao Zhu's voice was loud but there was panic in his tone. This is a Paradise Earth true inheritance that our Yao Clan inherited, the evidence is with you already. Even if you do not believe me, do you not believe in the words of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable? Yao Clan's first supreme elder said this and smiled. Furthermore, you researched about the 5 regional walls and earth veins your entire life, you must know something about it, haven't you sensed anything? All of your research gains can prove the fact that this will happen in the future, right? Dao Zhu was covered in perspiration, he stared with his huge hollow eyes as he fumbled backwards, he lowered his head towards the ground as his expression was full of nervousness. Yao Clan's first supreme elder smiled. He looked at Dao Zhu, his kind old man demeanor had an extremely cold and cruel disposition. This was all that needed to be said. Yao Clan's old man turned around to leave. Before going, he said his parting words. Don't research about the 5 regional walls, they will disappear on their own in the future, your research is meaningless. Of course, if you can succeed while the 5 regional walls are still intact, I am sure the moment you achieve success will also be the moment Southern Border's righteous path and all our rank 8s join forces and exterminate you. This is all I have to say, Dao Zhu, think about it yourself. Dao Zhu was dazed on the spot, he stayed motionless, defeat was written all over his face. It was like a dream. Back to reality, Dao Zhu had died long ago, while his lingering will was grabbed by Fang Yuan at the throat. The true inheritance was already taken away forcefully. But Fang Yuan's words had a huge impact on Dao Zhu's will. If I lack even this bit of ambition, what's the point of being human? Failure is fine, just try again several times. Even if I cannot achieve my goals in the end, so what? Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, Dao Zhu's will laughed maniacally. Years later, his main body had already recovered from the impact that Yao Clan's first Supreme Elder dealt, he had the same kind of realization. Indeed, even if I fail in the end and obtain nothing, even if my life was a complete failure, so what? Even if the 5 regional walls would disappear in the future, so what? Even if my research is meaningless, so what? That is what I want to do. You can call me crazy, you can call me an idiot, you can call me stubborn, you can call me stupid. Alright, I am crazy, I am an idiot, I am stubborn and also stupid. But I still want to do it regardless. That is how I want to live. That is how I can find meaning in my life. However, I still had lingering regrets in the end, therefore, I created this inheritance. And now, this inheritance is in the hands of Fang Yuan. At this moment, Dao Zhu's will became excited. Fang Yuan, I will give you this inheritance, I will also give you the true meaning that is hidden somewhere else. My main body was not skilled at fighting, that was why I had lingering regrets. But I feel that if this inheritance is given to you, all these regrets will be fulfilled. This is truly a match made in heaven. Fang Yuan's lips curled up, he showed a confident but arrogant smile. Then observe it yourself, old man Dao Zhu. I will make sure your true inheritance stuns deities and shocks immortals, it will be renowned in the world. Chapter 1787 Rule Path Great Grand Master. After obtaining the entirety of Dao Zhu's true inheritance, Fang Yuan left the 5 regional mountain range immediately. Like the previous life, this mountain range was inevitably still destroyed. But the result was very different for Fang Yuan. In the previous life, he set up an ambush and created a huge battle in the 5 regional mountain range. Dao Zhu's true inheritance has appeared unexpectedly, he had no chance to obtain it as he had to escape. This time, Fang Yuan was wary of the ink effect, he waited until he ambushed Southern Border's pursuers, after capturing them all, the time was ripe and he came to obtain this true inheritance. After some time, Southern Border's righteous path would agree and support Tai clan in building the beacon towers. By then, it would be problematic for Fang Yuan to take action. The scattered beacon towers would allow Southern Border's GU Immortals to travel much more quickly and efficiently. During the final battle in his previous life, Fang Yuan obtained important information about Dao Zhu's true inheritance from Wu Yong and Kai Kuyu, he even set up a super immortal formation with them. Thus, he knew a lot about it, with all the deductions he made in advance, he was prepared to successfully take it by force. Dao Zhu's true inheritance. Fang Yuan sighed deeply in his heart. The methods inside this inheritance were very useful to him, they would help him greatly. Even though Dao Zhu was just a rank 8, the importance of this true inheritance surpassed even some venerable true inheritances. His previous life was the best proof. Fang Yuan used Dao Zhu's methods to deal with the 9-9 consecutive unceasing formation, it gave Chen Yi and the rest huge problems, they were able to advance with great progress. Dao Zhu's methods were also able to deal with the killer move heroes among people. Due to heroes among people's amplification, Heavenly Court and Central Continent's GU Immortals had a huge boost in battle strength. But as long as they were inside the 5-colored smoke, these GU Immortals would face greater backlash the stronger they were. This was a mystical move that had an incredible effect. Fang Yuan had to give it a thumbs up, it deserved all his praise. The 9-9 consecutive unceasing formation and heroes among people were venerable methods, but Dao Zhu's true inheritance was actually able to counter them, this made many GU Immortals' jaws drop, they were deeply shocked. This time around, even if I cannot find a way to break heroes among people, I can use the 5-colored smoke to counter it, Central Continent's people will have a hard time. But the methods of this true inheritance are not too flexible. When used, an immortal formation has to be created. Even though I know this method, I do not want an immobile immortal formation, I need to modify it on this foundation. Fang Yuan thought about it as he looked at Dao Zhu's true inheritance. As he expected, the formation that he created with the southern border and northern plains Gu Immortals was the essence of Dao Zhu's true inheritance. In this true inheritance, Dao Zhu named the formation, 5 Regional Limit Formation. And the good news was that other than this formation, there was another immortal killer move. It had the same value as this 5 Regional Limit Formation. This move was known as 5 Restriction Profound Light Qi. Once activated, it could shoot out light qi made of 5 colors. The effect of the light qi was similar to regional walls. Within it, Gu Immortals of the 5 regions would face backlash. The stronger their move, the greater the backlash. Of course, because Fang Yuan was a special existence, he was not restricted inside this light qi. 5 Regional Limit Formation, 5 Restriction Profound Light Qi, these were the essence of Dao Zhu's true inheritance. Other than that, there were 2 remaining immortal Gu. These immortal Gu were Rule Path Gu Worms. One was rank 8, Region, the other was rank 7, Limit. Rank 8 Region Gu was clearly Dao Zhu's vital Gu, it had risen to rank 8 alongside him. Dao Zhu's immortal aperture was not preserved. According to the true inheritance, Dao Zhu was very poor then, most of his resources were used for research, his immortal aperture had barely anything. And most importantly, before he died, he left his immortal aperture for the southern border righteous path so that he could conceal his true inheritance. Fang Yuan looked at the true inheritance as he felt deeper emotions. This Dao Zhu was a peculiar genius, he spent his entire life's time and effort on research, he invested so much manpower and resources. In the contents of the true inheritance, he wrote about his countless experiments, he had risked his life each time in all these attempts. Even after he became rank 8, he often went into the regional wall to experience its profundity. This was not something normal people could do. Thus, his immortal aperture was very poor, he could barely maintain the feeding of his immortal Gu, it could not develop as he constantly faced backlash inside the regional wall as a rank 8 Gu immortal. Next, I need to manage my immortal aperture and gain the ability to feed these 2 immortal Gu. Then, Fang Yuan was faced with a tough problem. Should he choose the 5 Regional Limit Formation or 5 Restriction Profound Light Qi? Both used region and limit as the cores with a vast number of supplementary mortal Gu. If he created a formation, he could not use 5 Restriction Profound Light Qi. Similarly, if he chose 5 Restriction Profound Light Qi, he would not have enough time in the battle to set up the 5 Regional Limit Formation. Creating a formation had huge drawbacks, because a stationary formation needed the power of an earth vein. Dao Zhu True Inheritance had clearly stated, not only did the 5 Regional Limit Formation need to be set up on the ground, it needed to be rooted to an earth vein. Thus, in the previous life, Kai Kuyu added an earth vein immortal Gu. But now, earth vein immortal Gu had not appeared yet. Once a formation was created, it would not be very usable, because Fang Yuan would not be able to take it out at crucial timing. Unless he used formation flag Gu or the formation spirit to move this formation around, but that would require a lot of modification and deductions from him, and the results were unknown. Choosing the 5 Restriction Profound Light Qi was more convenient and stronger, but it could not last as long as a formation. Furthermore, it had its weakness too. Each time this move was used, the Gu Immortal would need to expend a vast amount of earth qi in their immortal aperture. The expenditure was colossal, even Fang Yuan was tongue-tied when he saw it. However, there is a method to resolve the drawback of 5 Restriction Profound Light Qi. I arrived. Fang Yuan stopped thinking as he arrived at an ordinary-looking cave. It is well hidden, even I could not sense anything amiss. Fang Yuan nodded to himself. Next, he let out Dao Zhu's will. Dao Zhu's will took a few steps forward, the cave changed, a gush of true meaning permeated the walls. Dao Zhu's will handed this true meaning to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan first inspected it, after finding no problems with it, he absorbed it without hesitation. A moment later, he became a great Grand Master in Rule Path. This Dao Zhu's true meaning could allow a person who had no foundation in Rule Path to become a great Grand Master instantly. Of course, Fang Yuan had his own foundation, he was a Rule Path Grand Master. Even though Fang Yuan was still a great Grand Master now, his original foundation was not wasted, it was still accumulated even though he did not achieve a qualitative change into Supreme Grand Master. It seems that Dao Zhu was a Rule Path Great Grand Master when he was alive. Fang Yuan nodded slightly. When any path reaches Great Grand Master in attainment level, a qualitative change would occur. Rank 8 Gu Immortals were the elites of the elites. Kai Clan's Kai Kuyu was a formation path Great Grand Master who could use natural Dao marks to create immortal formations. Blazing Heaven Demoness was a Fire Path Great Grandmaster. Back then when she made a trap for Fang Yuan, he could not sense it in the immortal materials no matter what. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was a Great Grandmaster of all paths. This showed how powerful he was. The lifetime achievement of many rank 8 GU Immortals would only be one aspect of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. If not for Fang Yuan turning the situation around back then, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable would have infiltrated Heavenly Court. Shadow Sect would control the entire world. As for why Dao Zhu cultivated Restriction Path but left behind a Rule Path true meaning. Because Restriction Path was a sub-branch of Rule Path, it was a small path that had not been fully separated. It was like the Emotion Path derived from Wisdom Path. This path specialized in using charm and emotion to influence others. The truth was, Rule Path had many smaller paths derived from it. It was truly the number one path without question in this regard. The more famous ones were Restriction Path and Phantom Path. Phantom Path was derived from Rule Path. It focused on illusions and phantoms, between truth and falsity. It had not fully separated from Rule Path yet. Fang Yuan had some Rule Path Immortal GU. They were Precaution, Big, Fight, and others. The characteristics of Rule Path could be easily seen from this. Big, small, tall, short, fat, skinny, far, close, good, bad, round, square, curved, straight, truth, false, strong, weak, 1, 2, 3, 4, these were all Rule Path GU worms. Because Rule Path was a huge concept, it had many branching smaller paths as a result. Among all the paths, Rule Path GU worms have the widest range of use, or rather, they are the most practical for usage. For example, Rule Path GU worm, Strong, can be used with any path to make any killer move stronger. Rule Path had another advantage, the GU Immortal could often create their own true meaning using it. This was the advantage of Wisdom Path as well. True meaning involved the truth of Rule Path, as well as the will of Wisdom Path. Other than these two paths, there were truly very few GU Immortals of other paths that could leave true meaning behind. The 10 Venerables were exceptions. These monsters were not confined to common sense, they were unique existences that could not be assessed through logic. Dao Zhu's true meaning was quite a joyful surprise to Fang Yuan. Because he knew that Wu Yong and Kai Kuyu did not obtain it in the previous life. It was not hard to understand. Fang Yuan had already deduced much of the truth. Dao Zhu was suppressed by the southern border righteous path when he was alive. Before dying, he gave up his immortal aperture to lure the attention of the righteous path while he set up his true inheritance and hid his true meaning elsewhere. Southern border's righteous path obtained Dao Zhu's immortal aperture. They thought that his research had no results, because they could not see through the 5 regional mountain range, they could not discover Dao Zhu's true inheritance. Even though Dao Zhu's true inheritance ended in the hands of southern border's righteous path last time, Dao Zhu's true meaning had been hidden from them. Dao Zhu's true meaning was very useful to the current Fang Yuan, it came at the perfect timing. Because he had just captured Ba Shi Ba. This Rule Path rank 8 GU Immortals Grotto Heaven could not be annexed with Fang Yuan's original Rule Path attainment level. I wanted to undergo some transactions with Kai Kuyu to get some Rule Path Dream Realms and raise my attainment level. To think that this would happen, I do not need to wait anymore, I can save a lot of effort. Chapter 1788 Righteous Path, S Headache. Wu Clan's headquarters. In a room, light was dim. Wu Yong had an ashen expression as he sat like a motionless statue. The Information Path GU worm in his hand was still a little warm because he had just activated it. There was an intense conference of higher-ups earlier among the southern border righteous path forces. It was as heated as a market. Sha Clan's and Ba Clan's GU Immortals were close to screaming, their voices filled with terror and helplessness. Most of the people were engaging in loud discussions, close to the point of arguments, as they vented their shock and fear. How is this possible? Fang Yuan ambushed us and obtained complete victory. Our GU Immortals were all captured by him. What do we do now? This has never happened before in Southern Border's history. If news get out, our Southern Border righteous path would become the laughingstock of the 5 regions. Reputation is no longer important, the important thing is that our clansmen are in his hands. Earlier, Fang Yuan left an Information Path GU worm behind, didn't he ask us to wait for his reply? Yes, but he has not sent anything to us, do we just wait for him? Wu Yong could still hear the discussions of these people echoing in his ears. HMPH, a bunch of useless people, what is the point of talking and discussing now? Wu Yong snorted coldly in displeasure, he squinted as his already long and thin eyes became even slimmer. An eerie cold light flickered in his eyes continuously, while his fists were clenched uncontrollably. This is troublesome. Fang Yuan has the absolute initiative. Even if I reject his extortion, Sha clan and Ba clan would not, because their first supreme elders are the ones captured. Heavenly Court's arrangements were useless as well. HMPH, I wasted my effort in contacting Ziwei. But this is not because Heavenly Court is weak, this Fang Yuan has simply shown battle strength that is too terrifying in this fight. With such terrifying battle results, looking at my southern border righteous path, only Kai Kuyu is a character, he remained calm and cool. Wu Yong remembered clearly, in the intense discussion earlier, Kai Kuyu had a calm expression and even was the first to suggest a plan to chase after Fang Yuan and pursue him. Even though barely anyone responded, that was the proper behavior of a righteous path member. Wu Yong had no idea that Kai Kuyu was forcing himself to act calm, he was filled with shock and anxiety internally. He pretended to make this suggestion to pursue Fang Yuan so that he could conceal himself deeper. Fang Yuan actually won. Not only did Fang Yuan win, he even captured 2 rank 8s and multiple rank 7 experts. Was it a joke? Before this battle, Kai Kuyu would definitely think this was a joke. But now, he could not laugh at all. Kai Kuyu did not dare to believe it, but the evidence that Lu Weiyin showed them was genuine, he had to accept it. Fang Yuan obtained complete victory in this battle. Not only did Southern Border's righteous path go into chaos, even Kai Kuyu felt like Fang Yuan had a hold on him. Because Fang Yuan won using dream realms. And these dream realms were given to him by Kai Kuyu. That was to say, Kai Kuyu was the biggest contributor to Fang Yuan's success, he had become the greatest trader of Southern Border's righteous path. Before this, Kai Kuyu had thought that Fang Yuan would use the dream realms to deal with Southern Border's righteous path. But he was limited by common sense. Firstly, transacting with Fang Yuan simply benefited Kai clan too greatly. This temptation and desire blinded Kai Kuyu. Secondly, Fang Yuan had escaped by self-detonating the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies last time. In the entire process, he was in a distressed state, and he could not even control the self-detonated pure dream reality seeker physique bodies that formed dream realms, thus, Kai Kuyu felt that this self-detonation held little threat. But to think that Fang Yuan would set up a time path super immortal formation. If not for this immortal formation stopping GU immortals from teleporting, how could he succeed in using the dream realms? The time path immortal formation is not scary, the scary thing is how deeply concealed this formation was. If Fang Yuan had not activated it, it could not be detected. Kai Kuyu felt a headache thinking about it. He was a formation path great grandmaster, he naturally understood formations. But the immortal formation of each path had their own strengths and weaknesses. The strength of time path immortal formations was that they could affect the flow of time inside. Fang Yuan used this to fight for days and nights inside the formation, capturing the pursuers. Only several hours had passed outside. But time path immortal formations were not good at concealment. It was the strength of dark path, phantom path, and transformation path formations. Once time path immortal formations were created, they would be out there in the open, easily detected and seen, it should not be concealed so deeply. So how did Fang Yuan make it this hidden? Kai Kuyu was stumped by this question, while at the same time, Fairy Ziwei who was inside Heavenly Court found the answer. She had just ended her deductions, Central Great Hall was still flickering with purple light. Fairy Ziwei sighed deeply. It should be the past arrangements of Shadow Sect. Shadow Sect had once been scattered in all 5 regions, hiding under Zombie Alliance while searching for natural tributaries of the River of Time, using the surrounding time path Dao marks to set up formations. At Great Grand Master, Formation Path GU Immortals could directly use natural Dao marks to set up formations. But the formation created would have different strengths and advantages according to the distribution of the natural Dao marks. The GU Immortal would often only be able to adjust it slightly, it was not as convenient as using GU worms to create formations. But that time path formation in Southern Border is specialized in concealment, Fang Yuan had perfect use of it. He added more time path formations inside and used the dream realms to capture all of the Southern Border pursuers in one go. Fairy Ziwei had a dark expression. She felt regret now. Had she known this, she would have told Southern Border about the deaths of Chen Yi and Thunder Ghost True Monarch. After the loss in Langya Blessed Land, Fairy Ziwei only told the world about a portion of the details. As long as Southern Border's righteous path knew of Chen Yi's and Thunder Ghost True Monarch's deaths, they would place more emphasis on Fang Yuan, they would not send just 2 rank 8 GU immortals. Lu Weiyin had joined on his own accord, that was not under the control of Southern Border's righteous path. This was not to say that Fairy Ziwei had made a mistake, she had her own considerations too. Initially, Fairy Ziwei had lingering hope that Chen Yi and Thunder Ghost True Monarch might still be alive. Thus, she only exposed Fang Yuan's secrets to the world while hiding this incident. But after a long time passed, Fairy Ziwei realized that Chen Yi and Thunder Ghost True Monarch were truly dead. She chose to conceal this information because she did not want to help raise Fang Yuan's reputation, and also because she was afraid that GU Immortals of the other 4 regions would compromise with Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan had the strength to harm rank 8 GU Immortals, his influence had reached a qualitative change. The other 4 regions were not like Central Continent, they had many forces that opposed each other, those forces were not united and could easily be crippled by Fang Yuan, it was easy for them to secretly reach an agreement and undergo transactions. Fairy Ziwei was not wrong at all, Western Desert's Tang clan and Southern Borders Kai clan were doing this. Fairy Ziwei concealed this fact to ensure that the 4 regions would still be antagonistic towards Fang Yuan. Regardless of the results, both sides would have some expenditure, any loss to either of them would benefit Heavenly Court overall. At the same time, they would expose information and clues that Heavenly Court could gain by simply observing. When the time is right, Heavenly Court would deduce Fang Yuan's exact location and take action to exterminate this demon. Fairy Ziwei made a good plan, she was looking towards the future and making preparations for the 5 regions' chaotic war. But the situation was way out of her expectations. Fang Yuan actually obtained complete victory, he captured all the southern border immortals. Even though Fang Yuan has rank 7 cultivation level, last time, he made use of Langya Blessed Land's foundation. And this time, he is using Shadow Sect's remaining arrangements. The result is a one-sided victory by him, our arrangements did not even have time to take effect. Fairy Ziwei gritted her teeth. Fang Yuan was too devious and cunning. It was getting increasingly harder to deal with him. Fairy Ziwei started to feel a sense of helplessness. Fang Yuan only had rank 7 cultivation level, but she could do nothing to him. One of the reasons was that he cultivated too many paths. Wisdom path for example, Fang Yuan had deep wisdom path attainment. Even if Fairy Ziwei made deductions with her full power now, she could not deduce his location, she needed a lot more clues. Normally speaking, GU Immortals who were not in wisdom path would be easy to locate through deductions. There were many demonic path GU Immortals in this world, but why were there few who would wreak havoc like Fang Yuan? It was because the moment they create chaos and make everyone angry, wisdom path GU Immortals would undergo deductions and locate them quickly, before pursuing and hunting them down. Or for example, refinement path. Langya Blessed Land was not so easy to annex, many GU Immortals could not do it even if they wanted to. Even some rank 8 GU Immortals could not. Because Langya Blessed Land was rank 7, one needed at least Grandmaster Refinement Path attainment level. Or, for example, Dream Path. Fang Yuan was reborn from the future, he had many Dream Path methods. During the Battle of Yitian Mountain, he used these methods to escape danger and survive the ordeal. Or, for example, this ambush battle. Fang Yuan showed incredible formation path attainment. To be able to use the time path formation to this extent, his formation path attainment level was at least Great Grandmaster. Of course, this can be part of the arrangements left by Shadow Sect. But why did Fang Yuan not use it back then? There is little possibility in this. There is another possibility, after Fang Yuan annexed Langya Blessed Land, one of the variant human GU Immortals that he took in has Great Grandmaster formation path attainment level. I don't have enough clues. Fairy Ziwei placed her hand on her forehead as cold flight flickered in her eyes. She stood up and left Central Great Hall, arriving at the place where Spectral Soul was imprisoned. Soul search. Not long after, Fairy Ziwei nodded in satisfaction. She searched specifically within Spectral Soul's memories, about the secrets regarding the time path formation. It is a formation with strong concealment capability indeed, but it does not have the power to summon year beasts, Fang Yuan must have added it in afterwards. Fairy Ziwei was in deep thought. The eerie light in her eyes was just a speck earlier, but it had already spread to a larger area now. Chapter 1789 Suspected of Rebirth. Heavenly Court. Throughout the eras, countless immortal halls were built. Behind Central Great Hall, there was a tall tower that was covered in a white gold halo. It was the rank 8 Immortal GU House Heaven Overseeing Tower. Surrounding Heaven Overseeing Tower, several Heavenly Court GU Immortals were working together, they were very busy. Through their hard work, a refinement path formation was slowly taking shape. A GU Immortal with a strong body that was like a monolith was watching outside the formation. Even though he was just standing, he gave a feeling of a huge pillar that could support the sky. It was Duke Long. Greetings, Duke Long. Fairy Ziwei arrived at this moment, standing behind Duke Long. Right now, Langya Blessed Land is in Fang Yuan's hands, that means he also knows the details of Refinement Cauldron. Originally, Heavenly Court's Refinement Path formation was modeled after Refinement Cauldron. I ordered them to disassemble the original formation and modify it into another one. Duke Long said as he turned around, facing Fairy Ziwei. Guilt showed on Fairy Ziwei's face as she said, I have failed in my duties. Before she finished, Duke Long interrupted. No need to take about blaming yourself, I believe you have already reflected upon your actions, the past cannot be changed, we should face the present and plan for the future. Duke Long looked at Fairy Ziwei as he sighed. Right now, Heavenly Court has control of the situation, but it seems like our control is slowly dwindling. Fang Yuan, this pawn arranged by Red Lotus Demon Venerable, was able to thwart our plans and cause the deaths of Chen Yi and Thunder Ghost True Monarch. Right now he even captured many southern border immortals. Even if he is only rank 7, regardless of what methods he used, the result is apparent to us all, the facts are simply like this. Ziwei, how will you deal with it? In the previous life, Duke Long did not place importance on Fang Yuan, he thought that he was just a nuisance. But now, after Fang Yuan attained great victories one after the other, Duke Long became alert towards him. He no longer entrusted everything to Fairy Ziwei like in the previous life, he started to feel uneasy and asked questions about future plans. Fairy Ziwei breathed in deeply, she already had a plan on how to deal with Fang Yuan, she said calmly, the first thing is to find his location. Wisdom path methods are not enough. Right now, I have sent out 3 rank 8 GU immortals in southern border to search for his traces. Furthermore, we need to counter his killer move that uses fixed immortal travel as the core. This move is more threatening than omnidirectional travel, it gives Fang Yuan the initiative to advance or retreat at will. I have already given orders to prepare the refinement of Fixed Space GU before anyone else. Fixed Space GU was in Lu Hao's hands, but he was captured by Fang Yuan now. Fairy Ziwei was confident in Heavenly Court's methods, they could make Lu Hao's Fixed Space Immortal GU self-detonate. With the crucial Fixed Space GU, they would be able to deal with Fixed Immortal Travel's killer move. And thirdly, Fairy Ziwei said as she paused, continuing in a heavier tone, we need to guard against his Spring-Autumn Cicada. I am increasingly suspicious that Fang Yuan has already used Spring-Autumn Cicada, he had been reborn already. In the Battle of Langya Blessed Land, our side lost because Starcast was broken. This is very suspicious, Feng Juzhe left so many Dao marks at various locations, why did Fang Yuan lock onto that particular one? Setting a formation in advance and blocking us from entering. But I have made many deductions on this without any result, the clues are too few. Fairy Ziwei sighed deeply. Spring-Autumn Cicada is a problem indeed. Duke Long nodded. Do you have any way to deal with it? Fairy Ziwei nodded. Lord Duke Long, didn't we discuss already, we will use the killer move Benevolent Equality on Spring-Autumn Cicada. But Benevolence GU is still in southern border, it is owned by Paradise Earth's inheritor, Lu Weiyin. That's right, Duke Long said in a low tone. If Fang Yuan uses Spring-Autumn Cicada, he might not just be using it alone, he likely would be using a killer move. Using Benevolent Equality to deal with any potential Spring-Autumn Cicada killer move is most appropriate. Precisely. Purple light flickered in Fairy Ziwei's eyes. That is why I plan to contact Lu Weiyin soon, I want to discuss the matter of borrowing Benevolence GU from him. At this time in the previous life, Heavenly Court was calm and composed, they had not contacted Lu Weiyin so early. But due to the ink effect, they decided to approach Lu Weiyin in advance. Duke Long nodded as he had a thought. You want to use this chance to see if Fang Yuan has truly been reborn. That's right. If Lu Weiyin rejects us, the likelihood of Fang Yuan using rebirth is higher. That is because our Benevolent Equality killer move counters Fang Yuan. But if Lu Weiyin agrees, it means that we were able to use Benevolent Equality, it would be unlikely that Fang Yuan managed to rebirth. At the same time, we can probe the attitude of this current generation Paradise Earth inheritor. Fairy Ziwei said slowly. On the topic of Paradise Earth, Duke Long had a complex expression as he said, let's do that. However, even if Lu Weiyin refuses to lend to us, we do not need to worry even if we cannot deal with Spring-Autumn Cicada. As long as we control the situation and progress as planned, no matter how that scoundrel Fang Yuan tries, he cannot turn this around. Back then, with Red Lotus, Strength and Foundation, he still failed in the end, not to mention this mere Fang Yuan. Duke Long said this with a grand tone as he smiled. Fairy Ziwei was a little hesitant, she asked, Lord Duke Long, there is something I do not understand. With our heavenly court's deep foundation, why do we need to borrow GU in order to deal with spring-autumn cicada? Do we really lack any kind of method to deal with spring-autumn cicada? Duke Long's smile faded away. The cause is likely Red Lotus. Back then, he had told me this personally when we fought. He said that in the River of Time, there are many stone lotus islands that are not connected to each other, yet they share a special influence. All of the stone lotus islands form one immortal killer move. It is his proudest creation. This method can influence the flow of the River of Time. It can indirectly affect the traces of all beings in this world. Without the River of Time, the entire world would be still. The myriad beings could only move and live because of the moving River of Time. Using this relationship, Red Lotus Demon Venerable created a grand method that exerted its influence until today. The most evident effect was that any GU worm or method that countered spring-autumn cicada would never end up in Heavenly Court. After the matter of Red Lotus, Heavenly Court concealed the truth to defend its reputation while aggressively searching and planning for methods to deal with spring-autumn cicada. Gradually, Heavenly Court found something strange. Any immortal GU that could counter spring-autumn cicada would intentionally avoid Heavenly Court. Among the GU immortals that joined Heavenly Court, very few cultivated Time Path. But as time passes, this influence is weakening. Heavenly Court has obtained some methods that can influence and disrupt spring-autumn cicada. You know them too, most are still unusable. Duke Long added. So that's it. Fairy Ziwei had a calm expression, but she was shocked on the inside. Red Lotus Demon Venerable had created an incredible method. This truly surpassed the limits of Time Path. It had a trace of the power of fate. He not only damaged Fate GU, he even forcefully used Time Path methods to mimic the power of fate in order to counter it. Fairy Ziwei blinked as she calmed her emotions. Next, I will let out news that Fang Yuan is trying to undergo tribulation and ascend to rank 8. At the same time, I will talk to Wu Yong and interact with the southern border Righteous Path forces, to find more people that would go against Fang Yuan. And finally, I have already given orders to nurture Fang Zheng fully. This person was brought about by the Heavenly Tao. He is a crucial key to dealing with Fang Yuan. Has he already undergone immortal ascension? Central Continent. The blood rain became smaller as Gu Fang Zheng floated in the sky above the mountain peak. His heaven, earth, and human chi were condensing into one spot. He had gone through many ordeals. His suffering had turned into his precious wealth, allowing him to balance the three chi successfully. Fang Zheng suddenly opened his eyes. He breathed in deeply and tossed a rank 5 blood path GU into the lump of chi. Boom! A shocking sound exploded around him. The chi lump burst out and turned into an immortal aperture. High-grade blessed land. Fang Zheng's immortal ascension succeeded. There was also a lot of heaven and earth chi remaining. Fang Zheng was overjoyed. These heaven and earth chi could raise his vital blood path mortal GU into an immortal GU. Fang Zheng, quickly let me in. I will help you with the tribulation. Fan Shilu transmitted. He had been guarding Fang Zheng's entire immortal ascension process. Fang Zheng frowned, showing displeasure. The immortal aperture was the most private area of the GU immortal. Fan Shilu was infringing on it. Fang Zheng felt a sense of anger. But immediately, Fang Zheng relaxed his brows. He opened the immortal aperture door and said plainly, "Sure, Fan Shilu, please enter." Fang Zheng knew that not only was Fan Shilu here, during his immortal ascension, countless eyes were watching him. He gradually understood his value. He was just a tool. He was being nurtured to deal with Fang Yuan. A moment later, his tribulation ended. Fan Shilu was inside his immortal aperture. He had a complex expression. Fang Zheng, this is a high-grade blessed land. Back then, I went through so much and faced a great risk during my tribulation, but only gained a medium-grade blessed land. Your immortal aperture has at least a size of 5,666 square kilometers, while the limit is at 6,000 square kilometers. This is definitely a large tributary of the River of Time. The rate of time compared to the outside world is 1 to 28. The limit of a high-grade blessed land is 1 to 30, the difference is very small. His time path and space path resources were far beyond what Fan Shilu had back in his day. Rank 6 GU immortals with high-grade blessed lands were elites. They were few in numbers to begin with. And during this tribulation, you ascended your vital GU as well. You now own 2 blood path immortal GU. The sect has given orders. I brought you a lot of resources to plant and get past the toughest initial stage post-ascension. Fan Shilu said this as he took out a large amount of blood path resources from his immortal aperture. All these resources had huge value. They were mostly immortal materials. This experienced GU immortal Fan Shilu could not even conceal the jealousy and envy in his eyes. The sect was putting so much effort into nurturing Fang Zheng. The value of these resources was equivalent to a rank 6 lone cultivator's 100 years of accumulation. Even for Fan Shilu, who had Immortal Crane sect support, he had to spend 50 years to reach this stage. One could say that Fang Zheng became a rich rank 6 GU Immortal without doing anything. The sect is putting so much effort for you, Fang Zheng, don't let them down. At the end, Fan Shilu said with a hoarse voice. Just by seeing Fan Shilu's complex expression, Fang Zheng understood. He was also shocked that he was receiving so much attention and nurturing. Regardless of their motive, I have finally become an immortal. Fang Yuan, the difference between you and I is no longer immortal and mortal. Fang Zheng's divine sense looked around. He felt deep emotions while looking at his immortal aperture. This is my immortal aperture, my blessed land, my foundation. At this moment, he felt that his future was bright. It seemed to be filled with endless possibilities. Fang Yuan, even though you are strong, you were still forced to escape from Central Continent and Heavenly Court. You dare not step into Central Continent. With their help, it will not be impossible for me to deal with you. Even though I understand you, I will not forgive you. Fate toys with people, we will still end up as enemies after all. This current life was different from the previous. Fang Zheng received much more attention and help. His immortal ascension was brought forward by quite some time. In the previous life, everyone knew about the nightmare that Southern Border faced. Fang Yuan's demonic might was overwhelming. But now, Heavenly Court concealed the facts behind their loss, while Southern Border's situation had not been known to everyone yet. Thus, Gu Fang Zheng had no idea that Chen Yi and Thunder Ghost True Monarch had died. He did not know that Southern Border's immortals were all captured by Fang Yuan. This created a misconception after his immortal ascension that if he continued like this, he might be able to reach Fang Yuan's height and face him directly. Chapter 1790 Annex. Inside Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Within the empty mini-yellow heaven, a figure was flying at rapid speed. It came to a stop abruptly, landing before a group of GU immortals. It was Fang Yuan's Time Path clone. Lord Fang Yuan, sect leader. The group of immortals paid their respects. Looking at them, other than Ying Wuxie, who was working in Green Ghost Desert, Fang Yuan's subordinates were gathered around. Bai Ningbing, He Lu Lan, Fairy Miao Yin, Lady White Rabbit, Shui Bing Yuan, Shizong, Shi Cheng, and Mo Tan Sang. Their immortal auras permeated the area. These talented people were all gathered here together. These people had participated in the ambush earlier. They witnessed how Fang Yuan controlled the situation and captured the Southern Border immortals. Thus, the immortals looked at Fang Yuan with even more heated and respectful expressions than before the battle. Especially those variant human GU immortals, they had smiling expressions with a polite attitude. They were as tame as pets. No need to stand on ceremony. Fang Yuan glanced at them before turning to the other side. An immortal formation was floating in the sky. It had been built by this group of GU immortals not long ago. Of course, the main part of the formation was made by Fang Yuan. He had only left the minor portions to these subordinates. Fang Yuan's Time Path clone observed patiently before nodding in satisfaction. This formation was operating smoothly. This was the Wisdom Refinement Formation. It was constructed by using the light of wisdom along with woman's heart and unravel mystery to refine other immortal GU. If there was the other person's will, the effect would become even more outstanding. Initially, Fang Yuan had used Mo Yao's fake will to refine the immortal GU of Immortal Zombie Bo Qing, including Change Soul Immortal GU. This crucial immortal GU allowed Fang Yuan to turn the situation around, snatching Sovereign Immortal Fetus GU during the Battle of Yitian Mountain from Spectral Soul. In the previous life, this formation was modified by Fang Yuan. It had great power. And in this life, Fang Yuan only tweaked it a little before using it, because the effect was sufficient. Further modification was unnecessary. Alright, get into the formation. Fang Yuan instructed. The GU immortals beside him started to enter the formation. They controlled the formation for Fang Yuan, maintaining its operation. Fang Yuan turned around and looked behind him. Behind him, there was an illusory dream realm. It was like a huge lump of rainbow clouds. A pure dream reality seeker physique body had already been formed. Fang Yuan had learned this move from Feng Jin Huang in the previous life. It was a perfect pure dream reality seeker physique body that could exist permanently. But because Fang Yuan's soul cultivation was still low, he could not create a split soul. It was merely Fang Yuan's will that was controlling this pure dream reality seeker physique body. The will would be constantly expended until it dissipates into nothingness. It was only a proper clone if it had an accompanying soul. Thus, this pure dream reality seeker physique body was only half a dream path clone. But it was enough for now. After the pure dream reality seeker physique body entered the dream, a southern border GU Immortal was quickly pushed out. As he had not entered the formation yet, the GU Immortals around Fang Yuan looked and had changes of expression as they recognized this person. After the battle, they did not idle, they were searching for the information of these captives, thus they knew a lot about these people. This is Yang Clan's GU Immortal Yang Ku. He is one of the peak representative experts of Soul Path in Southern Borders GU Immortal world. He had once destroyed the nest of a group of ancient desolate beasts by himself, and had successfully escaped from the pursuit of an immemorial desolate beast. Lady White Rabbit and the rest were talking. Yang Ku's upper half was still inside the dream realm, while the lower half was exposed outside the dream realm. Fang Yuan's main body used his killer move. Immortal killer move, Great Thief Ghost Hand. A ghost hand descended from the sky, it quickly went into Yang Ku's immortal aperture. As the immortals watched, in just a few breaths of time, the ghost hand came out. It flew past Fang Yuan's time path clone as it came to the top of the wisdom refinement formation, its 5 fingers opened up and tossed the newly stolen immortal GU into the formation. This was a rank 7 soul path immortal GU. The immortal GU entered the wisdom refinement formation, it was immediately enveloped by the formation, and trapped in the center. Activated with full force. The GU immortals inside the formation cried out. The wisdom refinement formation shined with a bright golden light. Amidst the buzzing noises, the light of wisdom also gathered on the stolen immortal GU, rapidly refining it. Great Thief Ghost Hand flew back to Yang Ku's immortal aperture, it came out after a few breaths of time, bringing out a second immortal GU. This immortal GU was Devour Soul GU. Fang Yuan's time path clone nodded, with this immortal GU as the core, he could finally use the killer move Devour Soul. After Great Thief Ghost Hand tossed Devour Soul immortal GU into the wisdom refinement formation, it flew back to Yang Ku's immortal aperture. For the following 2 times, it stole immortal GU again and finally plundered all of Yang Ku's immortal GU. Some of the variant human GU immortals who were unaware saw this and revealed expressions of shock. Did Fang Yuan already modify Great Thief Ghost Hand so that it would always steal immortal GU? If that was the case, Great Thief Ghost Hand would be hundreds or thousands of times more powerful than before. But Great Thief Ghost Hand had indeed been modified. After Fang Yuan gained some results in comprehending the Steal Life True Inheritance, he was able to specify the intended target for Great Thief Ghost Hand to steal. As long as Fang Yuan knew the target well, and where their immortal GU were, he could steal immortal GU every time. And in this case, Fang Yuan was completely aware of Yang Ku's immortal aperture. Because in the previous life, he had stolen GU and soul searched, he annexed the entire aperture. Yang Ku's immortal aperture was fused into his own sovereign immortal aperture. A moment later, Fang Yuan looted Yang Ku dry of his immortal GU, using the wisdom refinement formation, he quickly refined them into his own. Fang Yuan's time path clone took away Devour Soul immortal GU as he instilled immortal essence, activating other GU worms as well to form the killer move Devour Soul. This Devour Soul killer move was also modified, it was more effective than in the previous life. Fang Yuan drew in a breath, Yang Ku's soul was drawn out. As a soul path GU immortal, Yang Ku's soul was about to wake up the moment it left the dream realm, but Fang Yuan was prepared for this, he used a soul path killer move and sealed it. After taking away the immortal GU, Yang Ku was like a tiger without teeth. After his soul was taken, Yang Ku was a tiger without teeth that was having a fatal illness. The final step, aperture retrieval. Fang Yuan called out as he activated his killer move, pulling out Yang Ku's immortal aperture from his body. The immortal aperture was forcefully sealed, it was turned into a light gray lump of light. Bai Ningbing and 2 other GU immortals flew over at this moment. Fang Yuan's time path clone handed this gray light to Bai Ningbing with deep caution, saying, "Go ahead." He had deduced everything already. Bai Ningbing held onto Yang Ku's immortal aperture, she and the others flew towards mini southern border. After confirming the location, Bai Ningbing tossed, this gray-white light was fused into a certain mountain peak. Immediately, heaven and earth chi rumbled, the gray light exploded and became larger. The area outside the gray light cracked as mountains moved, there was a deafening noise. As the gray light expanded, it eventually turned back into the appearance of Yang Ku's immortal aperture. "Be careful," Bai Ningbing called out sharply as the 2 immortals beside her got ready. Chirp chirp. Firstly, a group of flower-wing white-bone birds emitted a crow-like call as they flew outside rapidly. Next, the ground shook as a beast tide surged out towards mini southern border from Yang Ku's blessed land. Bai Ningbing and the rest had serious expressions but they were not flustered. Long ago, Fang Yuan had deduced this, he had made the necessary arrangements with great detail. The three immortals took action immediately. Bai Ningbing soon dispersed the beast tide. While the flower-wing white bone birds were also drawn away by a variant human Gu immortal to another area. Yangku blessed land originally had a balanced ecology, the living beings inside lived harmoniously, but after fusing into mini southern border, the balance that Yangku had created was broken, chaos ensued. Ordinary Gu immortals would definitely be flustered at this point. But Fang Yuan was calm and composed, he used his deep wisdom path attainment and the Gu immortal subordinates that he had to control the situation. The chaos only lasted for a while before it vanished. One of the three immortals stayed behind to handle the loose ends while Bai Ningbing and another variant human Gu immortal flew towards mini yellow heaven. On their way back, they saw another group of three Gu immortals holding a pink lump of light as they flew towards mini southern border. Great Thief Ghost Hand, Wisdom Refinement Formation, Devour Soul Killer Move, Aperture Retrieval Method. Stealing Gu, Refining Gu, Separating Soul from Body, Annexing Immortal Aperture, and Suppressing the Chaos. Fang Yuan arranged all these steps meticulously, it was done with much ease. Mainly due to his previous life's experiences, Fang Yuan was very familiar with these captives. Days later, Fang Yuan almost finished dealing with all the captives, only Ba Shiba and Lu Hao were left. A huge dark inkstone vein was moved to the territory of the Rockmen. Shi Cheng was extremely happy upon seeing it. In mini southern border, dozens of mountains appeared out of nowhere. Some mountains were even famous in southern border. Interior Rain Mountain, Copper Seal Mountain, Bone Bird Peak. The first supreme elder of the Rockman tribe, Shizong, sighed deeply to himself, plundering and killing brings the most profits. Because they were southern border Gu immortals, most of the resources were placed in mini southern border, while the other half of the resources were split into the other 4 mini regions as well as the mini 9 heavens. Firstly, in mini central continent, there was now a phantom shadow flower garden and a large fertile land filled with an enormous amount of immortal farmer soil. Secondly, there was a huge heaven pillar wind in mini northern plains. Thirdly, a brand new sea area in mini eastern sea, called wave flower sea area. Fourthly, in mini western desert, a dozen hibiscus trees were planted, every branch of this tree was an immortal material. And his most important gain, Sha Cha Grotto Heaven's Year Essence Pool. In the previous life, Fang Yuan did not know that Sha Cha had a Year Essence Pool, he had constructed one himself. Having 2 Year Essence Pools did not have much use, the result was that he had wasted a lot of resources. Most of the resources that Fang Yuan extorted from the southern border righteous path forces were spent constructing this Year Essence Pool. In this life, Fang Yuan directly took over Sha Cha's Year Essence Pool. Fang Yuan had been troubled by the Year Beasts, Ancient Year Beasts, and Immemorial Year Beasts, he immediately threw them into the Year Essence Pool now. The immortals had huge waves of emotions, after experiencing much shock and surprise, they became numb. Fang Yuan plundered almost all of these southern border Gu immortals' life savings, he took everything without any wastage. Lord Fang Yuan truly has a comprehensive array of attainment levels, he could annex so many immortal apertures of various paths without problems. His grotto heaven is grand and vast, after annexing so many immortal apertures, it is still so stable and firm. This is simply a slaughter of livestock. These Gu immortal experts were all like chickens falling in the hands of a butcher, their throats were slit, their blood was run dry, their feathers were plucked and they were cleaned and chopped up. This is truly. The immortals were tongue-tied, some could not speak. Fang Yuan's mass annexing of apertures had caused them to feel a chill in their hearts. It was as if these Gu immortals were not Gu immortals in Fang Yuan's eyes, they were livestock ready for the slaughterhouse. Even rank 8 Gu immortals were no exception. This had a huge impact on these immortals, especially the variant human Gu immortals, they were much more shocked now than during the ambush earlier. Chapter 1791 Getting Another Rule Path Rank 8 Immortal Gu. An immortal Gu floated in front of Fang Yuan, emitting rank 8 aura. This immortal Gu was like a cocoon but it was not white, it was pitch black like iron. When held, it gave a cold and hard metallic feeling. This was rank 8 Rule Path Immortal Gu, Edition. It consumed pearl thread water as food. Pearl thread water was a rank 8 water path immortal material, it looked like an ordinary type of crystal clear water on the surface, but if one placed their hand into the water, they would be able to grab onto water threads and pull them out of the water. The water threads were long and silky, pearls gathered along the threads as they linked together, creating a beautiful necklace made of pearls strung on a thread. But if the threads were pulled upwards continuously, the pearls would shrink until all the water became long threads. The immortal GU looked like an oval black cocoon, even though it had no mouth or holes. As long as it was submerged in the pearl thread water for 8 days and night, it would be full. The next feeding would be 80 years later. There are 36 years until the next feeding session. Ba Shi Ba already has enough pearl thread water. I can transact the rest away with Eastern Sea's GU immortals. Fang Yuan was very clear about this, because he had already taken Ba Shi Ba's immortal GU and soul. Ba Shi Ba had a lake in his immortal aperture. The lake was huge and contained a large number of ancient water spiders, as well as 2 immemorial water spiders, one male one female. The pearl thread water was the saliva of the immemorial water spiders. It was the essence formed after they lived a long time in water. It took a long time for them to accumulate droplet by droplet. If one did not collect it in time, the ancient water spiders would consume these pearl thread water to increase their strength. As a rule path GU immortal, Ba Shi Ba's immortal aperture mostly had a rule path environment. He had spent a lot of effort to create this lake. The feeding of immortal GU was sometimes troublesome. For example, Ba Shi Ba had a rule path immortal GU but its food was pearl thread water. To be able to feed it, Ba Shi Ba had to create a water path resource point in his immortal aperture to produce pearl thread water. This was not easy for a rule path GU immortal. But for Fang Yuan, it was no issue. His mini Eastern Sea was too huge. After the water spiders entered it, it felt like going from a village to a city. Fang Yuan could even give these water spiders an entire sea area to live in. With a large space and a more suitable water path environment, these water spiders would breed better and grow even more numerous. Fang Yuan, who had sovereign immortal aperture, was able to cultivate multiple paths. He had a huge advantage in raising GU too. Ba Shi Ba's immortal GU were all taken away. He only had one rank 8 immortal GU. Other than that, there were some rank 7 and 6 immortal GU. Among them were 2 rank 7 immortal GU. They were 1 and 3. Number GU were the largest series of rule path GU worms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They could be said to be limitless. Even though Fang Yuan had so many rank 8 immortal GU, the truth was, it was very hard for a rank 8 GU immortal to even have one rank 8 immortal GU in normal situations. Ba Shi Ba had 1, Sha Cha had 2, that was because these two were the leaders of their righteous path super force. They had deep foundation and countless inheritances. Normal lone cultivator rank 8s would not even be able to get a rank 8 immortal GU. For example, Northern Plains' old ancestor Shui, who had great battle strength, he was the number 1 demonic GU immortal in Northern Plains, but he had no rank 8 GU immortal. Even Heavenly Court had many rank 8 GU immortals but few rank 8 immortal GU. The ratio was terrible. In the previous life, when Longevity Heaven invaded Heavenly Court, there was quite an awkward situation. Many rank 8 GU immortals awakened but they did not have enough immortal GU to use. Ba Shi Ba's most valuable killer move was the consecutive hit method. If he could get 18 consecutive hits, Ba Shi Ba would be able to easily kill a rank 8 GU immortal on his level. In the previous life, when he fought against Qingyi, this Heavenly Court member was very wary of this. He tried very hard to prevent him from getting 18 consecutive hits. Honestly speaking, Fang Yuan was a little disappointed. He originally thought that since Ba Shi Ba specialized in the consecutive hit method, his rank 8 rule path immortal GU might be consecutive GU, to think that it was addition GU. Consecutive GU was more famous than addition GU, it was also more practical in different situations. With rank 8 consecutive GU, Fang Yuan could use it to link many different killer moves to achieve the effect of a consecutive move. Consecutive move was one of the techniques to utilize killer moves. By linking 2 or more killer moves together, they could unleash greater power. Normally, only elites among GU immortals could use this. Back then, Blazing Heaven Demoness possessed this technique. She created a consecutive move with Angry Bird and Fire Prison. It had great power. At least Great Grandmaster attainment level was needed to design consecutive moves. One could see that Blazing Heaven Demoness, consecutive move used only fire path killer moves. But using consecutive GU, one could link the killer moves of various paths. This difference was very significant. For example, Fang Yuan's Myriad Ghost Sword Dragon and Great Thief Ghost Hand, or Jade Flow Pearl and Strength Path Giant Hand. There were many possible combinations. He could raise his battle strength to an unprecedented level. Ba Shi Ba's immortal GU, killer moves, and soul were taken by Fang Yuan, only his body and immortal aperture were left. Even though Fang Yuan could annex the aperture with his current attainment level, he decided to wait a while before doing it. Because after annexing the aperture, the timing of his upcoming tribulation would be reset. This was a minor detail but it was quite important. The annexing of immortal apertures was temporarily halted, but Bai Ningbing and the rest were still extremely busy now. During this period of time, Fang Yuan plundered and annexed many immortal apertures. The numbers were shocking. The newly added blessed lands and grotto heavens were too much. Even though the sovereign immortal aperture was still stable, it had severely affected the ecology of the immortal aperture. There was quite a bit of chaos. Bai Ningbing and the rest were busy dealing with the turmoil. Earlier they had suppressed it with brute force, now they were meticulously resolving it. Whichever mountain needed to be moved, which river should be kept, which beast group should be relocated, wild plants should be cultivated. All these laborious and lengthy tasks were all calculated by Fang Yuan through deductions. There was a perfect arrangement overall. This was the benefit of having wisdom path methods. The new setup would not only allow these resources to grow properly, they could even benefit each other. He had even considered the future annexing of Ba Shi Ba's immortal aperture and Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. He had allocated the space for them in advance. GU immortals of other paths would have a huge headache thinking about it. They would not be able to arrange it this specifically. A lot of resources would be wasted. The losses incurred usually made many GU immortals feel severely pained. However, Fang Yuan was busier. His time path clone and his main body were both cultivating diligently, but they still felt they did not have enough time or energy. Fang Yuan wanted to split himself into several portions to work hard together. His rule path attainment level had risen. The attainment level was the foundation of GU cultivation. With the rise in attainment level, many things would change. The immortal would transform greatly. Especially since rule path GU could be widely used. After getting so many rule path immortal GU, Fang Yuan had to conceptualize more killer moves or integrate them into his killer moves, otherwise, he would be letting down his own hard work and planning. The immortal aperture management could be delegated to his subordinates to a large extent, but there were still many things that Fang Yuan had to do personally. The training of killer moves was an important aspect. Ba Shi Ba's consecutive hit method could be set aside, while he was already familiar with Sha Cha's time path methods, but Dao Ju's true inheritance had two main methods that Fang Yuan had to learn no matter what. They were extremely crucial. Giant Sun's true inheritance, Thieving Heaven's true inheritance, Long Hair's true inheritance, they were all incredibly profound. Fang Yuan would gain much insight every time he comprehended them. For example, Giant Sun's true inheritance. Fang Yuan could not deduce the identity of Ba Shi Ba who had joined the Southern Border group that pursued him. That was because Southern Border's righteous path had no lack of wisdom path GU immortals. They had concealed the secret well. What alerted Fang Yuan was the fact that his luck felt pressured for some reason. Later, during the battle, he observed carefully and finally discovered the threat of Ba Shi Ba. Fang Yuan's luck path cultivation had grown a lot. If this was earlier, he would not be able to sense it. Other than Northern Plains GU immortals, Fang Yuan could reliably use luck path methods against his enemies. He would often gain unexpectedly good results. Because there were only 3 luck path true inheritances, arranged well by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, they did not become widespread in the world. Even Heavenly Court was searching hard for them without any gains. The same went for Southern Border's righteous path. Second was Thieving Heaven's true inheritance. Recently, if he had not gained new insight, Fang Yuan would not be able to modify Great Thief Ghost Hand. Third was Long Hair's true inheritance. Even though Fang Yuan had quasi-supreme Grand Master attainment level, he still had gains when he looked at Long Hair's true inheritance. Without considering other matters, the conceptualization of GU as before had much progress because Fang Yuan had researched Long Hair's true inheritance multiple times. To speak the truth, this was the first time Fang Yuan had a feeling of being stuffed. He felt like he was having indigestion. His sovereign immortal aperture was very strong. It could absorb many immortal apertures while remaining stable. But he had to comprehend too many things. There were too many killer moves to modify. He had too many true inheritances to learn from. Each one of these true inheritances would change the future of a normal person. It would benefit their entire life. It would even influence the order of the world. Right now, Fang Yuan had too many true inheritances in his possession. Red Lotus, true inheritance, Spectral Soul's true inheritance, Giant Sun's true inheritance, Genesis Lotus, true inheritance, 2 Thieving Heaven true inheritances, Long Hair's true inheritance which was on par with these venerable inheritances, and Dao Ju's true inheritance which was also quite powerful. Fang Yuan had countless immortal GU. He had enough rank 8 immortal GU for almost all rank 8 GU immortals in this world to feel ashamed about themselves. He even had rank 9 immortal GU. And his subordinates. Different from the previous life, he had many subordinates in this life. Most of them were elites that were much stronger than the ordinary members of a super force. At this stage, Fang Yuan's accumulation and foundation was already at a world-shocking level. As long as he had a period of time to fully process them, Fang Yuan's strength would reach the peak of rank 8. But he lacked time. Fang Yuan smiled bitterly to himself internally. In the previous life, he already felt that he had insufficient time, but it was worse in this life. This feeling was even more intense. Fang Yuan estimated, even though he had the light of wisdom, in this situation, he needed at least 100 years to fully absorb everything and grasp these true inheritances, researching and innovating so that he could gain his own insights and create even greater results. On one hand, I can modify the immortal aperture's rate of time to get more time for myself. On the other hand, I need to explore more dream realms and raise my attainment levels. It was far easier for me to comprehend long hair's true inheritance compared to the true inheritances of Thieving Heaven, Giant Sun, and Genesis Lotus. And finally, I need more manpower, I need more clones. Under Fang Yuan's expectant gaze, a few days later, Danghun Mountain finally got restored to its peak condition. This was far earlier than during his previous life. Chapter 1792 Shocking the World. A crystal mountain stood tall within Mini's southern border. It was pink throughout and gave off a dreamy illusory light. It was the famous secluded domain of heaven and earth recorded in U003CU003C The Legends of Ren Zhu 003EU003E, Danghun Mountain. Right now, Danghun Mountain had almost fully regained its former glory. But it was not entirely repaired yet. Like the previous life, Fang Yuan was worried that Heavenly Court might have a method similar to Fixed Immortal Travel's killer move. Of course, it was already extremely close to complete restoration. The decline in Guts GU production was negligible. Fang Yuan could accept it. Rank 6 Rockman GU Immortal Shi Cheng arrived before the mountain. Even though he knew that Fang Yuan had Guts GU, when he saw this legendary mountain personally, he was greatly stirred. Excitement flashed in his eyes with incomparable light. Danghun Mountain, Guts GU, he muttered. Guts GU had an incredible significance to the Rockmen. Rockmen were all male, they had strong and tough bodies that created a huge burden on their soul. The more active a Rockman was, the more damage their soul would receive. Thus, Rockmen would spend 80% of their whole life sleeping and nurturing their soul. After an old Rockman dies, the soul and rocks they split into will form new Rockmen, and inherit a portion of the old Rockman's memories or some important experiences. In some cases, old Rockmen sleep too much and their soul foundation accumulates to a degree, they would split apart a portion of their bodies to form new tiny Rockmen. This unique reproduction method meant that the Rockman's soul was the key to their strength. The stronger the Rockman's soul, the more Rockmen they could reproduce. However, Rockmen were variant humans that possessed Earth Path Tao marks from birth. It conflicted with Soul Path. Thus, Soul Path methods that could increase the strength of their soul were very rare for the Rockmen. But Guts GU was different. It was formed from a secluded domain of heaven and earth. Even though it was a mortal GU, its ability to strengthen the soul could affect even GU immortals. After a Rockman used it, the effect would be quite extraordinary. Back then, when Fang Yuan had just obtained Hu Immortal Blessed Land, he also nurtured some Rockmen. Shi Cheng looked at Danghun Mountain as he could almost see the rise of his entire Rockman tribe. They had a way to become stronger now. How could he not feel excited? His emotions surged intensely. He felt that the decision to follow Fang Yuan was extremely wise for both him and the Rockman tribe. Fang Yuan was observing all of Shi Cheng's expressions. He was quite satisfied by it. This time, Fang Yuan purposely asked Shi Cheng to come over while collecting Guts GU. It was to lure him and feel that the future was bright. As long as he followed Fang Yuan, he would gain an incredible amount of benefits. After a while, Shi Cheng calmed down as he started to control the formation. Fang Yuan had formation path and soul path attainment. He did not lack immortal GU. Furthermore, soul path cultivation was most important right now. He went around Danghun Mountain and set up an immortal formation. Shi Cheng was given permission by Fang Yuan to manipulate the formation. The formation resonated. A gray-blue light was shot out. It was like fog or smoke, quickly surrounding the whole of Danghun Mountain. Danghun Mountain shook lightly. The pink crystal mountain gave off a faint light that quickly dyed the gray-blue fog into a pink color. The pink color spread in the fog and quickly covered the entire formation. There was a large number of soul beasts and soul cores inside the formation. Under the effect of the pink fog, the soul beasts and soul cores vanished rapidly without a trace. After a while of operation, Guts GU started forming, going from single digits to the thousands. Shi Cheng expressed deep shock on his face. What sort of efficiency is this? The number of Guts GU is still increasing so rapidly, it is reaching tens of thousands soon. This soul path formation was created by modifying the contents of spectral soul true inheritance, along with Fang Yuan's own immortal GU, he named it soul expending myriad guts formation. It produced at least 10,000 guts GU each time. This was definitely more efficient than using Dang Hun Mountain alone. Of course, the condition was that he needed enough soul beasts and soul cores to create 10,000 guts GU. Fang Yuan had already prepared sufficiently. Earlier, he had arranged cooperation with Fang Clan to develop the Green Ghost Desert in Western Desert. This was a way to obtain soul beasts stably in huge quantity. Even though Fang Yuan had such a terrifying appetite for soul beasts and soul cores, Green Ghost Desert was able to fulfill his needs with great ease. This desert was too huge, it had countless soul beasts, it was truly a soul path giant resource point. It was a pity that this desert was inside the territory of Fang Clan, which cultivated formation path. And Ching Cho was still hiding inside Green Ghost Desert. It was a huge threat. As long as it remained, Green Ghost Desert would have a fatal danger, it was not a safe place. Fang Yuan did not even think of buying soul cores in Treasure Yellow Heaven or extorting Southern Borders Yang Clan, because doing that would leak some important information. In the previous life, Fang Yuan only repaired Dang Hun Mountain a long time after now. Even after he repaired it, he lacked immortal essence, soul beasts, and soul cores, his progress was greatly delayed. This time around, not only did he repair Dang Hun Mountain early, he even had a good supply of soul beasts and soul cores. This would allow his soul path foundation to rise rapidly. Fang Yuan's soul went into the soul expending myriad guts formation directly. With the use of the formation to help him absorb guts GU, Fang Yuan used 10,000 guts GU in an instant. The effect of guts GU was so evident, his soul inflated like a balloon, becoming a giant in just a few breaths of time. Fang Yuan's soul flew out of the formation, arriving at Luopo Valley, who was nearby. Bewilderment fog covered his soul as it started to become looser. Luopo wind cut and sliced his soul, the wounds that it created were incomparably painful. Pain, pain, pain. This pain originated from the depths of the soul, it was more painful than dying by 1,000 cuts. Fang Yuan was almost going berserk. But he controlled himself. A moment later, he flew out with a heavily damaged soul. Going back into the soul path formation, he used the Guts GU to recover as his size expanded again. Guts GU was the most perfect nutrient for the soul, while the cultivation in Luopo Valley made his soul as tempered as steel, all the impurities were removed. Like this, after 3 rounds, Fang Yuan's soul reached 10 million man soul. Shi Cheng, who was controlling the formation, became tongue-tied. He was extremely shocked, being in disbelief. Dang Hun Mountain and Luopo Valley were the sacred lands for soul cultivation, their reputation was deeply justified. Fang Yuan sighed to himself, thinking, the toughest part is finally over. Earlier, because his soul foundation was expending rapidly, he was almost forced to use other soul foundation methods. Even though these soul path methods were exceptional, they all had drawbacks. Only Dang Hun Mountain and Luopo Valley were perfect in their usage. For example, it was like lifespan extension methods compared to lifespan GU. Oh my heavens, Shi Cheng praised as he sighed deeply. He had finally reacted and accepted this dream-like truth. Fang Yuan's soul foundation rose like he was on a rocket, it almost shattered Shi Cheng's common sense, his sense of value and life were also in deep chaos. He could not express his agitated feelings in words, his fingers were trembling. As long as we follow Lord Fang Yuan and walk behind him, our Rockman tribe will definitely reach the peak of this world. With these 2 soul paths sacred lands, we will have foundation that surpasses the 5 regions GU immortal world. Shi Cheng had no idea that Fang Yuan was not satisfied yet. It is a pity I do not have pacifying soul soup, otherwise, my soul path cultivation speed will be even faster and more terrifying. Wisdom path cultivation emphasized on 3 aspects of thoughts, wills and emotions. Soul path also had 3 aspects of strengthening, refining, and pacifying the soul. The former 2 had the ultimate methods of cultivation, they were Dang Hun Mountain and Luopo Valley. Meanwhile, pacifying soul soup from the bewitching lake would pacify the soul. This was recorded in U003CU003C, The Legends of Ren Zhu 003E U003E. After reaching a certain level of soul cultivation, the soul would gradually detach from the body, the soul, a portion, would fly out and result in incidents like blanking out or being physically unconscious. At this time, drinking pacifying soul soup would resolve this problem. Fang Yuan did not have pacifying soul soup, he could only use other methods instead, they were not as good as his other 2 cultivation methods. This also caused Fang Yuan to only be able to cultivate soul path once in a while. Even though the efficiency was already out of this world, Shi Cheng was nearly shocked to death, but if he had pacifying soul soup, he could almost endlessly cultivate without stopping. Haste makes waste. Fang Yuan had to temporarily halt his soul cultivation. A commotion occurred in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Heavenly Court started to spread rumors that Fang Yuan was reaching rank 8 soon, he might be undergoing tribulation very soon, he was close to his rank 8 tribulation. Other than that, information that Fang Yuan captured the southern border GU Immortals had also been spread by Heavenly Court. Fang Yuan sneered. This must be the work of Fairy Ziwei. In the previous life, Fairy Ziwei did this too, but that was at a later time. In this life, Fang Yuan progressed rapidly and gave Fairy Ziwei immense pressure. She used this method earlier than last time. In fact, this move was quite vicious. Fairy Ziwei would be able to borrow the strength of every GU immortal that feared Fang Yuan and did not want him to reach rank 8, they would pursue and deal with him. In the previous life, during the 5 regional mountain range battle, Fang Yuan used this to his advantage as he made use of these GU immortals' intentions. If not for the sovereign immortal aperture, I would fall into Fairy Ziwei's trap and she would gain initiative in this matter. Now that she is spreading rumors like this, it means she has not discovered the true secret of the sovereign immortal body. Of course, it is possible that she knew but pretended not to. Spreading out rumors like this is the start of her devious plan. Fang Yuan started to use wisdom path methods as he thought intensely. A moment later, a sharp light flashed in his eyes, he made a new decision. In this case, I will not wait around aimlessly, let's expose your star cast killer move, as well as news of Chen Yi's and Thunder Ghost True Monarch's death. Fairy Ziwei was trying to borrow strength, Fang Yuan was doing the same. Compared to Fang Yuan, Heavenly Court was a bigger source of wariness and fear among the 4 regions. In the previous life, Heavenly Court's GU refinement was met with the attack of all 4 regions. Fang Yuan's spread of information had a lot to do with it. This time, I will reveal my battle strength. After all, I cannot conceal the matter in southern border anymore. Since the world will be shocked by it, let's go ahead and make them fear me even more. This way, it will help with my extortion of the southern border righteous path later. As expected, Fang Yuan and Heavenly Court exposed information about each other once more. It caused countless GU immortals to gasp in shock. Information spread like wildfire. Soon, the entire GU immortal world knew about it. The world was shocked. Chapter 1793 Little Demon Venerable. So all of Heavenly Court's rank 8 GU immortals in Langya Blessed Land had died. Unbelievable. Thunder Ghost True Monarch is a legendary character. She had once fought against Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Meanwhile, Chen Yi is also the former first Supreme Elder of Heavenly Lotus Sect. He possesses Genesis Lotus, true inheritance. These 2 experts actually died at Fang Yuan's hands. This is simply unthinkable. Not just that, this demon Fang Yuan did not stop there, he even went to target Southern Border's GU Immortal World. Southern Border's Sha Cha, Ba Shi Ba, and the other rank 7 experts were all captured. How does he have such battle strength? He is only rank 7. Against Heavenly Court, he used Langya Blessed Land's foundation. Against Southern Border, he used a time path superformation. There are too many suspicious points here. Even now, I still can't believe it. It should be true. Heavenly Court and Southern Border did not dispute him. Fang Yuan, this demon is getting increasingly scary. It has only been such a short time, yet he already killed and captured a bunch of rank 7 and rank 8 experts. Ha ha ha, Southern Border's righteous path has lost a lot of face this time. That's not entirely true, even Heavenly Court failed against Fang Yuan after all. Fang Yuan is only a rank 7, how can his methods be so extraordinary? I finally understand now, a person like Fang Yuan does not conform to logic or common sense. He has the air of a demon venerable. Weren't all the past demon venerables like this when they were still young? Easily fighting above their rank and killing rank 8 experts with ease. That is true. It is a pity that only Great Dream Immortal Venerable exists in the future, there is no demon venerable. This is not Fang Yuan's era. You are wrong about that. Red Lotus Demon Venerable damaged Heavenly Court's Fate GU, the future is not certain. Fang Yuan is already so vicious at rank 7, he has committed so many crimes, what will happen when he reaches rank 8? That's right, while he is still rank 7, we need to kill him, this is the final chance to exterminate him. Too difficult, even Heavenly Court has not found his location. Fang Yuan is not only vicious, he is also cunning. He is an otherworldly demon who has reborn, he has too many methods. Ordinary experts are courting death if they approach him, even rank 8 GU immortals need to be careful and not fall into his schemes. But if one can kill Fang Yuan, the gains are tremendous. That's true, Fang Yuan has many venerable true inheritances, he has countless resources, spring-autumn cicada, fixed immortal travel, and other immortal GU, he even has multiple secluded domains of heaven and earth. He is basically a superforce on his own. The GU immortal world of the 5 regions went into chaos. Fang Yuan became the talk of all the GU immortals wherever they went. GU immortals felt hatred, fear, and jealousy towards him, they had complex emotions. If Fang Yuan had become renowned earlier from escaping Thunder Ghost True Monarch's assault and selling her rib bones in Treasure Yellow Heaven, then now, with the blood of rank 8 experts on his hands, and after capturing a large number of GU immortal experts, Fang Yuan's name now shocked the world. He had used reverse flow protection seal in the past to fight against rank 8 GU immortals, he was known as the #1 rank 7 expert. But now, not just rank 6 and 7 GU immortals, even most rank 8s were wary of Fang Yuan, they did not dare to look down on him. A new title regarding Fang Yuan gradually gained recognition among the GU immortals, Little Demon Venerable. This title displayed the potential and disposition that Fang Yuan had towards becoming a demon venerable, he could be said to be a future demon venerable that was still growing. This was a high evaluation. In human history, through the eras, GU immortal experts were countless like the shining stars in the sky, but how many venerables were there? Adding them all together, they amounted to 10. And now, the GU immortal world recognized that Fang Yuan had hopes of becoming a venerable himself. Of course, other than the discussions involving Fang Yuan, Heavenly Court was also the target of their discussion. The things that Fang Yuan exposed, like Star Caste, made the GU immortals in the 4 regions extremely shocked. Especially the Righteous Path super forces, they felt like they were on pins and needles. Star Caste had a huge significance in war, it allowed Central Continent and Heavenly Court to deploy GU immortals and attack suddenly without needing time to travel. This gave Heavenly Court the complete initiative. Rank 8 GU immortals of the 4 regions were usually leaders of their force, they could not band together in anticipation of Star Caste, right? In that case, Heavenly Court had a chance to use Star Caste to attack one rank 8 with multiple rank 8 battle strength existences. Within Heavenly Court, Fairy Ziwei's expression was grim. Even though she had expected this, when it truly happened, she still felt quite gloomy. Fairy Ziwei did not want to let Fang Yuan off. Fang Yuan was also not going to let Heavenly Court have an easy time. This was an open fight that dealt damage to both sides, they were both losers. But the person who suffered the biggest setback was probably GU Fang Zheng. He had just advanced to rank 6, he had just gained the powers of a GU immortal, his confidence had just risen when this nightmarish news appeared. Fang Yuan was actually able to defeat Heavenly Court, even Southern Border's Righteous Path forces were helpless against him. Fang Yuan only had rank 7 cultivation level but he defied logic, even rank 8 GU immortals were not his match. After hearing this news for the first time, Fang Zheng had a lot of things to say but he ended up speechless. After a long while, he muttered to himself with a pale expression, I was truly too naive. He smiled bitterly. Fang Yuan, the difference between us, is it really this big? This pitiful younger brother still had no idea that Fang Yuan was already a rank 8 expert. The truth was, the entire world was fooled by Fang Yuan. And it was not a surprise. Because even Fairy Ziwei did not know of the Sovereign Immortal Aperture's true secret. If Fang Yuan wants to ascend to rank 8, he would need to undergo tribulation, regardless of success or failure, important clues would be left behind. If he was really rank 8 now, the speed of growth was just too fast. Other GU immortals work hard and spend years cultivating like they were treading on thin ice, weren't they completely useless people if he actually succeeded? Fang Yuan looked at the discussions. To think that a day would come when I am a hotter topic than Heavenly Court. Fang Yuan did not know whether to laugh or cry. Even though the other GU immortals were focusing on him more than on Heavenly Court, he did not feel disappointment. Because Fang Yuan knew that the super forces in the 4 regions were now discussing on how to deal with Heavenly Court. Long ago, predecessors had already foreseen the changes in the future, for example, Yao Clan in Southern Border. Now that the Earth Veins moved and the Great Era was impending, most super forces already knew that the regional walls would vanish, and that the 5 regions' chaotic war would start in the future. Central Continent Refinement Path Convention, Heavenly Court, just you wait and see. Fang Yuan was paying attention to the discussions while noting the ink effect. He knew that by researching these changes, he would benefit greatly in his comprehension of fate, all living beings, and the world. Recalling my actions post-rebirth, directly annexing Langya Blessed Land was the best initial action I took. One step ahead and I will always be ahead. My advantages grew rapidly like a rolling snowball. This is the advantage of rebirth. Of course, I also have the advantage of being a complete otherworldly demon. And most importantly, all these are thanks to Red Lotus damaging Fate Gu. Compared to the previous life, he had much more gains this time, but disadvantageous ink effects were also taking place. Firstly, Southern Border's Rule Path Rank 8 expert boss Shiba was captured by Fang Yuan and would get annexed soon. He did not end up well. This meant that when Wu Yong leads the Southern Alliance to fight Central Continent, they would lose one powerful ally. During the battle in the previous life, Boss Shiba was one of the main pillars on Fang Yuan's side who resisted Heavenly Court's Gu Immortal Qingyi. Meanwhile, because Fang Yuan took away the 5 regional true inheritance and destroyed the 5 regional mountain range, the ambush battle would not occur there. Heavenly Court's member Zhen Shenguang had been captured by Fang Yuan in the previous life during that battle, but now he was still free. Other than that, Heavenly Court had another rank 8 Gu Immortal, that was Prince Feng Xian. Within Treasure Yellow Heaven, my dragonfish business is facing intense suppression. The profits are almost close to zero. In the previous life, even though this also happened, Fairy Ziwei had been provoked by Fang Yuan in this life. The actions that Heavenly Court took were more than 10 times as forceful. Furthermore, the dragonfish business was also prematurely targeted at this time period. Thankfully, I annexed so many immortal apertures, I gained a large number of revenue sources. But in the previous life, Fairy Ziwei worked with Southern Border's Righteous Path to target my businesses. I wonder if this will happen earlier this time. Will they intensify their actions like what happened to the dragonfish business? Fang Yuan thought about it. It was very likely. There was also another bad result that had occurred. It involved Longevity Heaven. In the previous life, Longevity Heaven annexed Langya Blessed Land. By giving them equal status, their reputation rose sharply, allowing Longevity Heaven to unite the entire Northern Plains Gu Immortal World. Bing Sai Chuan and the rest managed to invade Heavenly Court. This time, not only did Langya Blessed Land get annexed by Fang Yuan, with Longevity Heaven getting nothing, Prince Feng Xian also returned to Heavenly Court. With such a huge traitor in Northern Plains' Righteous Path, not only did the Huang Jin bloodline members lose face, Longevity Heaven was also implicated. The outside world was in chaos, but Fang Yuan was not affected. He waited and developed at a corner, moving his location constantly. His enemies had no lead on him. His soul cultivation advanced rapidly, but he was still a distance away from using split soul. Fang Yuan's time path clone was focused on deductions, while his main body practiced killer moves. He was very familiar with Sha Cha's killer moves. All his accumulations in the previous life were brought over through rebirth. Fang Yuan was focusing on the contents of Dao Ju's true inheritance. Immortal killer move, 5 restriction profound light chi. Gu worms spiraled, immortal essence was injected, a grand light chi burst out like a fountain. It was purple-black in color, the smoky appearance resembled light, making one think of Southern Border's Miasma regional wall at first glance. This was the Southern Restriction Purple-Black Miasma Light Chi. The other 4 were Central Restriction White Gold Saint Light Chi, Northern Restriction Jade Licorice Light Chi, Western Restriction Red Raging Flame Light Chi, and Eastern Restriction Blue Water Light Chi. Fang Yuan had just started learning it. He could only unleash one type of light chi. He could not summon 2 light chi at once. As for the other 5 regional limit formation, because he lacked Earth Vein Immortal Gu, Fang Yuan could not use it now. According to his memories, Earth Vein Immortal Gu had not appeared at this point in time. And even if he had Earth Vein Immortal Gu, Fang Yuan also needed to modify the 5 regional limit formation. He needed to add in the Formation Spirit and Formation Flag Gu. Chapter 1794 Myriad Year Flying Warship. Practicing killer moves was not easy. The Gu Immortal could suffer backlash and injuries with just slight carelessness. The more powerful the killer moves, the greater the risks. But it was necessary to practice as well. They could not just use killer moves blindly during a battle, right? In fact, the environment during a battle was worse as there would be strong retaliation from the enemy. There were many cases in history where Gu Immortals failed in activating their killer move and faced the backlash, suffering deep injuries and even dying. Among them, there were plenty of cases where they died while practicing killer moves. Fang Yuan was practicing 5 Restriction Profound Light Chi, which was a very powerful killer move, so he was extremely focused and careful. He had yet to choose between 5 Restriction Profound Light Chi and 5 Regional Limit Formation. The two could not be used together. It was very difficult to set up a formation when on the verge of battle. And even if the 5 regional limit formation was set up, it was difficult to disassemble it. During a battle, having 5 regional limit formation meant 5 restriction profound light chi could not be used. From the point of flexibility, 5 restriction profound light chi was better. But formation path had its own advantages. Once 5 regional limit formation was set up, it was akin to having a prepared immortal killer move that could be used at any time. Feng Yuan would have huge initiative to go on the offensive. An example was the recent ambush by using the year's flow execution formation. Be it the previous life or this life, this battle was the achievement that Feng Yuan was the most pleased with. Not only because his gains were plentiful, the more important reason was that the whole battle was always in his control. He managed to steer the entire battle in the direction that he set. This was not easy to achieve normally. Any plan seemed perfect before it was put into practice. When it was truly implemented, even Heavenly Court and Longevity Heaven were unable to have control over the situation. The most important factor that helped Feng Yuan's ambush succeed was that time path immortal formation. As long as the formation was set, formation path GU immortals could often win against stronger foes. But formation path's flaw was that it was not mobile and had many inflexible areas. The absolute majority of the immortal formations could not be moved once set. A formation path GU immortal might have set up a powerful formation, but the enemy would detour around once they discover it. There were plenty of such embarrassing situations recorded in history. Thus, Kai Kuyu and Fairy Ziwei were astonished that Feng Yuan's time path formation could be so hidden that it worked on the southern border immortals. There was another point as well. Setting up an immortal formation was not easy and took a long time. 5 to 6 days would be the least, 2 to 3 months was normal. There were even those that took a couple of years. In the previous life, Heavenly Court had begun setting up the 9-9 consecutive unceasing formation a year earlier. But after this formation was set up, the sub-formations could be created extremely quickly. This was the method left by star constellation Immortal Venerable. It could not be looked down upon. Even though it was extremely fast, creating sub-formations still required some time. In the previous life, Chen Yi's group had to come out and hold back Wu Yong's group so that the GU immortals behind could set up the sub-formations. Many super immortal formations were also not something that GU immortals could create casually. In the previous life's Great War, Wu Yong and others were assistants. Kai Kuyu, Feng Yuan, and Black Extremity were the ones in charge of setting up the formation. The Long Hair Refinement Path formation in Langya Blessed Land was also not set up by Long Hair Ancestor. He had requested long ago for formation path Great Expert Immortal Lady Juwa to make it. Feng Yuan estimated that if he chose 5 regional limit formation, he would need at least half a year to set it up. Fortunately, he could use the difference in rate of time between his immortal aperture and the outside world to greatly mitigate this flaw. In his plan, the new 5 regional limit formation would merge the Earth Vein, Formation Flag and Formation Spirit. With these 3, Feng Yuan could first set up the formation inside Sovereign Grotto Heaven, then take it out when he needed it. However, Feng Yuan had yet to deduce this new 5 regional limit formation. In this period of time, Feng Yuan's time path clone was deducing an immortal GU house again. Immortal GU houses were also GU formations. They were developed from formation path. Initially, many formation path GU immortals felt the inconvenience and inflexibility of formations. They did not even have time to set up formations when there were sudden battles. In history, there were many cases where some formation path GU immortals and even those great experts would suddenly run into a battle and be unable to display any of their strength. It would be considered fortunate if they only lost the battle. Many actually died in battle while having much grievances. The initial concept for immortal GU houses was a portable immortal formation. Previously, the time path clone had been extremely busy managing the immortal aperture or being under the light of wisdom to deduce many things. And Feng Yuan's main body was busy in practicing killer moves and using the remaining time to cultivate his soul as well as managing his immortal aperture. The number of killer moves continued to increase. His soul foundation also soared with every cultivation session. His immortal aperture management was also smooth sailing. The main thing was he had an elite group of GU immortal subordinates helping him. The Year Essence Pool was important as it was the resting place of Year Beasts. It contained many advantages. It saved space as the Year Beasts lived here. It also produced time path GU worms, and could even control the time flow of the immortal aperture. It was a micro river of time. In the previous life, Feng Yuan had to bitterly gather the resources to form a Year Essence Pool, but he found Xia Cha also had a Year Essence Pool after annexing her immortal aperture. In this life, He directly took the year essence pool which was already well constructed by Sha Cha, but it was not good enough according to Fang Yuan's vision and plan. Over these days, Fang Yuan and his subordinate GU Immortals were focused on fine-tuning the structure of the year essence pool, which showed to be very effective. Fang Yuan put his immemorial year beasts inside and they were so pleased that they did not want to come out. As far as year beasts were concerned, there was food and water here, and they felt most comfortable soaking in water of the river of time. Most importantly, there were no enemies, they were all kin unlike in the true river of time. Year beasts and eagle groups had always been burdens of the sovereign immortal aperture. Now, the year beasts problem was solved and the aspect of eagle beasts made huge progress. To create a food chain for the eagle beasts, Fang Yuan first created many eagle nests, then he chose grass-weaving birds to be eagle beasts' food. This kind of bird was also called birds weaving grass. This bird was rather special. During spring, they were only seeds. Once the seeds grew on the soil, they would gradually form a grassland. When summer came, the grass would weave with each other, forming the shapes of birds. These birds flew in groups, these were grass-weaving birds. In autumn, they migrated in groups. When winter came, they would fall to the ground, their figures would dissipate and turn back into seeds. The seeds would be buried under the snow, waiting to sprout in spring. This species of bird was easy to raise and they reproduced quite fast. Although the eagle beasts did not like to eat these birds, the food chain was just established, and they had nothing else for food, how could they be picky? Spring GU and summer GU were already refined by Fang Yuan and could be used for this purpose. He stationed a GU Immortal in the mini-9 heavens to look after the place before activating the killer move. He had modified 2 killer moves. One was called Spring Sprout which used rank 8 Immortal GU Spring as the core and Wood Sprout Immortal GU as the supplementary. It sprouted the birds weaving grass planted in cloud soil and quickly dyed the large patch of cloud soil green. Another move was Summer Days. It used rank 8 Immortal GU Summer as the core and some Light Path Immortal GU as supplementary to form blazing sunlight. The grass-weaving birds started flying, their amount increased rapidly to an extremely astonishing scale. The hungry eagle groups finally had something to fill their hunger. Fang Yuan also was free from the plight of having to purchase food from outside. But because planting birds weaving grass led to large expenditure of cloud soil, Fang Yuan now had to purchase cloud soil. Activating killer moves also expended rank 8 Immortal Essence. Calculating everything, Fang Yuan's expenditure was slightly larger than before when he was just feeding eagles. This was a problem which was always present when creating a food chain. At this period of time in his previous life, Fang Yuan had not made any plans regarding the eagles. In this life, he had many assets and did not care about this cost as he could totally afford it. This led to another problem. The 2 time path killer moves changed the surrounding environment to spring at one moment and summer at the next moment. It was a great stimulation to the eagles, causing many of the female eagles to lay eggs in spring. And, because the switch between spring and summer was too sudden and frequent, without the adjustment and recuperation of autumn and winter, the eagles became increasingly violent and there were many bloody conflicts when eagles fought over their mating partners. During such moments, the GU Immortal whom Fang Yuan sent acted as a nanny. This simple food chain was just in the initial form, there would still be more parts added in the future to form a complete and stable food chain. This was not a complete disadvantage, at the very least, Fang Yuan gained many eagle eggs. Unlike year beasts which had the year essence pool that mimicked the environment of the river of time, eagle beasts were much more troublesome to arrange. A complete food chain involved all kinds of aspects where changing one aspect would alter the whole situation. Sometimes, even a tiny caterpillar might have a wide-ranging influence on the sovereign immortal aperture. Fang Yuan still needed to consider the future. Right now, the sovereign immortal aperture still had a vast empty space. Deducing matters related to this was more difficult than deducing a rank 6 immortal killer move. The amount of such deductions would become even more terrifying in future. Stable management of the immortal aperture, annexing blessed lands, and gradually absorbing grotto heavens had already filled so many places with resources that it surpassed most of the GU immortals in the world. Fang Yuan's time path clone deduced without rest, finally gaining success. Immortal GU House, Myriad Year Flying Warship. In the previous life, Fang Yuan had always wanted to build an immortal GU house to explore the river of time as well as to let his subordinates join the battles of rank 8s. Unfortunately, he tried many times but did not achieve much success. His first incomplete immortal GU house was destroyed by Li Huang. He then rebuilt it later. After extorting Southern Border's righteous path, he had all kinds of GU worms and managed to build an immortal GU house, but it was firmly disadvantaged in the battle in Central Continent and was not of much use. In this life, he learned his lesson and for now lowered the standard he had, conceptualizing a time path immortal GU house. Chapter 1795 GU as before formation. Heavenly Court. The project of constructing Eternal Yacht was already at its most crucial moment. Heavenly Court Rank 8 Rule Path GU Immortal Kong Yan took out an immortal GU. This immortal GU was like an extremely splendid and luxurious centipede that was the size of a forearm and was completely golden, with countless thin and small spikes on its back. It was Rule Path Immortal GU, Permanence. This GU was used in Heavenly Court's Eternal Sand Cave but was now taken out to construct Eternal Yacht. The final step. Kong Yan took a deep breath as he solemnly and carefully sent Permanence GU into the incomplete Eternal Yacht Immortal GU house. The incomplete Immortal GU house absorbed the GU, its aura began to be unsteady, rising and falling before rapidly falling out of control. Kong Yan's expression changed greatly. Oh no. Bam. A thunderous explosion occurred, the incomplete Immortal GU house shattered. Countless mortal GU died and many supplementary Immortal GU were damaged. Only Permanence GU suffered no damage, it was protected firmly by Kong Yan even at the cost of suffering heavy injuries. Permanence GU was the core, it could not be harmed, unlike other supplementary Immortal GU which could be replaced even if destroyed. At the same time, Fairy Ziwei left Heavenly Court and descended to Central Continent, arriving at Duke Long's location. I have succeeded in learning Shatter Dream. Feng Jinhuang raised her arms, exclaiming in joy. Fairy Ziwei had not thought she would personally witness this important growth of Feng Jinhuang. She was inwardly shocked as she looked at the broken dream realm fragments that were like broken mirror fragments. Feng Jinhuang's progress in Dream Path was far beyond her expectations. Duke Long sent away Feng Jinhuang who was jumping with joy, and asked Fairy Ziwei about her purpose for visiting. Fairy Ziwei said truthfully, Lord, these last days, I have been feeling uneasy but cannot find the reason, so I came to ask for your guidance. Duke Long nodded. Is there any progress in deducing Feng Yuan? Fairy Ziwei's brows furrowed and revealed a vexed expression. Feng Yuan's defense in Wisdom Path is airtight, I have used all my strength but cannot deduce anything about him. Duke Long comforted. Your previous plans against him were already good, even I cannot plan a strategy like that, after all I am not a Wisdom Path GU Immortal. Have you destroyed Fixed Space Immortal GU? The Refinement Path Killer move on those GU worms have yet to activate. But I have already ordered Yuan Chongdu to be ready at all times. Duke Long nodded. Looks like it is not easy for Feng Yuan to plunder the GU worms from the GU Immortal captives. Thinking for a bit, he asked, have you looked into Spectral Soul? Fairy Ziwei's reply was direct. He is only a remnant soul and a prisoner with no immortal essence or immortal GU. After the defeat in Langya Blessed Land, I have paid extra attention to him, there is no issue with him. Duke Long sighed. Maybe it is him. Who? Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Fairy Ziwei's heart shook. She heard Duke Long continue. How is the progress with finding Red Lotus, true inheritances? Fairy Ziwei's expression turned unsightly. Present and past pavilion has been in the river of time all along, as long as Feng Yuan enters, we will definitely know. But earlier, Eternal Yacht's construction failed, we need to redo it again. I still plan to construct 3 Autumn Yellow Crane Platform, Shark Flow Lever, and Moment Stage. With these 5 Time Path Immortal GU houses, even if we cannot find Red Lotus, true inheritances, we also won't let Feng Yuan get to them. Duke Long replied. The first 4 are okay, but the core Immortal GU of the 5th Moment Stage is the Immortal GU in Million Heavenly King Gallery. Fairy Ziwei. This is the most stable plan among the ones I deduced. Duke Long attached high importance to Feng Yuan, but Feng Yuan would never compare to Red Lotus Demon Venerable. He said deeply. Red Lotus, true inheritances are the greatest variable, blockading the river of time with 5 Time Path Immortal GU houses is indeed a safe method. We shall go with your plan then. Although I don't cultivate Formation Path, I know the difficulty in constructing an Immortal GU house, don't put blame on Kong Yan. Yes, Lord Duke Long. Because of the defeat in Langya Blessed Land, Heavenly Court was even more aggressive this time, and they were moving with a tight pace. GU Feng Zheng's Immortal Ascension was only one aspect, Eternal Yacht was also being constructed, and they had also added the 5th Time Path Immortal GU house. This ink effect was unknown to Feng Yuan. Inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. This is the most crucial part, years flow like water Immortal GU, go. Feng Yuan willed it and an Immortal GU shot towards the front. When it entered the incomplete immortal GU house, there was a dazzling radiance. The radiance was absorbed and emitted, flickering between bright and dark. Fang Yuan was controlling the whole situation with all his concentration. Countless thoughts welled up in his mind like surging waves in the sea, his accumulated will was melting like snow. His main body was soaked in sweat in just a short while. The Time Path clone was also brought here to help out. He was forcibly enduring the stress, his face was pale as paper and his body was on the verge of collapsing. All these painstaking efforts were not in vain. The multicolored radiance gradually merged, forming a clear and bright blue light. The light was no longer flickering between bright and dark, it gradually stabilized. Finally, when the blue light completely retracted and vanished, an immortal GU house revealed itself. Rank 8 Immortal GU House, Myriad Year Flying Warship. Its core was years flow like water Immortal GU, which elevated this Immortal GU house to rank 8. Fang Yuan's first creation was directly a rank 8 Immortal GU house. Years flow like water's main use was to produce year GU. The countless year GU it produced were used to feed Fang Yuan's year beasts. But now, there was a complete and stable food chain because of the year essence pool. Fang Yuan let the year beasts be self-sufficient inside here and could now use years flow like water Immortal GU for other purposes. This rank 8 Immortal GU was created by He Fan. It specialized in logistics and was an outstanding Immortal GU in the aspect of Immortal Aperture development, but it lacked offensive power. Fang Yuan fulfilled He Fan's wish by using it to form a rank 8 Immortal GU house. Besides years flow like water Immortal GU, Myriad Year Flying Warship's main supplementary Immortal GU were 2 rank 7 Immortal GU, Precaution and Fight. The former had been used by Fang Yuan in Divination Tortoise transformation along with Vajra Thought Immortal GU, but this level of transformation killer move was no longer suitable for Fang Yuan currently, so he used it to increase the defensive power of Myriad Year Flying Warship. The latter was Rule Path Immortal GU Fight, but it was never used properly because Fang Yuan did not have high attainment level in Rule Path previously as well as having few Rule Path Dao marks. It was only recently that his Rule Path attainment level had increased steeply. Rule Path was the path with the widest range of use, these 2 Immortal GU perfectly coordinated with years flow like water. Myriad Year Flying Warship had a narrow structure like a small boat and shined with a dazzling silver light. It gave a strong feeling of sharpness and toughness. Heavenly Court had failed in constructing Eternal Yacht, but Fang Yuan had succeeded in his. It was not only because of Fang Yuan's Time Path Quasi-Supreme Grand Master attainment level, but also because of his Rule Path Great Grand Master and Formation Path Grand Master attainment levels. Fang Yuan had put in his energy to cultivate many paths since long ago, and after the initial problems in the start, the benefits were already showing and these benefits would keep on increasing in the future. This is the first Immortal GU house that I created. It is a completely new creation and will definitely give a huge surprise to my enemies in future battles. Fang Yuan was joyous. In the previous life, he had intended to build an Immortal GU house but did not truly succeed. The ones which he built were incomplete and their power was barely passable. In this life, he constructed Myriad Year Flying Warship and was satisfied with himself. But this was not the end, this was only the first Immortal GU house. Fang Yuan had an enormous plan. He had estimated that he would build at least 3 Immortal GU houses. In his deductions, this plan would make the most use of all the resources he obtains in this life. Myriad Year Flying Warship was set aside. The Time Path clone had almost fainted while constructing this warship, he was in poor condition now. Fang Yuan could only arrange him to rest and not deduce anything for the moment. Fang Yuan's main body was also able to rest for 2 days. 2 days in the outside world was multiple months inside the sovereign Immortal Aperture. The Time Path clone had already recovered and had made another gain in his deductions. Immortal GU Formation, GU as before formation. After spending some energy, Fang Yuan finally succeeded in constructing this formation. Fang Yuan decided to make a move on Lu Hao now. Lu Hao's Immortal Aperture was still inside his physical body, but Fang Yuan had already extracted his soul and imprisoned it in another place. Fang Yuan took out Fixed Space Immortal GU from Lu Hao's Immortal Aperture. Almost in the same instance, Fixed Space GU showed signs of detonating, but GU as before formation was already activated and had started affecting the destruction of Fixed Space GU. Fixed Space GU flickered with lights as the refinement path Dao marks on it were destroyed. After a while, Fixed Space GU went back to a stable condition albeit with slight injuries. Fang Yuan let out a breath of air as he held this GU. He finally obtained this GU. In his previous life, Heavenly Court's hidden methods were activated, destroying not only fixed space GU but also the other GU worms inside Lu Hao. But Fang Yuan had made some gains as well. From the fragments of fixed space GU, he had obtained the hope of conceptualizing the immortal GU as before. In his previous life, he had done deep research into these fragments and had never stopped deducing about this matter. With such accumulations, his deductions finally had an initial success in this life and he was able to create the GU as before formation. This formation involved millions of GU worm. There were more than 20 immortal GU involved in it from refinement path, time path, and rule path. What Fang Yuan envisioned was GU as before immortal GU, so this GU as before formation was only an initial success. After he modifies and simplifies this large formation into a practical killer move, it will be mid-stage success. And later, when he condenses this killer move into an immortal GU recipe and refines GU as before immortal GU, he would then achieve complete success. But currently, GU as before formation is already my limit. I need to increase my foundation to improve it. I have absorbed the long hair true meaning, my refinement path attainment has reached quasi-supreme Grand Master. But in the history of refinement path, there are still two other monumental figures equal to long hair ancestor, old eccentric Tian Nan and old immortal Kong Ju. Most of these two's inheritances have definitely been pocketed by Heavenly Court. The refinement path methods Heavenly Court put on fixed space GU might have come from these two experts. As long as I obtain these contents and increase my foundation, I may not be able to create an immortal GU recipe, but I will definitely be able to simplify this formation into a killer move and obtain mid-stage success. Fang Yuan's eyes seemed to burn with the flames of passion. In his previous life, he could not see such hopes and felt Heavenly Court was a deep chasm that was beyond him. But in this life, he did not think so. Heavenly Court, I will invade Heavenly Court and plunder these true inheritances. Chapter 1796 Pure Dream Clone. Fang Yuan observed his soul. After several cultivation sessions over this period of time, his soul had already recovered to 60 million man soul. His soul was no longer gloomy and weak like before, it was filled with energy and was lifelike. Its face was exquisite and the body size was normal, there was a light from deep within it that covered it completely and would make people feel it was solid and pure. Thieving Heaven True Inheritance, Rank 9 Killer Move Ghostly Concealment, it was like a silk inner garment sticking to his soul, above it was a layer of Ghost Official Garment. Ghost Official Garment used Rank 7 Change Soul Immortal GU and Rank 6 Cleanse Soul Immortal GU as its cores. At this moment, it had already turned into a martial uniform, there was even battle armor covering his shirt, it was a grand sight. With his current soul foundation, Fang Yuan had the confidence to split his soul. Immortal Killer Move, Split Soul. Instantly, Fang Yuan's soul left his physical body, only relying on the remaining thoughts, wills, or emotions to manipulate GU worms and maintain Split Soul Killer Move. As natural as drinking water, half the soul of the main body split and the main body's soul once again returned to its body. In an instant, Fang Yuan's main body's soul fell to 30 million man soul. The split soul was also at 30 million man soul. Fang Yuan closed his eyes and rested for a while. When the soul returned to his body, he felt slight dizziness. This was a normal reaction because he had split half of his soul, which was a huge amount. Immortal essence stopped moving inside his immortal aperture as all kinds of GU worms rested with none injured. This split soul was a success, it was actually not easy to activate this move, there was a huge risk and a high failure rate. But Fang Yuan had diligently practiced this move before, spending a lot of energy and paying quite a price for it. All of his efforts made this attempt a success. Fang Yuan opened his eyes, he had fully recovered and his mind was clear. He opened his immortal aperture's entrance a little, his split soul immediately moved along with the wind and went through. There was already a physical body waiting for the split soul inside the sovereign immortal aperture. This physical body was none other than the pure dream reality seeker physique body created from a dream realm. After the split soul entered the pure dream reality seeker physique body, there was some fluctuation in the aura at first before it turned silent like a corpse. Fang Yuan was calm. He had more or less grasped 3 types of pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. The first type was the strongest pure dream reality seeker physique body, the one that was condensed by old man Yanxi and also the Ying Wu Xie of back then. This pure dream reality seeker physique body only had 18 hours of lifespan, its cultivation would increase by a rank every 2 hours and its strength would continue to grow, becoming extremely terrifying near the end of its lifespan. However, this pure dream reality seeker physique body required many immortal GU as well as a vast amount of dream realms. Fang Yuan could not fulfill the requirements. The second type was the pure dream reality seeker physique body with Gu Immortal cultivation. Fang Yuan had used it many times and had once used them to stall the pursuit of southern border Gu Immortals. He also used it to secretly trade dream realms with Kai Kuyu. This pure dream reality seeker physique body had one huge flaw: it had a time limit. Once the limit was reached, they would self-detonate back into a dream realm. The third type was the one Fang Yuan learned from Feng Jinhuang's pure dream reality seeker physique body. This was a perfect pure dream reality seeker physique body. It consumed few dream realms and did not use many immortal Gu, in which they could also be replaced with other immortal Gu, but it was only a mortal body and did not have Gu immortal cultivation. The body which the split soul had merged into was the third type of pure dream reality seeker physique body. It possessed an aperture and was only at rank 1. After a while, the pure dream reality seeker physique body opened its eyes. The 30 million man soul was restrained and was starting to adapt to this body. This body was unable to hold the complete 30 million man soul with its low cultivation. This was the classic case of a weak body but a powerful soul. With Fang Yuan's split soul restraining most of its power, it was like a giant had curled up its body and was lying carefully inside a paper house. But it did not matter. Fang Yuan had already prepared Relic Gu. Relic Gu was a sphere-shaped mortal Gu that was thumb-sized and had an ordinary appearance. But its effect was major. It could enhance the aperture walls and advance the Gu Master's cultivation by a small realm. Gu Master cultivation had 5 ranks from rank 1 to rank 5. Relic Gu also was divided into rank 1 to rank 5. Rank 1 Green Copper Relic Gu, rank 2 Red Steel Relic Gu, rank 3 White Silver Relic Gu, rank 4 Yellow Gold Relic Gu, and rank 5 Purple Crystal Relic Gu. No matter which rank the Relic Gu was, it was a treasure of that rank. Its price far surpassed other similarly ranked Gu worms. For instance, Red Steel Relic Gu was priced at 8,000 primeval stones in the mortal world. This value surpassed ordinary rank 3 Gu worms. White Silver Relic Gu was a treasured rank 3 Gu, its value reaching 50,000. There would be at best White Silver Relic Gu circulated in mortal markets. The market for Yellow Gold Relic Gu was controlled and they were extremely rare, often held in the hands of the higher-ups. This situation was much better in Treasure Yellow Heaven. After all, Treasure Yellow Heaven was the transaction area of Gu Immortals and was the largest market in the world. In Treasure Yellow Heaven, rank 1 to 3 Relic Gu were sold in batches. There were few rank 4 Yellow Gold Relic Gu, and even fewer rank 5 Purple Crystal Relic Gu. This was not because Gu Immortals were holding these Gu worms in their hands and did not want them to circulate. It was because Relic Gu could only be formed naturally and were currently unable to be created by Gu Immortals. Even Langya Blessed Land and Heavenly Court were unable to do so. Why? With Refinement Path Quasi-Supreme Grand Master and Human Path Master attainment levels, Fang Yuan understood the reason now. It was because Relic Gu were Human Path Gu worms. It had a fundamental effect towards variant humans and humans. Much more Relic Gu would form in the areas with many variant humans or humans. Fang Yuan's pure dream clone began to use Green Copper Relic Gu. His aperture was different from normal Gu Masters. An ordinary aperture was stable but the pure dream clone's aperture was constantly forming and breaking like a dream. This was the characteristic of dream realms. In the previous life, Feng Jinhuang had also exclaimed that the main reason for her being able to create the perfect pure dream reality seeker physique was due to coincidence as well as her creating the killer move Shatter Dream beforehand. Regardless of the pure dream clone's aperture shattering and forming, it had a membrane of light around it that looked extremely thin but firmly kept the dream path aperture inside it. This membrane was the aperture wall of rank 1 initial stage. After 1 Green Copper Relic Gu was used, the light membrane thickened immediately and the light started to circulate like water, becoming water membrane. Pure dream clone used another Green Copper Relic Gu. The water membrane became even thicker and firm, transforming into stone membrane. After using the third Green Copper Relic Gu, Pure Dream Clone's aperture's stone membrane turned into crystal membrane. The Pure Dream Reality Seeker physique was a special aptitude. Its green copper primeval essence might be illusory like a dream but it filled more than 90% of the aperture. Fang Yuan's Pure Dream Clone immediately sat cross-legged as it controlled its primeval essence to attack the crystal membrane. However, before it even made a move, its aperture advanced directly. The crystal membrane shattered, turning into red steel rank 2 light membrane. The Pure Dream Clone had become a rank 2 Gu Master within moments. Fang Yuan exclaimed lightly before realizing, Pure Dream Reality Seeker physique is the 11th extreme physique, on the same level as the 10 extreme physiques. Its cultivation can rise continuously without any obstacles. In a GU master's cultivation, it was easy to advance through small realms, they only needed enough time and patience. However, every large realm had a barrier, and the higher you go, the harder it is to cross. Fang Yuan had thought of using his plentiful experiences to advance, but he had not expected the pure dream reality seeker physique body to break through naturally. This was much more convenient than his original expectations. Relic GU were consumed one after the other, and Fang Yuan's pure dream clone's cultivation kept on rising and breaking through to the next level. Although there were few purple crystal relic GU in Treasure Yellow Heaven, there were a lot in Lang Ya's treasury. They were not an issue. Thus, in just a mere hour, Fang Yuan's pure dream clone had rank 5 peak stage cultivation level. Prepare for immortal ascension. Fang Yuan sent the pure dream clone out of the sovereign immortal aperture. It could not undergo its tribulation inside the sovereign immortal aperture, because this would cause a huge disorder in heaven and earth chi and greatly disturb the immortal aperture's balance. Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture itself had a huge demand for heaven and earth chi. Were the pure dream clone to undergo its tribulation inside, there would be a huge deficiency in heaven and earth chi. So Fang Yuan's plan was for the pure dream clone to undergo tribulation outside. Fang Yuan intended to create a perfect pure dream clone with GU immortal cultivation at one go. But just as he was about to implement the next step, he suddenly felt an intense sense of danger. Wait a moment. Fang Yuan's gaze focused. He had a deep wisdom path attainment. This strong sense of danger that came out of nowhere was not without reason, it was a certain premonition. Fang Yuan could not ignore this feeling. This seems to be a hint that if I were to let the pure dream clone undergo tribulation, it will encounter an immense danger. Fang Yuan frowned. GU masters needed to undergo tribulation to advance to GU immortal. According to common logic, no matter how much heavens will strengthen such calamities and tribulations, there would be a limit. No matter how strong a rank 6 calamities and tribulations were, it would not surpass rank 7 calamities and tribulations. But, if they are the calamities and tribulations of dream path, Fang Yuan's gaze turned deep. The pure dream reality seeker physique body's immortal ascension would likely encounter dream path's calamities and tribulations, but Fang Yuan did not know much regarding this. Under the present situation, even an expert as strong as Duke Long was without options against dream path methods. Fang Yuan was much stronger than Duke Long in this because he had Unravel Dream. However, Unravel Dream was not omnipotent. Moreover, dream realms were primarily divided into two kinds. One was realistic dream realms. What Fang Yuan explored the most were this kind of dream realms. Another were abstract dream realms where anything could happen that could not be explained with logic. Even Fang Yuan did not want to encounter them. If I were to let my pure dream clone undergo immortal ascension, it would give Heaven's Will the opportunity to attack me. If so, I should let it undergo immortal ascension inside the sovereign immortal aperture. There is no Heaven's Will inside the sovereign immortal aperture. Although it will extract a large amount of heaven and earth chi and damage my foundation, there are more benefits to having a GU immortal level pure dream clone. However, when Fang Yuan took back the pure dream clone and wanted to let it undergo tribulation, that sense of danger still lingered although it had lessened slightly. Fang Yuan pondered. Does this mean that even without Heaven's Will, there will still be dream path calamities and tribulations when the pure dream reality seeker physique body undergoes immortal ascension? Moreover, it will be a great threat to me. Immortal ascension signified taking risks. Was this risk worth it or not? Fang Yuan hesitated for a while before sighing. He chose stability. This risk was not worth it at this moment. The crucial thing was he did not have even a little assurance. If it were other paths, it would be okay, but dream path. Fang Yuan shook his head. He actually had a great anticipation for this. Because once the immortal ascension succeeds, Fang Yuan would not only obtain an immortal level pure dream clone, there would also be the opportunity for natural inspiration that could allow him to better understand dream path and have an opportunity to advance dream path mortal GU to immortal GU. But Fang Yuan regretfully discovered that the immortal ascension held way too much danger. If it goes bad, I might not even be able to use Spring-Autumn Cicada. Fang Yuan was progressing very well in this life, it was not worth it to take such a risk. Blindly taking risk was not courageous but stupid. Forget it, I shall let it be for the moment. Fang Yuan snorted. Chapter 1797 Extorting Rank 9 Immortal Material. Splash splash splash. Sounds of sea waves and clear cries of seabirds entered Fang Yuan's ears. The eastern sea area in front of him glittered with warm sunlight. Gentle and refreshing sea wind brushed across his face. Fang Yuan, however, was slightly dejected. As expected, it is not time yet. He used Jade Flow Pearl to arrive in Eastern Sea from southern border. His target was to find the blue dragon whale. To Fang Yuan, gaining regret GU would be a splendid matter. Because he wanted to raise the ranks of his numerous rank 6 immortal GU to increase his own overall strength. With regret GU, he could decrease his losses and reduce the risk of refining GU to the lowest degree. In fact, ever since his rebirth, he had come here several times. This sea area was the area where he had followed Miao Ming Shen's group and seen the blue dragon whale in his previous life. Unfortunately, Fang Yuan was not successful in finding the blue dragon whale. Should I attack Miao Ming Shen and seize his method? With that method, I can find the exact location of the blue dragon whale by myself. This thought flashed past Fang Yuan's mind and he quickly evaluated the risks. If he made a move, Miao Ming Shen would not be a problem. Fang Yuan could even use Chu Ying's identity to scheme against Miao Ming Shen using wisdom path methods. The true uncertainty was Fang Yuan did not know what that method was. It was okay if it was some ordinary immortal killer move, but if it were some bizarre method and he made a rash move, it would simply backfire on him. According to Fang Yuan's deduction, the possibility of the latter was not small. Because in the 500 years of his previous life, he had not heard of anyone seizing this method from Miao Ming Shen. Eastern Sea had rank 8 GU immortals while Miao Ming Shen was only rank 7 and his method concerned a Paradise Earth true inheritance. There was no way those rank 8 GU immortals were not moved. But these GU immortals seemed to have no desire to make a move, clearly showing that the situation was not as simple as it looked. According to my previous life, I just need to wait patiently and follow Miao Ming Shen into the inheritance ground. But this has a flaw, that is the ink effect. In my previous life, Miao Ming Shen selected Chu Ying after some hesitation. Will he still choose Chu Ying in this life? Fang Yuan used Jade Flow Pearl to return to southern border. Currently, southern border was the safest among the 5 regions. Even if southern border's righteous path moved against him, he had a large number of captives as his bargaining chip. He also had the most thorough understanding of southern border's situations. Fang Yuan was not in a hurry to make a move against Miao Ming Shen. His carefully thought-out plans since rebirth were progressing smoothly, and even if he wanted to attack Miao Ming Shen, it would be too rushed to do so at this time. Everything should be done methodically and when the timing is correct. Sometimes, one needed to speed up, sometimes, one needed to slow down. By acting too quickly and intensely, the end product might end up charred. But if one acted too slowly, they would lose their chance as a result of inaction. Fang Yuan already had a firm grasp over the appropriate speed he should use. His main task now was still his clone. He needed to make a Dragonman clone. Fang Yuan had already obtained Bai Ningbing's Dragonman transformation method, and had already begun researching it. This method was called the Humans Alike Dragons GU Refinement Method. It used the GU Immortal themselves as a GU material and refined together with Raging Wave Rising Dragon Fire, their race would change and turn into a Dragonman. This method's success rate was very minute. During the GU refinement process, all of the Tao marks of the GU Immortal would be affected. When Fang Yuan had first read this method, he had exclaimed at its incredible concept. He then discovered the flaw of this method. This method was created by Duke Long, who was proficient in Chi Path and Transformation Path. He did not have a deep attainment in Refinement Path and had mostly relied on Chi Path and Transformation Path to imitate Refinement Path. But Fang Yuan was a Refinement Path quasi-supreme Grandmaster. He could give a huge improvement to this method in the Refinement Path aspect. After improving it, the success rate would also greatly increase and might even reach 10%. That was a 1 in 10 success rate. This was already Fang Yuan's limit, he could not improve it any further. Because the Humans Alike Dragons GU refinement method was essentially a human path killer move and also involved the profundities of Transformation Path. Fang Yuan's Transformation Path could not match Duke Long's. It was even more so for his human path attainment. Thus, the Humans Alike Dragons GU refinement method was also a supreme material that could allow Fang Yuan to comprehend some essence of human path. The real obstacle is still Raging Wave Rising Dragon Fire. Raging Wave Rising Dragon Fire was an extremely rare rank 9 immortal material. It was the human flame among the 3 flames of heaven, earth, and human. Bai Shang Grotto Heaven had 1 lump, but it was already used by Bai Ningbing. Treasure Yellow Heaven did not have it. Announce the offer to buy it in Treasure Yellow Heaven. No, Fang Yuan had a better option. Sha Clan headquarters. The hall was filled with a heavy and stifling atmosphere. Fang Yuan's ransom letter was still sent to Sha Clan first. This scoundrel Fang Yuan is a heinous criminal, he should be damned to death. We have to kill him. Sha Fei Kuei shouted with a fierce expression. The other Sha clan GU immortals looked ashen and had unsightly expressions. Besides fury and hatred, these righteous path GU immortals also had a feeling like they were currently dreaming and nothing was real. The Grand Sha clan, a super force, was actually being blackmailed by one demonic path GU immortal. And the cause of this ransom was actually the kidnapping of Sha clan's strongest expert, Sha clan's foundation, Sha clan's supreme figure of authority, first supreme elder Sha Cha. If someone had told Sha clan's GU immortals this would happen before the ambush attack, Sha clan's GU immortals would definitely give that person a few hard slaps and even shout at them to wake up. But at this moment, Sha clan's GU immortals had the urge to slap themselves. How did the situation fall to this state? Sha clan's second supreme elder Sha Jiao was the person who felt the greatest pressure. He sighed and said, "You have all seen that mortal letter GU, Fang Yuan is demanding raging wave rising dragon fire. What are your thoughts on this?" Sha clan immortals looked at each other, silent. Sha Jiao could only point out a name as he looked towards Sha Fei Kuei. "Come, didn't you shout quite loudly just before? Speak your thoughts." Sha Fei Kuei had a irascible temper and felt extreme anger towards Fang Yuan, but he remained silent for a good while before speaking. Even Heavenly Court GU immortals were unable to get rid of this demon Fang Yuan. He might just be rank 7 but he is truly diabolical. If he really wanted Lady Sha Cha's life, he would definitely not have any misgivings. Maybe we can ally with other clans. Fang Yuan is blackmailing us, he will definitely blackmail the other clans as well. Sha Lu Pei immediately retorted, "The one we lost is our first supreme elder, how could those outsiders be relied on? Right now, they are eager for us to lose Lady Sha Cha. Since Fang Yuan will definitely blackmail other forces, did you see any of them contacting us?" Sha Fei Kuei glared, but could not find any words to retort. After a good while, he said, "Even if we want to compromise, we don't have raging wave rising dragon fire. Just because we do not have it does not mean others don't. That demon Fang Yuan might only be putting a high price first and is waiting for us to negotiate." Sha clan's GU immortal continued to speak their thoughts. Same as the previous life, Sha clan's most important person had landed in Fang Yuan's hand. The Sha clan GU immortals could only admit defeat and be blackmailed by Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's reply was direct. "Don't mention other things to me, I want raging wave rising dragon fire. I don't care how you get it, but we can only discuss after you bring it over. Or else, Sha Cha's life. Hee. Fang Yuan was even more calm than in the previous life. In the previous life, he had to make several probes while blackmailing Southern Border's righteous path. In this life, he was familiar with every clan's limits. Sha clan was going to be blackmailed hard by him. Although Sha clan and Ba clan both lost rank 8 GU immortals as captives, Sha clan's situation was still the worst. Because Ba clan still had another rank 8 candidate, Bada. So Fang Yuan's first target of blackmail was still Sha clan. Sha clan did not have raging wave rising dragon fire, which was within Fang Yuan's expectations because he had already searched Sha Cha's soul and did not see raging wave rising dragon fire in the treasury. The other rank 7 Sha clan GU immortals might not know about all the things in the treasury, but Sha Cha definitely knew the details as the first supreme elder. Actually, Fang Yuan truly did not know which force of Southern Border had raging wave rising dragon fire. It was possible for a clan to have stored it, but the rank 9 immortal material might be hidden so deep in the treasury that only the first supreme elder could know of it. There was also the possibility this fire was not with any Southern Border righteous path force. Fang Yuan did not care about this, he was going to make Southern Border's righteous path take care of this headache. In Fang Yuan's plan, the Dragonman clone was one of the important parts. Because this clone would involve the acquisition of Dragon Palace. Fang Yuan did not actually have clear information regarding Dragon Palace, but he was able to deduce that the Dragonman clone would be the crucial key to inherit Dragon Palace. In the previous life, Bai Ningbing being able to become the owner of Dragon Palace was the best evidence. Fang Yuan extorted the Southern Border righteous path while continuing to cultivate and absorbing his gains. Not long later, he successfully improved Time Cutting Edge. The new Time Cutting Edge was 30% more powerful than in previous life. This was because Fang Yuan had a lot more time path immortal GU than in his previous life. Not only was it because he had gained Langya Blessed Land, but also because the year's flow execution formation was not seriously damaged like in previous life during the Southern Border Immortals attack, so many time path immortal GU were preserved. There was another point, Fang Yuan had even calculated some time path immortal GU of Southern Border righteous path's treasuries in his plan. First was Sha clan, then Ba clan and Yi clan. Yi Clan's Gu Immortal Yi Yong was blood related to Yi Clan's first Supreme Elder, and was a successor of the clan nurtured by the first Supreme Elder. He was very important to the clan. Fourth was Kai Clan. Fang Yuan's attitude towards Kai Clan was quite amiable. Brother Kai Kuyu, we are really good friends. I was able to capture southern border immortals because of you. I will directly return your second Supreme Elder to you. Kai Kuyu's face was pitch black like the bottom of a pot. Don't act so close to me. Kai Kuyu felt an intense disgust inwardly. He discovered that he was dragged in so deep by Fang Yuan that he could not get out. These past few days, his mood had been extremely heavy. Because he knew Fang Yuan was able to capture the southern border immortals mainly because of dream realms. And he was the one who had secretly handed these dream realms to Fang Yuan. Were the southern border righteous path to know of this huge secret, not only Kai Kuyu, even Kai Clan would be in imminent danger. The dream realm trading had become a threat to Kai Kuyu. He really wanted to stop these dangerous transactions, but was it possible anymore? The person he was facing was Fang Yuan. Kai Kuyu's heart went cold at this thought. Chapter 1798 Inspiration of Destiny. Sovereign Immortal Aperture, Mini Southern Border. Rumble. A loud sound was heard. The ground shook for a moment before the dense radiance of an Earth Path Killer move covered the surrounding 100 li. Like a large formless hand molding soft mud, the surrounding terrain began to sink in while the land in the periphery began to rise, forming a circular valley. This sunken land was surrounded by mountains, forming an environment that was isolated from the outside. There was no vegetation in this sunken land, soil was also scarce, it was instead covered by a large amount of steel materials. This is White Steel Bowl Valley. Rockman Gu Immortal Shi Cheng watched this scene from outside the valley with shock. Fang Yuan had countless powerful methods, casually creating another mid-scale resource point without exerting much effort. Over these days, Shi Cheng had conversed with other Gu Immortals and gained a deeper understanding of how vast the sovereign immortal aperture was and the large amount of resources distributed all over it. Such a deep foundation was astonishing and increased the confidence of these Gu Immortals regarding their future. However, what made Shi Cheng even more amazed was Fang Yuan's courage. Other Gu Immortals would not have dared, but Fang Yuan fought against stronger enemies, targeting southern border's righteous path. The important thing was he not only attacked them but also was victorious and captured these southern border Gu Immortals. If not for these captives, how could Fang Yuan have extorted these resources to easily create White Steel Bowl Valley? Compared to Fang Yuan, the Rockman tribe's Gu Immortals looked excessively conservative. Lord Fang Yuan is the one we should follow. Shi Cheng was becoming increasingly inclined towards Fang Yuan. He was completely captivated by Fang Yuan's charisma and subdued by his disposition. Over these days, with He Lu Lan and the others' continuous work, every resource was arranged properly. The sovereign immortal aperture had been barren, but annexing blessed lands and grotto heavens had gathered a large amount of resources in it. And now, these resources were distributed ingeniously and harmoniously to form a balanced ecology. There was no chaos or mutual disturbance, the resources aided one another in their growth. This was the result of Fang Yuan's meticulous deductions using Wisdom Path. The next step was to fill up some gaps. For instance, White Steel Bowl Valley was something Tai Ku Zhang wanted to construct but had not started yet. With it, Tai Ku Zhang could feed Edge Gu by himself and would not have to rely on external sources. Fang Yuan had already filled the gaps here. In the previous life, he had completed this project, and it was even easier in this life. As for the necessary resources, Fang Yuan extorted them from southern border's righteous path. Fang Yuan clearly felt it was much easier to extort the southern border righteous path in this life than in the previous life. It was because the resistance of southern border's Gu Immortals' resistance had become much weaker. The video Fang Yuan revealed in Heavenly Court showed him killing Chen Yi and Thunder Ghost True Monarch. This greatly stirred up the southern border righteous path. Even Heavenly Court lost to this demon Fang Yuan. What is so strange about our southern border righteous path failing to deal with him? Even if the southern border Gu Immortals did not admit this thought, they knew it inwardly. Adding on Fang Yuan's plentiful experience in extortion, these southern border righteous path forces could only give in. The extortion in this life was also different from the previous life. In the previous life, Fang Yuan mainly wanted to construct a year essence pool and thus extorted many precious and rare immortal materials. He did not need to do so in this life and change the demands to other things, but they were still mainly immortal materials. A small portion of these immortal materials were used to fill up the deficiencies in the sovereign immortal aperture, like constructing White Steel Bowl Valley. The remaining large portion was in preparation for advancing the ranks of his immortal Gu. In this life, Fang Yuan had a lot more immortal GU than in his previous life. Rank 6 immortal GU occupied the majority, but they were too weak for him, being at rank 8. So large-scale refinement was necessary and would give rise to a great increase in Fang Yuan's comprehensive battle strength. He had done this in his previous life, and it would be much easier in this life since he had annexed Langya Blessed Land and had many refinement path immortal GU. He planned ahead, preparing these immortal materials in advance. The gains from annexing apertures were almost processed completely. The whole sovereign immortal aperture's development had already reached 16%, this was already close to the highest limit he reached in his previous life. Moreover, he still had Lu Hao's and Ba Shi Ba's immortal apertures to annex, as well as Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. Killer moves were being familiarized, true inheritances were still being researched, and he was still comprehending human path. Fang Yuan made some time to go to the River of Time once again. He was unable to forget about his Pure Dream clone. Although the plan for the Pure Dream clone had received a setback, Fang Yuan thought of the Stone Lotus Island's future self-killer move. Maybe I can use future self to bring over a GU immortal level Pure Dream clone. The 4 Zunzi in present and past pavilion were observing the River of Time at all times, but they were simply unable to detect Fang Yuan's tracks. Fang Yuan understood present and past pavilion much more than them. He smoothly reached the Stone Lotus Island and used future self on the Pure Dream clone. However, Fang Yuan was disappointed as there were simply no changes in the Pure Dream clone. Is it because the Pure Dream clone is created from dream realms, most killer moves are ineffective on it? Or is it that the Pure Dream clone doesn't have a future where it becomes an immortal? Fang Yuan's Pure Dream clone was already at rank 5 peak stage, just a step away from undergoing immortal ascension. However, this step had fatal danger, so Fang Yuan wisely chose to stop. If future self is ineffective because the Pure Dream clone doesn't have a future where it is an immortal, does this mean there is no hope for the Pure Dream clone's tribulation with my current strength? Thinking of this, Fang Yuan suddenly felt somewhat interested. There is no harm in trying. He immediately activated the immortal killer move exposing Heavenly Secret. This killer move used Heavenly Secret immortal GU as its core and could observe the contents of the following calamities and tribulations of the target. Blank. Exposing Heavenly Secret showed no effect on the Pure Dream clone. Is it because of the characteristics of the Pure Dream clone, or because exposing Heavenly Secret is currently unable to target dream path calamities and tribulations? Fang Yuan was perturbed. There were very few GU worms that were effective on the Pure Dream clone. Relic GU was effective because it was a human path GU worm. The Pure Dream Reality Seeker physique body was a human body, so human path GU worms were effective on it. But in fact, many other GU worms were completely ineffective on the Pure Dream clone. Because the Pure Dream clone was created from dream realms and had the characteristics of dream realms. Fang Yuan had relied on Dream Path's superiority to cross many obstacles before or stir up troubles, but he was now stumped by this superiority. Just like Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord, Duke Long and others were unable to contest Lead Soul into Dream, even Spectral Soul had fallen asleep inside the Dream Realm, existing methods had negligible effect against Dream Realms. Fang Yuan actually had many methods to deal with calamities and tribulations. For instance, Calamity Beckoning Immortal GU or Endless Trouble Killer Move, but could these methods be able to deal with Dream Path calamities and tribulations? Fang Yuan shook his head in his mind, there was almost no chance. The only possibility is to develop a corresponding Dream Path killer move. However, Fang Yuan's Dream Path attainment level was stuck. In the 500 years of his previous life, he had not prioritized researching Dream Path and had pursued Blood Path. Not long after returning from the River of Time, Fang Yuan was pleasantly surprised as the Dragonman clone clan had made a progress. Sha clan expressed that Shang clan's treasure realm had Raging Wave Rising Dragon Fire, and they were currently in the process of trading for it. Shang clan's treasure realm, it should be the immortal aperture left behind by Shang clan's creator. After the ancestor died, it was left behind in Shangliang Mountain. Since GU immortals are unable to enter it, even Shang clan GU immortals don't know if it is a grotto heaven or a blessed land. Looks like the foundation of this treasure realm is much deeper than I estimated. Fang Yuan exclaimed at Shang clan's foundation. Shang clan had always been among the top few clans in the southern border GU immortal world, and because of their unique geographical location, they had maintained harmonious relationships with other super forces. If Sha clan can get the Raging Wave Rising Dragon Fire, my Dragonman clone will have half of the obstacles remaining. Fang Yuan waited patiently while increasing his strength. With regards to using 5 restriction Profound Light Chi, he was gaining more experience and insight, and was now able to use 4 different light chi at the same time. His soul cultivation was rising explosively every time. He had split his soul again for the Dragonman clone, but even so, his soul cultivation was gradually reaching 80 million man soul. The Dream Realm trading with Kai clan was continuing in secret. Kai Kuyu had come to terms with his situation. He had made one misstep and now could only fall deeper into it. Naturally, Fang Yuan never let go of his guard against him. This rank 8 GU Immortal was not a simple person and might retaliate if not handled properly. Fortunately, Fang Yuan had already chosen to support Kai clan in preparation for the future. Kai clan obtained Dream Path research results from the transactions. This gave Kai Kuyu pleasure amidst the pain. Since he had already made a terrible blunder by agreeing to this exchange, why not just continue with it? Kai Kuyu did not want to take a risk, but because Fang Yuan led him on this path, he could only clench his teeth and continue walking towards the abyss. In his free time, Fang Yuan's soul searched those GU immortal souls. Although he had done this in his previous life, he still did it again in this life because he wanted to look into something. That was the ink effect. Compared to the previous life, the subtle differences in this life made Fang Yuan think deeply. An indescribably mysterious feeling had been lingering in his mind. Is this fate? Fang Yuan felt like he had touched a strand of the web weaved by fate GU. He gradually felt a strong premonition. If I continue researching this, my understanding of fate will become increasingly deeper. This is the best way to comprehend fate. After gathering more clues from a few more rebirths and making deductions, I might be able to conceive a mortal killer move that has the effect of fate. If I merge it with the profundities of luck path, that will be destiny. Fang Yuan's mind jolted slightly and his eyes shined with bright light. Heavenly Court. Feng Juzhe was stationed in Embroidered Tower. This small pavilion was adorned with beautiful decorations. Its walls were red and its tiles were made of jade, looking exquisite and beautiful, but it lacked part of its foundational support. One could clearly see the traces of destruction on the immortal GU house. In the sky above Embroidered Tower were 3 pieces of bloody skins directly sewn to the air that were still letting out traces of primal savagery. Back then, when reckless savage demon Venerable invaded Heavenly Court, he was stopped by Embroidered Tower. In the end, reckless savage demon Venerable destroyed half of Embroidered Tower, which was still unable to be repaired by Heavenly Court, but he also left 3 pieces of bloody skins behind. Ever since the defeat in Langya Blessed Land, Feng Juzhe had been immersed in a deep state of comprehension. He did not cultivate transformation path, but he came here purposely to comprehend a trace of transformation from these 3 bloody skins. This transformation was a kind of concept. It was the transformation of destiny. It was the injury of reckless savage demon Venerable. Reckless savage demon Venerable was strong while Embroidered Tower was weak, but the strong was forced to discard 3 pieces of skin by the weak. This was an unexpected change. Heavenly Court failed when invading Langya Blessed Land. Southern border GU immortals chased Fang Yuan but were captured instead. These were also similar kinds of unexpected changes. This series of changes and transformations kept on resonating with depths of Feng Juzhe's soul. The deep state of comprehension gradually entered an optimal condition. Feng Juzhe's lips curled up into a smile. It seems that my next song will be Destiny Song. Chapter 1799. Suan Bu Jin falls into a trap. Western Desert. Fang clan's headquarters. Gu. Fang Dichong coughed out a mouthful of blood and fell headfirst onto the ground. Father. Fang Yun, who was at the side, immediately rushed forward and supported Fang Dichong. Fang Dichang's injuries were serious, and after he regained his footing, he was still shaky and dizzy. He quickly observed his condition and smiled bitterly. His brain suffered the highest damage. There was a huge crack in it that almost split apart his brain into 2. His soul was also injured and his physical body was surrounded by a strange green light that emitted wood path aura. Fang Dichong sighed as he looked at the giant palace in front of him. This palace was lofty like a mountain. Its green bricks and golden tiles emitted dense fragrance of plants and trees. There was solemnity but also liveliness. Carved on the plaque on the palace door were 3 large words, Divine Bean Palace. This immortal GU house was created by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. After all, it is comprehensive with no loopholes. I tried to deduce forcefully but suffered such a backlash. I underestimated a Venerable's power and was too hurried. Fang Dichong sighed. Father, our Fang clan's situation is not bad right now. We can take it slow. Fang Yun comforted. Fang Dichong shook his head. Although the situation is stabilized, it is still not optimistic. Those clans are restraining themselves because they are shaken by our theft path killer move, but they have never given up on pressuring us. We must grasp every second and cannot slack. Yes, Father. Fang Dichong looked at Divine Bean Palace and sighed again. Sigh, it is unfortunate that our Fang clan does not have any wood path Gu Immortal. This Divine Bean Palace's core is wood path. If there were a rank 7 wood path Gu Immortal assisting me, I would have a lot more progress in deducing this immortal Gu house. Western Desert was filled with deserts with oases decorating them. Wood path and water path were the least cultivated paths in this region. Among the 5 regions, Southern Border had the most wood path Gu Immortals, while Eastern Sea had the most water path Gu Immortals. Fang Yun said after some thought, our Fang clan does not have a wood path Gu Immortal, but we have another wisdom path expert. You are talking about Suan Bu Jin. Fang Dicheng's gaze narrowed with a trace of vigilance flashing past it. Did he ask you to recommend him? Fang Yun shook his head. No, I am saying this myself. Lord Suan Bu Jin never signaled me, and in fact, after joining the clan, he has always stayed outside and never contacted me. Fang Dicheng's face relaxed only then. Suan Bu Jin is not of Fang clan after all, although he joined our clan, we need to keep this in mind. Father, you doubt Lord Suan Bu Jin's loyalty. Fang Yun scratched his head. Fang Dichong narrowed his eyes. If I had his help, there would indeed be progress. But we can know a man's face but not his heart, especially in front of such an unmatched treasure like Divine Bean Palace. Even if he did not show this intention before, when he is in contact with this palace day and night, it is hard to not have greed. Fang Dichong was still not assured, asking, are there any movements from Suan Bu Jin recently? Fang Yun replied truthfully, there are no movements. However, there are rumors targeting Lord Suan Bu Jin that says he is actually the inheritor of Old Man Lai Shen, a demonic descendant who was recruited by our clan. It is also rumored one clan will investigate this matter and verify Lord Suan Bu Jin's identity. Fang Dichong snorted. These people are still trying to frame Suan Bu Jin. But this excuse has some substance to it, it is at least slightly more realistic than the previous rumor that said he was the demon Fang Yuan. Fang Dichong sneered, having no idea that the previous rumor was actually truth, it was instead the recent rumor that was twisting the truth. Old Man Lai Shen was a one-clan wisdom path Gu Immortal, but because of an accident while cultivating, he lost himself and became a lunatic. He had rank 7 cultivation and his strength increased even further after going crazy. He caused huge losses to one clan and even slaughtered Gu Immortals of other righteous path forces. It led to an uproar during that period of time in Western Desert's Gu Immortal world. Several righteous path forces allied to besiege and kill Old Man Lai Shen. But no matter what they did, they could find no traces of Old Man Lai Shen. He had disappeared completely and this matter was left unresolved. Fang Dichong said deeply, Suan Bu Jin has outstanding strength, he understands this kind of cheap trick. But it has not been long since he joined Fang clan, so it is normal for him to be regarded as a weakness of Fang clan. We need to pay attention to him and let him stay in Heavenly Dew Oasis, we can't let him make any rash moves that could give the enemies a hold on him. As for his identity, our Fang clan will clear it for him and give a perfect explanation to Western Desert's righteous path. The moment he finished speaking, Fang Dicheng's expression changed. Fang Yun saw the change and asked, what happened? Fang Dicheng's pale and weak face now had a trace of an ashen look. Suan Bu Jin sent a letter saying he reverse deduced and found a wisdom path Gu Immortal nearby who is likely to be the one who spread the rumors, he has already gone to catch them. Fang Yun was stupefied. What? According to the rules, Gu Immortals who were stationed to guard resources would have to report to the clan if they wanted to move out. They could only move after the clan approved of it. But Suan Bu Jin's action was the opposite, he moved first before reporting. Whether Fang clan agreed or not, he had left his stationed area and moved out. He is a lone cultivator in the end, his nature is wild. Fang Dichong gritted his teeth, as it so happened, he was heavily injured and could not deduce much at this moment. He could only contact Fang clan's first supreme elder Fang Gong and let him go reinforce Suan Bu Jin as quickly as possible. Fang Yun was slightly puzzled, the situation might not be so bad. Aren't we making too much fuss by sending first supreme elder as reinforcement? Lord Suan Bu Jin is a wisdom path Gu Immortal. He must have definitely deduced before moving out and has confidence to handle this matter. Fang Dicheng's expression was dark. Suan Bu Jin is indeed extraordinary, but he is prideful and this could be used by others to scheme against him. It would be terrible if those righteous path forces intentionally lured him and set a series of traps. If he is captured or killed, those clans could forge ironclad evidence and frame our Fang clan, then further suppress our clan. Naturally, this is only a possibility, let's just hope it is only me being pessimistic. More importantly, our Fang clan cannot make such a mistake at this crucial time. Fang Yun came to a realization and his expression also turned unsightly. He gave a forced smile. It should not be that serious, right? But the matter was that serious. When Fang Yuan reached the place, Wisdom Path Gu Immortal Wan Liang Han had a leisurely expression. Suan Bu Jin, you finally arrived, I waited for quite a while. The moment he finished speaking, the prepared immortal battlefield activated and trapped Fang Yuan. So it was a trap. Fang Yuan, who was disguised as Suan Bu Jin, sneered. His gaze shone as he looked at the three Gu Immortals approaching him. These three Gu Immortals were all rank 7. One was tall and thin, dressed in a green robe, and surrounded by whirlwinds. His name was Wan Xiao. He spoke confidently. Suan Bu Jin, how can you even be a Wisdom Path Gu Immortal? You actually jumped into our trap so easily. The second Gu Immortal Wan Hao Guang's appearance could not be seen, his whole body was covered with light armor that emitted extremely high heat. The thick light armor emitted buzzing noises. Suan Bu Jin, if you are sensible, then let yourself be captured, side with our Wan clan and expose Fang clan, we won't make it difficult for you and even treat you as an honored guest. The third Gu Immortal was the Wisdom Path Gu Immortal who lured Fang Yuan, he was Wan Liang Han. His forehead was swollen and had an ugly appearance, but was smiling right now. Friend Suan Bu Jin, as a Wisdom Path Gu Immortal, you should be even more aware of the current situation. Even if you survive today, there will be endless troubles coming to find you in the future. You should not be in Fang clan at such a time. Fang Yuan sneered with a ruthless expression. His disguised appearance Suan Bu Jin looked skinny with long gray hair and a pair of black eyes which seemed to contain vicissitudes of life and ambition. He was trapped inside the immortal battlefield and also heard the three immortals' words, but there were no change in his expression. This was only natural, because Fang Yuan had concealed his strength. Not only just these 3 rank 7s, even if there were 3 rank 8s, he would be fearless and even happy. The 3 Wan clan immortals thought they had trapped Fang Yuan, little did they imagine Fang Yuan returned from southern border this time to especially deal with them and create a commotion in western desert. In the recent period of time, Wan Liang Han had been repeatedly deducing Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan had Emperor Yama's protection that had no flaws, but this still reduced his soul foundation and it was quite annoying, so he had to get rid of them this time. Fang Yuan immediately opened his immortal aperture's entrance and released soul beasts. Desolate soul beasts and ancient soul beasts came out one after the other, shocking Wan clan's immortals. Was he not a Wisdom Path Gu Immortal? How could he control so many soul beasts? No matter how many soul beasts you bring out, it is useless in this immortal battlefield. Wan Xiao activated the immortal battlefield, a giant tornado immediately sprang up and slowly moved towards Fang Yuan. Soul beasts were densely packed around Fang Yuan and following his gradual mobilization, the quantity kept on increasing. How can he have so many soul beasts? Wan clan's 3 immortals were increasingly shaken. This Suan Bu Jin was clearly a Wisdom Path Gu Immortal but actually controlled such a huge soul beast army, wasn't he neglecting his main path too much? The tornado's speed became even faster and neared Fang Yuan's soul beast army. Soul beasts roared and counterattacked, but the tornado seemed to have heavenly might in this immortal battlefield. Although it was weakened, it was extremely stable. Fang Yuan personally activated a killer move to block the tornado. Wan clan's 3 immortals' shock slightly decreased when they saw the killer move. Fang Yuan used a Wisdom Path killer move instead of a Soul Path killer move. It won't do like this, he seems to have an endless amount of soul beasts. I will attack, Wan Hao Guang shouted. Go, we will protect you. Wan Liang Han agreed. Wan Hao Guang killed his way through the soul beast army. He was extremely fast, fully showing the superiority of Light Path. Every time Fang Yuan mobilized the Soul Beast army to besiege him, Wan Liang Han and Wan Xiao activated killer moves to protect Wan Hao Guang. With their excellent coordination, Wan Hao Guang broke through to the center. Fang Yuan's expression did not change as he let out another 4 Soul Beasts. Wan Hao Guang's momentum paused violently as he blurted out in fright, Immemorial Soul Beasts. Wan Liang Han and Wan Xiao were dazed, both calling out in an incredulous tone, 4. 1. Even if you are physically close to someone, you cannot know what he is thinking. Chapter 1800 Distracting Thoughts Generation. An immemorial soul beast had rank 8 battle strength, and 4 of them appeared at the same time. An absurd feeling rose up in the hearts of the 3 Wan clan immortals. Fang Yuan commanded the 4 immemorial desolate beasts to guard him. He wore a black robe and had his hands behind his back. He stood on one of the immemorial desolate beasts and said with disdain, "You plan to trap me with just the 3 of you. Wan Lianghan's eyes twitched. Wan Xiao's expression was ashen. Wan Haoguang's heart sank sharply. Suan B. Yujin's strength far surpassed their expectation. All of them realized. Suan B. Yujin might have already guessed this was a trap, but he still came. Anyone would be confident if they had such a trump card. Wan Clan's 3 immortals felt that it was too late for regret now. Calm down, he is a wisdom path GU immortal after all, he must be forcing himself to control the 4 immemorial soul beasts. Right, these 4 immemorial soul beasts might even be all bark and no bite. Even if they are real, I want to see how well his wisdom path and soul path can coordinate. The 3 immortals stabilized their morale and attacked Fang Yuan once again. Fang Yuan did not attack and only defended. Thus, when looked from the outside, Wan Clan's 3 immortals appeared to be occupying the upper hand. Wan Xiao controlled an immortal battlefield while also activating killer moves, throwing out wind spears that heavily injured or killed one ancient soul beast with every strike. Wan Haoguang was covered in a thick armor of light, he ran wildly amidst the soul beast army, slaughtering them as he passed. Wisdom Path GU Immortal Wan Lianghan commanded the battle, while also constantly deducing Fang Yuan's location in the soul beast army. As the battle continued, Wan Clan's 3 immortals felt an increasing headache. Because even though they had killed many, the amount of soul beasts Fang Yuan was releasing continued to increase. These soul beasts were united and covered Fang Yuan from all directions, forming tight defensive lines. With such a densely packed soul beast army, the best method of Wan Clan's 3 immortals was to use large area of effect killer moves. However, every time they used such killer moves, Fang Yuan would move to disrupt the killer moves. Even if there were some attacks that went through, it did not change the overall situation. As the area of effect killer moves were mostly ineffective, Wan Clan's 3 immortals were forced to use single target killer moves to kill the soul beasts one by one. They were using the tactic of beheading the leader, trying to pave a path to kill Fang Yuan. Wan Clan's 3 immortals had tacit cooperation, each of them was excellent in fighting and their cooperation was tight with no flaws. The 3 immortals supported each other, causing their battle strength to be extremely strong. Even one at peak rank 7 battle strength would be in a difficult situation when facing them. Unfortunately, they were facing the monster known as Fang Yuan. The 4 immemorial soul beasts formed the core defensive line. After several rounds of attacks, this defensive line's power made Wan Clan's 3 immortals feel increasingly hopeless. Damn it, there are too few chances. Wan Haoguang called out discontentedly. He had just found a gap which could allow him to break through to the central defensive line, but many ancient soul beasts rushed to fill the gap almost immediately. There are too many soul beasts here. Suan Bu Yujin can actually command such a powerful soul beast army. The most annoying thing is he can clearly use this strength to try and break our immortal battlefield, but he chose to protect himself so tightly instead. Wan Xiao mumbled with a dark expression. Wan Lianghan's expression was similarly unsightly. I had underestimated this Suan Bu Yujin. If he chose to attack, we would have more opportunities. But he is choosing to guard himself. Fang Clan's reinforcements are probably already on the way. What should we do? Wan Xiao looked towards Wan Lianghan. This situation was quite awkward for them. Their plan had been to combine their strength and capture Suan Bu Yujin quickly. Even if Suan Bu Yujin had peak rank 7 battle strength, this plan had a huge chance of succeeding. However, when Fang Yuan took out 4 immemorial soul beasts, their plan was immediately shaken. When Fang Yuan chose to turtle himself, Wan Clan's plan was already destroyed. Wan Lianghan was a wisdom path GU immortal. Although his attainment level was not as high as Fang Dichang's, he was extremely sharp and already had the intent to retreat. However, it was not easy to retreat at this moment. The immortal battlefield had been set up. If they took the initiative to cancel it, it would lead to a huge opening. Suan Bu Yujin was also a wisdom path GU immortal. How could he give up such an opportunity? Moreover, the current situation was not completely hopeless. Wan Clan's 3 immortals naturally still had trump cards to use. Wan Lianghan had a rare moment of hesitation. Fang Yuan was calm and composed. Were he to reveal his true strength, these 3 Wan Clan immortals might immediately start begging for mercy. However, he did not want to do so. Wan Lianghan definitely needed to die. This rank 7 wisdom path immortal was deducing him repeatedly and pestering him. As for the other 2, Fang Yuan wanted to see them live. Back when he disguised as Suan Bu Yujin, Fang Yuan specially prepared a set of wisdom path immortal GU and methods for this identity. At present, these methods had become even more plentiful. Fang Yuan secretly activated immortal GU distracting thoughts to prepare an immortal killer move. Wan Haoguang's vision was filled with all kinds of soul beasts. From outside, the Soul Beast army looked like an overflowing blot of ink, and Wan Haoguang's thick armor of light looked like a speck of light that was submerged in the pitch-black ink blot. Wan Haoguang was trapped in all directions, but he showed no cowardice or intention to escape. Forward, forward, forward. He was like a sharp sword that pierced through the densely packed Soul Beast army before finally stabbing towards Fang Yuan. However, all his advances were in vain. Most of the time, he would lose his momentum in the middle, and in the few cases where he almost succeeded, he was blocked by the 4 immemorial Soul Beasts. There are 6 ancient Soul Beasts in front. They are tall and sturdy, forming into 2 rows. There are 2 ancient Soul Beasts at the rear. They are very fast and are always trying to draw my attention. I cannot stop. Once I stop and get entangled with them, this advancement will be considered a failure. But I cannot charge forward directly. The ancient Soul Beasts in the front are clearly the wall controlled by Suan Bu Jin. It is a thick defensive line. I can only change my direction. Right, the ancient Soul Beast at the front left side looks like a mantis. This appearance means it has powerful offense but weak defense. I will charge through this side. Wan Haoguang was a light path GU immortal and had a mystical light path killer move that could create thoughts of light in his mind. He could think extremely fast using these kind of thoughts. It was because of this killer move, Wan Haoguang could always think about all possibilities in an instant. He chose the most correct path to break through amidst the huge army. Wan Haoguang charged forward. Although he suffered a heavy strike from the mantis-shaped ancient Soul Beast, he avoided the awkward situation of being pincer attacked. Haha, I succeeded. I can still continue charging forward. In this current situation, before I retreat, there is still hope. I am the main attacker. I have to put a lot of pressure on Suan Bu Jin from the front. With Wan Xiao's and Wan Lianghan's methods, there will be a chance to kill Suan Bu Jin. The situation just now was actually quite dangerous. If this mantis Soul Beast did not happen to have weak defense, I would not know what to do. If Suan Bu Jin cultivated Soul Path or Enslavement Path, there might not have been any hope just now. But Suan Bu Jin cultivates Wisdom Path. He has still not shown a killer move that coordinates with Soul Path. He should not have such a method. But just by being able to control 4 immemorial Soul Beasts shows his power. This is clearly a peak rank 7 expert. If he had a fitting Soul Path method, he might even be able to resist a rank 8 GU Immortal for several moves. If I can kill such an enemy, I will definitely make a huge contribution to the clan. With such a remarkable battle merit, I can even boast when I run into Lady Chi Chao in the future. Wait a moment, I am in a battle right now. How can I split my attention and think about personal relationships? Thinking about it, Lady Chi Chao is really cute. Although she does not have shocking beauty, she is kind and sensible. She is truly my ideal woman. But why doesn't she accept my love? Maybe I should change my way of pursuing her. I should send 1 or 2 small gifts. If the gift is too expensive, it will lose its meaning. I should weave a straw toy puppet and give it to her. Would she be happy with it? This is a good idea. Besides the straw puppet, I can also weave a straw rabbit, a straw hat, or a straw mantis. That mantis Soul Beast just now looked like the kind of mantis I used to catch when I was a child. Boom! A huge sound erupted as Wan Haoguang was besieged by Soul Beasts. Heavy attacks struck his armor from all directions. Wan Haoguang's thought process had turned chaotic and he could no longer concentrate in the battle, causing him to suffer these heavy attacks. His armor was heavily deformed and he was muddled and dizzy. Wan Xiao saw Wan Haoguang in danger and quickly activated an immortal killer move to break the encirclement. But right at this moment, Wan Lianghan suddenly shouted, "Don't!" Wan Xiao's reaction speed was slightly slower now for some reason. He had already activated the immortal killer move. The killer move's activation failed and a violent gale backlashed, slashing his hands to a pulp. His body shook like he was zapped by lightning, blood flowed out of his nostrils and his face was deathly pale. Oh, he is a Wisdom Path GU Immortal after all, he finally reacted. Fang Yuan smiled lightly under the heavy protection of the Soul Beast army. The killer move he had used just now was Distracting Thoughts Generation. It could make the enemies within a certain range develop distracting thoughts. The killer move's effect was not obvious at the start. But as time passed, the enemies would have more distracting thoughts which would disturb their normal thinking process. Wan Haoguang was influenced by the distracting thoughts first since he was the nearest to Fang Yuan. He split his attention in the battlefield and thought of other things, causing him to be encircled and attacked. Wan Xiao was disturbed by this move and suddenly had distracting thoughts when he activated his immortal killer move. The killer move failed and he suffered heavy injuries. Wan Lianghan was a Wisdom Path GU Immortal. He sensed something wrong and decided resolutely, This Suan Bu Jin is truly sinister, he actually has such a peculiar method. We didn't know his details and were not prepared, thus suffering a huge loss. The opportunity is already lost now, we should now return and think of a method to break this move before we go against him in the future. Just as he was thinking, whoosh! The large soul beast army moved like an open dam, countless soul beasts rushed out like a tidal flood.